What is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. Now, I am CM Chuck. If you don't know, welcome to the show. Alongside me, as always, my co-host and compatriot, AA Adamantium Adam.
Hey, good evening, guys.
And now this is a face you guys surely should recognize from not one episode before, but two episodes before, including our YouTube debut, the man from Authority Comics, Mario Delgado, in the house tonight. Super Mario. Mario, let the Friday Nighters know what's up.
Thanks for having me, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Totally glad to have you in the house, Mario. Guys, you know the format here now. We allow some time at the beginning of the show to just kind of talk roundabout about things going on in the world of news and pop culture, and let you know what the episode's going to be about. But in this case, we've got the man right here, so it's going to be all about Mario and his ventures that are going on. If you know and don't know, you're going to get the straight from the horse's mouth right here himself about everything going on with the great comic book store, Authority Comics, inside Traders Village on 15th Street. We're going to be talking about that. Guys, any questions that you have for Mario in this first 30 minutes, please feel free to jump in and ask those questions. At the 30-minute mark, we'll take a little break, read through some more comments if there's any that we hadn't got to by that point. And then we're just going to kind of get the conversation going and asking Mario all things that you or anybody may want to know about comic books, the business of comic books. We kind of had a conversation like this similar before when it was just our first real interview with Mario, but now there's been some major developments in the story of the man himself, and so we definitely want to talk about and address that. And maybe you're going to have some more questions regarding that specifically. We want to address those and talk to you about those. So let's just get right into it, guys. There's comments already flowing in. I know people like to join in and say hello and say what's up, but guys, let's see who we got here. Our good friend Nene in the house. He goes, you always have someone on your podcast besides me. I always ask to be on your show. Nene, you know you're always welcome. You're a hard man to get a hold of. So you go, Friday nights is when we do it. It's every Friday night. Steve is in the house. Steve says, cheers, guys. Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers, Steve. Ramon Flores says, Mario. Ramon, thank you for joining. And then Andrew said, Andrew's always got some crazy comments on here. So, guys,
big TikTok user,
big TikTok following there. Go check him out, guys. I'm gonna put it up right now. I'll put it out throughout the show. But if you guys want to reach out to Mario for anything comic book related, this is where to find him, the best place. Am I right, Mario?
That's right, brother. You came to the right place.
Besides going to his shop at Authority Comics on 15th Street inside Traders Village. But, you know, we'll get to that developing story. You got big news.
Suspense.
Yeah. And after the first 30-minute mark, I'll tell you exactly, why you might have to resort to email if you can't figure it out on your own. So, guys, what's been going on, AA, in the world of news and pop culture for you? So, Adrenalize me.
Yeah, Snyder Cut came out. Everyone's been raving about it, just saying how it's a completely different movie, way better movie.
4 hours.
Yeah. Just like I said, everyone's been raving about it, saying how much better Wonder Woman is in the movie, Superman, how cool it is to see Darkseid in the movie. So they're saying Steppenwolf, you actually feel bad for Steppenwolf. So I was like, okay, cool. But it's a 4-hour movie, but everyone says it flies by pretty quick. So I was like, okay, cool.
Have you had a chance yet, Mario?
I haven't had a chance yet.
How are you going to approach it? Are you going to do pieces? Or are you going to take a Sunday afternoon and just...
I'm going to sit there and catch it first thing in the morning and sit through the whole thing. I'm looking forward to it. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. And we all know, DC catches a bad rap a lot of times.
Yeah.
And the first Justice League movie caught a bad rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But from what we've seen so far, it looks incredible.
Well, let me tell you two guys, I did a viewing of it. It wasn't the best. I kind of did it on my phone and kind of like while I was doing two things, but sometimes I try to do it because I want to beat spoilers and all that. Right. But from what I did catch all the way through, really, really excellent. I loved it. It's a completely different movie. Worth watching, even if you're not a DC guy, even if you've just blasted all those movies. It is really fantastic. Zack Snyder did a great job. It was really cool. I'm sure many directors probably have a big vision like that, but they don't get to do that. But because of what happened and because of how it ended up going to HBO, he got that opportunity. And man, it is really awesome.
As compared to the first one, what do you think?
Oh, way
better. Did you
better.
like the first one?
I didn't hate it as much as everybody else. There were things about it I liked, but it wasn't a movie that I was like, oh, this is up there with the Marvel flicks. It wasn't what a Justice League flick, not even close. When this was done, that's the thing I told Adam. I said, no spoilers, because I want you guys to see it. But I said, I will say this. This was a Justice League movie. This is probably the Justice League movie you wanted to see.
Done right.
And, yeah, done right. And it felt like what we love, I always refer like to the 90s cartoons, the 2000 cartoons. We love that Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, it felt like that. Okay. So it was very, very good.
That too, Henry Cavill, kind of up and down with the Superman. Not too sure if he's going to come back.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige said Chris Evans not coming back as Cap.
Right.
But
that was on again, off again.
But like you're saying, it could just be throwing off people.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We're 3 huge boxing fans. A huge boxing legend passed away. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the middleweight king of the 80s, passed away at 66. I'm not too sure what he passed away from, but it sucks that he's gone. 66.
Yeah, that's
too young.
Yeah, that's young. That's I think
I don't know if it was anything due to the big fights that he had all the time, you know, that kind of stuff.
What were those wars he was in, guys?
He's a power puncher. Beat Duran in 15 rounds. Knocked out Thomas Hearns in what many consider the greatest first round.
Yeah.
You know, that's just bloody, you know, and brutal. For 3 minutes, they're just, it's all action, all action. Nice. And he KOs Tommy real bad, real bad. Lost a really controversial fight to a returning Sugar Ray Leonard in 1987. Very controversial, still talked about. It's what caused his retirement. Actually.
Really?
He was so pissed off with the system.
Always come prepared.
There you go, right there.
Super fight.
The man himself, rest in peace.
He couldn't have got any bigger than that.
That's an original boxing card from that
Very
event.
Cool. That is excellent.
Monday.
At Caesars.
Monday.
Oh, they fought on a Monday.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, 2 of the greatest right there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Mario, where do you obtain something like that?
Well, you know, as a boxing fan too, you know, I mean, the wife and I, we travel, we run into things, and we definitely take in shows too. We don't just set up at them. We take in a show, and we'll run into a boxing fan who's got some really nice memorabilia.
Nice.
One of my favorites is my Manny Pacquiao. Sits in my office right there to my right, you know, busting out, signed, and and limited, and the whole 9 yards. So, you know.
Now, you met him to get that signed, or
no. I bought it at a show that was certified and all that good stuff, you know, with an autograph. You know, I wish. You know.
And that's something, right, that people must approach you with, not knowing that you're a big boxing. I've got this boxing merch, and you're there like, I love that. So let me get,
boxing fan.
And
Mrs. too.
And I was gonna say, if you're really interested in like that whole scene, I would recommend this book. It's all about their fights with each other. I mean, man, they all fought. You want to talk about like big fights that actually happened?
Yeah.
All these guys fought each other. Cool. I mean, that's really cool.
What the welterweight division is right now.
Yeah.
The middleweight division was back then. That's where all the big fights were happening. Of course, before that was Muhammad Ali and the heavyweights.
Totally. Where's our fight fans out there, guys? We also got Jason Ruiz from Hondo in the house. What's up, Jason? A frequenter of Mario's shop. The Mr. Red Hulk in the building here. And Michael Freeman says, what's up, guys? Question for Mario.
That's my boy.
He says, what started you off on the path of a comic owner? I've been comic store owners. I think where you were going there with that. Great question. Mario, I'll let you take it away, man. I mean, I know we kind of talked about this in our previous episode, but by all means.
First of all, a big shout out to Michael Freeman. Michael Freeman's been visiting my store since I opened my first store in 1996.
Ooh,
he was probably about 16 or 17 then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a grown ass man now. He's got kids. He's got a wife.
As we all are, sadly.
But you know, when I was his age, you know, I used to go to wherever I could find comics, and there weren't any stores back then, of course, when I was shopping around. So, you know, eventually when stores did open in my 20s, I started visiting stores, collecting. And you get that thing, you know, we all do this when we go in a place and you're not treated the way you want to be treated. You know, you don't find the things you want to find. You're like, you know, hey, maybe I should do this myself. And my passion for comics was the lead in, you know, and saying, why not? You know, so I decided after the few stores that were around, I said, you know, I can do this and I can do it better.
Yeah.
So that was the opening of the door. And then, nice. you know, the rat race, the 9 to 5 that's out there. You keep telling yourself, you know, I think I'm going to take the leap of faith and try something different, something for me, something that I enjoy. And 25 years later, here I am. Very fortunate.
That's it.
Yep, that was it. Thanks, Mikey.
Yeah, Mike, I hope that answered your question. And if not, you want a more in-depth conversation on that. Not that we might not get into that
Come
again
see me
tonight.
this weekend.
There's that, but also please check out our first episode with Mario called The Authority with Super Mario. It's on YouTube. It's on anywhere that you could listen to music or a podcast. You can hear it all. And Mario, I asked those exact same questions, man. Like what was the inception, the beginning of becoming a comic book store owner, and went into great detail. And I was listening to it earlier today to kind of get ready for tonight. And one of the things we really did focus on, the three of us, was that aspect about customer service and how we just have an unparalleled experience when we're visiting with you, Mario, to really anywhere. I mean, we've all been to businesses. You've literally been to businesses overseas and things like that. And there's nothing that compares. You know what I mean? I've been in other states and other countries too. And it's just, you're the standard, man, Mario, for sure.
Thank you.
We got some more stuff.
Steve, he goes, guys, I have an autographed glove of Sugar Ray.
Oh, very nice.
Very
Steve.
nice.
Very nice.
I would love to see
alive,
that, Steve.
so
Very nice. That's awesome.
Ramon says, I have been going to Mario's before he was
into comics.
Into
Satellite Salesman of the Year.
Oh, really? Okay, we're going to get into that, Mario.
Ray Flores and his wife and his kids. I watched his kids grow up. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it all too. His kids are all grown up. You know, they're doing their own things. They're into the internet market now, doing sports stuff. Ray Flores and his wife and everybody. So a big shout out to them.
Yeah,
come and see me this weekend, guys.
Yeah, and please post up your links to any of your businesses as well. We know that throughout the years, so many.
Oh
people,
no, don't say that. Ray's gonna post it all.
Oh, there we go. Hey, that's like myself, right? These guys know I don't miss a chance to plug us. So by all means, feel free to do that. We love that, getting to know other people like that. Jeremy's in the house. Jeremy is my girlfriend's youngest son. Huge Godzilla guy. Jeremy, stay online. We got something really cool I think you're gonna like to see later. He says, he says to Mario, I remember your Godzilla collection was pretty sick. Brought some figures when I went there.
It's even sicker now.
Jeremy, I'm telling you, get Julian to watch with you. You guys are going to see some really cool stuff. And then we can hopefully get out there. Well, his older brother and his middle brother worked out there for a while. They were working out at Traders.
That's right.
They probably stopped in sometimes, you know. Let's see.
This next one made me laugh.
Gabriel Flores says, whose wall is that? What's for sale?
Nothing for sale. Sorry. It's my wall. Nothing for sale.
Much of this was attained from Mario. There. So this might have made one of Mario's house payments. We don't know.
Good stuff back here, guys. I took some time to take it all in when I got here.
Yeah, and he was
very impressive.
Adam was getting a lot of compliments. I haven't ever got on my collection, so I'm feeling pretty blue about that. So, you know, but also
this is just a tip of what I got from Mario. There's like so much more stuff that I can't even fit on these 4 walls that I bought him for Mario. Yeah. So,
but he's also made a bigger investment than me, so I guess that's why he gets the more compliments, you know. So, what else do we got here? Let's see. Double A, help me out.
Ramon says my youngest pulled a Peyton Manning football at Mario's when he was 7. Now he's 33. He still has it.
He was 7.
Nice.
I remember that day that it happened. He pulled out what you call a redemption card.
Okay.
Congratulations. You just won this from Upper Deck.
A signed football.
We sent it in and they mailed the football to us.
Holy smokes,
signed Peyton Manning. For a 7-year-old, I mean, he was on cloud.
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah.
At that time? Like the height of Peyton?
That was incredible, and he still has it.
Ramon, I'd love to see that. That football.
Ramon says, take down 210. Come see us for anything needs in the print.
There he goes.
Okay, there we go. Right on, man. Hey, we need some more shirts here, right? You know, so definitely be in touch, Ramon.
Yeah, they do.
Rich says, hey, Richard. What's up, guys?
Right here. Ray, I'm sorry, guys. This is Ray's work right here.
Oh, there you go. That's beautiful.
Nice. That's right there.
And this one you rock frequently. I love that one.
Yeah.
The sparkle.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, guys.
No.
That's for you, Ray.
Richard says, what's up, guys? Rich, thanks for joining us. Mario, Rich has become a fan of ours through another guy, Nene, that shared our video, the big TikToker.
Awesome.
Guy's got 500K. But Rich started joining in. The guy comes with hot fire questions every week, man. So I'm hoping, Rich, if you got some great stuff, here's a man that's been in the comic book business over 25 years. I mean, truly our go-to guy when it comes to anything comic related. So whatever you think of tonight, Rich, I'm looking forward to your questions, man, truly. But yeah, so that's it for those comments right now. But guys, please continue to comment in any questions or anything that you might want to ask or say to Mario. And again, we'll get more into you might have some very specific things to say to him after we get into the real meat and potatoes of the show tonight. But we were kind of talking a little bit about pop culture, the Snyder Cut. Double A, Mario said he's going to approach it in a morning and a one sitting. How do you think you're going to do?
I'm going to try and watch it during the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a single
on a
sitting.
Sunday. Yeah, and just single sitting.
Will you guys get the wives involved, or is it something that's a lot to ask?
Actually, my wife gets into them. So.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just had a chat with my wife before we were leaving. She said, next week in the morning, bacon and eggs.
Nice.
Let's have some
It
breakfast.
sounds awesome.
Let's sit
Nice.
down.
Sounds like a
We'll
great-
watch the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, very, very, very. Sounds like a great, both of you guys, as myself as well. You know what I mean? You know, but we all are here. But sounds like a great way to spend like a Sunday.
We know Jess is a horror fan.
That's her cup of tea right there for sure. And so she loves seeing Mario's horror stuff out there, guys, at Authority Comics. But yeah, I ingested it, you know, kind of like I said, in a quick manner, and but again, loved it. But no, I don't think that it's not like 4 hours like a big commitment. It feels like anything like that. You whizzes by.
That's what the people have been saying, you know, and when you can sit down and watch a movie for 4 hours and say, you know, I didn't even feel the 4 hours, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got you captivated. The time goes by. You're not watching your clock going, boy, how long has it been? I haven't even seen this yet. You know, that we do that. But I think it's going to be great.
Endgame was like 3.5.
Oh yeah,
I know, easy.
Yeah.
So
and it was totally.
to
It felt like a flash. Like it was so quick. No pun intended with the flash. But the other thing that came out today, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, again, I do this because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, and I'll watch it even if it's on my phone, on the bed, on the side, or I'm brushing my teeth, getting ready for work in the morning, and I'm watching, and I'm like trying to watch. I'm watching on the ride to work a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I saw it already. You guys are gonna both love it. I can tell you already. It's great. It's Marvel. They're just on a roll. They're doing things right. So
the wheels are turning again.
Yeah,
the wheels are turning.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's coming.
If
It's coming in droves now.
I was about to ask you, have you seen an uptick? And people are asking you all of a sudden for Falcon stuff.
Well, we mentioned that earlier when we were talking off camera. You know that this stuff comes into effect a year or two before we ever actually even see the TV show.
When they announce it at that big meeting,
when they
that
announce it at
investors meeting,
Comic-Con, or they announce it on the big screen or whatever. Collectors are just that way. They're born that way. They have that bone in their body. You know, it's search and get now. So the demand starts instantly.
We laugh now because we say, you know, like, man, I never looked for a Scarlet Witch or Vision comic my whole life. And now I'm like, man, I really want to know more. And it's so funny because there's a great, I don't know, do you ever watch the show, or I'm sure you heard of it, but people probably tell you, Robot Chicken?
Yes.
And they would take actually the big Migos and make them, you know, move around.
Yeah.
Well, there was one
Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green. My buddy John, who you know, he always we call him Holty Bear. He brings up one episode. He's always like, "Yeah, they had the Falcon on there," and he's like, "Man, my costume sucks, man. Like, I'm lame." And we're like, "I know." I'm like, Sam Wilson, you know, was not cool. Like, you know, Marvel made Falcon cool, who was not. That costume was. He hung out with Cap. That was like his claim to fame.
Record, I mean, I've always been a Falcon fan.
Okay, all right.
Since 1968, the Falcon was cool.
But I mean, there you go, guys. I mean, from the man himself, before that, I thought Falcon was cool. I give Anthony Mackie all the credit because I loved him in the Hurt Locker. So I tell people in that movie, it's like you've got Hawkeye, and you know that could be a like in their Shield days or something. You know what I mean? If you want to
Robot Chicken, they should have stuck to just picking on
Aquaman, right? Who is also cool now too. Aquaman is cool now.
They have to change him up, but
yeah, ask the ladies. He's cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't hear enough about it over there at the house. From my mom on the way down, my mom, my sister, and my girlfriend are all now huge Aquaman fans. All of a sudden, oh, okay, all right. You guys weren't seeing him when he had a hook hand, all right? Like we know. That's how we know him. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
George Sims says, "Hey Mario."
George, my good buddy.
Good man.
Great collector, loves comic books.
Nice.
It's got an eye for what's out there. Just had a beautiful baby boy, I believe, George. Congratulations. You know,
George. And welcome to the show.
Little Booger, I think that's him, right? Little Booger. But always good to hear from you, George. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, man, definitely. We appreciate you new watchers joining us, as we have obviously an esteemed guest. So more reason, you know, we bring him on here to get in the new viewers, right? So Rich hits it up right away with a question.
Yeah, he goes, "Hello, Mario. Don't know personally, but that's awesome that you've been in the business that long. What got you into comics and selling memorabilia?"
Kind of had a similar question a little bit earlier.
Well, not memorabilia,
not about memorabilia, but
Well, back in the earlier days, when we first started, 1996 is when we first came onto the scene. You know, we jumped in big. You know, so there was everything was
yeah.
out
You
there.
guys had toys,
Memorabilia,
shirts,
toys,
cards.
I think your brother bought a lot of jersey cards
Yeah,
from you.
They
That,
did.
when that was blowing
him and
up.
Tony and Will.
I didn't know what a jersey card was until I saw him. You
Yeah.
had him in the thing there. And I was like,
and
oh,
like
that's
anything
cool.
else, you know, the market gets absorbed and it gets saturated, and that's what kind of happened with the memorabilia market there for a little bit. And you know, it kind of faded away and everything. So I got away from it and stuck with my passion, which is comics, and we still do that to this day. But all those things are coming back super strong, super strong. So Richard, you know, hang in there. All the memorabilia stuff is just gonna fly and start jumping by leaps and bounds, man.
And if you get
It's
a
crazy.
chance, Rich, if you get in the next 2 weeks, go out and see Mario out at Authority Comics, inside Traders
2 more
Village,
weekends.
15th Street, man. Number one, we always say, me and Double A, the best comic book man in the game right here. Informative, great stuff. I mean, and a guy also too that if you're truly after something is willing to work with you. So Rich, I don't know what you're really collecting now or what you're really doing, but definitely reach out, man. And for anyone that maybe can't get out or won't get out to be able to get out to see Mario, you can always reach him right here. This is the best contact for him, sprmario72@gmail. Shoot him a message, ask him your questions or something you're looking for, something you want. I have no doubt that this man can find it for you. So yeah, get on that for sure. We'll be putting up the email throughout the night for anyone else commenting. What else we got in there, Double A? Some of the stuff here?
Gabriel says, any current MCU shows let any of you down?
That's an
the
interesting
shows.
question.
Well, I think there's only been WandaVision.
WandaVision has been was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it. But I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there really was anything. I can think back to like a little bit that I caught of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't enjoy it.
It sucks because Ghost Rider came on that show.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I think, in my opinion, just like the movies before, when we had that little section of movies that came out from Sony and Fox and things like that, and they were done at a subpar level, and they were always
they sure were
good enough, but not good enough.
Yeah,
there were a lot of those early shows that were coming out that were good enough, but not Marvel Cinematic.
No, not
we're used to now,
or even now, but they're doing on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I forgot to say the Inhumans.
Yeah, I think we're all Inhumans fans, and it's unfortunate.
What we're seeing now is we're seeing that uptick on the streaming TV show now, and they said, you know what, let's take this up to that level and let's do it right.
You saw the Netflix stuff. Did you? Which ones did you really enjoy? I know you love the Punisher.
I super love the Punisher, and I super love Daredevil.
What about Jessica?
Jessica Jones was actually really fun because she was a great character, and that was what I was buying those Alias comics from you.
And who was the main villain in that one? It was someone big, right?
Yeah, it was the guy he was one of the Doctor Who's, the actor.
I know, but who was he?
Mr. Purple, I think it's called Mr.
That's
Purple
right.
Man. Purple Man.
Yes,
Purple Man.
That's
right.
He's an early Daredevil villain.
Kind of a cool power, which was like kind of like Jesse's word, where like you got to do what I tell you to do.
Now you said the Iron Fist one was not very good.
You know what? The girl, the female counterpart to him, who was also a Game of Thrones alumni, she was really great. She added a lot to the show. She was supposed to be White Wing or one of an Iron Fist character. She was developing into that character, but you know, it was just a weaker show, and I think they didn't have as great of a plot. He really wasn't a bad actor. He was fine.
It's funny because people were shitting on it because they were saying it should have been an Asian actor, but Danny's not.
Danny Rand was
not
was Anglo. Yeah, he was a white guy. Yeah, so
I don't know why people were shitting on that for.
No.
And then
it was Luke Cage was great. Luke Cage was really great. Okay. Yeah, Mahershala Ali. It comes out.
Did they do the Defenders or no?
They did do a Defender show. That one I didn't watch, so I got kind of behind. And I also didn't see the third season of the Daredevil show. But everything else up to then had been great. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin was
killed it.
Outstanding, man. I mean, he
saw
was
the
great
and everything. I'm honestly, you know, I hate to say it, but I'm not a big fan of the TV shows. You know what I mean? I don't find a whole lot of time to watch TV, so I wait for the big.
But would you say
that's
you say that's a better platform for those kind of characters? Would be the TV shows for like Punisher, because they tried doing it with 3 movies.
I'm just biased.
None of them hit.
Bring it to me and bring it to me big.
Sure,
you know what I mean. That's just the way I want to see it. That's the way I love my characters. You know.
Well, let me tell you, Mario, with these shows that they're doing, on Disney Plus, man, they're giving it.
Yeah, the production's there.
They're giving it the movie
They're
treatment.
pulling out
Man.
the stops.
Yes,
now.
they
No,
are.
yeah, no doubt.
Yes,
Were you
they
a Game
are.
of Thrones fan? Did you
Oh,
watch?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how that was like a movie when you were watching it? Like you could have, if they would have released 4 hours at once, you would have sat for 4 hours of Game of Thrones. That's how Marvel.
Whole different level of TV. I mean, me and the missus sat and you do the thing. Just one more. One more, baby. One more, baby. I know you got to go to work tomorrow, babe, but just one more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we watched that thing and binged it a little later than usual. And because I said we don't watch a whole lot of TV.
I started on season 3.
Yeah.
We were hooked.
I'm telling you,
we
right?
went all the way on that one. That's one of our favorites.
I think that what Marvel did and what Disney is doing with these shows is that they're really borrowing that HBO ideal where they're like, let's give it the treatment of a movie, give it the budget. And when they do, you're just like, you're blown away, because I really feel as though between Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, they were really the ones that kind of kicked it off. We're like, hey, this is
especially Walking
you
Dead.
got to be in for the long haul. It's not like oh, there's one episode. It's not like Knight Rider, man, where there's like one episode and it's done in one episode. It's like you got to invest because you're falling in love with these characters. And that I think Marvel and Disney totally took that from shows like that, and now it's the same thing. If they would have gave us 4 hours of WandaVision, people were complaining that they didn't like the weekly release. They wanted it.
I love the weekly release.
I was fine with it too. But again, if they would have said, hey, this week we're going to drop 4 hours, I would have sat for 4 hours and watched it. It was that damn good. It was like a dang movie, Mario. I mean, you see they're bringing in the actors right from Endgame, so it's not like they recast it and made some bullshit show. They brought you, hey, we're bringing in the real deal or whatever.
And it's just the beginning, because they cross their fingers and say, let's give this a shot. And when we all saw the early things of it, we all said, what's this? What are they doing?
Right.
And then when it was explained to us, okay, I get it. Let's go. Let's do this. And I mean, it was a hit.
Totally.
So, I mean, it just raises the bar and says this is the way they need to be done.
Well, that's where shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and
I love
Inhumans. I think that's where they kind of went wrong, though, is that they didn't really bring in. It was like they mentioned what happened, but it was very, here and there. And then even in the Netflix ones, they didn't really bring anybody in. There were, they were kind of crossing over characters between their own shows.
See, I always liked that about Daredevil, that when it was just like his story, Hell's Kitchen.
Yes.
I liked it when Spider-Man stayed away from Hell's Kitchen, because that's Daredevil's area.
Right.
The Hand and Electro and Bullseye and Kingpin. I like that. So
the only one that kind of seemed to fit in there was like Spider-Man, because he'd kind of be in the neighborhood anyway. So it's like he was kind of, they were near each other. But you're right. Like, but he's Cap and the Avengers aren't going down to Hell's Kitchen. That's like Daredevil's got it.
It gave it a certain level that would only belong to Daredevil. You know what I mean? And that feel, that dark feel. And, Marvel Knights. You know what I mean? Dark feel. And we love that. And you throw a Spider-Man in there, it's not so dark anymore.
Right. But it's definitely gonna lighten it up.
It's a matter of your taste. But then some people are like, "Yay, Spider-Man's here!"
Right. So your feelings on the Netflix shows? Yay or nay?
Yay. Love them. Definitely
worth watching. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yay or nay?
Nay. On that one. Nay on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What do you think about them bringing in Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider?
I liked the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I think I liked it because I knew what was going on at the time, and and I was able to follow everything. And of course, when they brought in Robbie, I was hesitant at first, and then I saw it, and I thought, like you said, cool. This is cool.
Because
I'm not even familiar with that version of Ghost Rider.
Johnny Blaze fan.
I was gonna say,
you know what I mean? Danny Ketch is okay, but it's just not my thing. But Johnny Blaze is the guy.
I love them both.
Bring in this
Spirits of Vengeance,
Hispanic guy.
It's cool. That's what I thought was cool.
Now, his thing is that he doesn't have a bike; he has a car.
Yeah,
that's so. I mean, it was a nice twist, and they did it very cool. Again, they didn't do it to the level that we want to see them do something like that.
Right.
And if they would have on a big screen, that would have been off the chart.
I
think it was likable and was like, that was interesting. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So we'll see what
Did you dig the Nicolas Cage movies, or were they a little too?
Man, no, I didn't dig. I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan.
You know what?
But certain things are Nicolas Cage. But
I was so with the first one, because I bought back even the old Ghost Rider character.
Right.
Spirits of Vengeance Part 2.
Yeah.
Man, that one's kind of rough.
Yeah.
When they finally decide to do that again and do it right, it's going to be amazing.
Little to be desired. I think what those was.
It's going to be amazing when it does happen.
Guys, we're getting right up on that next that first 30-minute mark. We're going to take a little break. If you're one of our audio listeners, you'll hear a quick commercial break from me, and then we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. But for those of you joining us on Facebook Live, which we go every Friday night, Facebook Live, join the conversation. Stay with us. We're going to read through your comments. Anything that you want to ask Mario Delgado, The man is here right now.
Yeah.
He's not selling comic books right now. He's sitting here with us, ready to answer your questions and have a conversation with you guys. So please send those in. I'm going to read through some right now. And for those of you on the audio, I'll be right back in 30 seconds.
I just saw your Elvira picture. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Here we go. There it is. Yeah, that's a good. And I have one, me and her and my dad, but she's not in the costume, so I told him I'm jealous too.
I had the opportunity to do the Cassandra Peterson thing
I would
out of
think
the
in all your
costume, but I just
time.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, you
I
need
wanted
that
the
in the
costume.
costume. That was at Fright Fest, right?
Lucky man.
Right?
No, it was Billy Madison's thing that he did.
Terracon.
Yeah, he only did it 1 year, and then that was it.
1 year, yeah.
I think it was with Apple. I think it was like with something. With Apple.
I regret too not getting that in the costume. That was the one
somehow he convinced her to do it for like 1 day, one Saturday.
That's good. She doesn't do it that often.
That's what I'm saying.
Cassandra,
Yeah.
but no.
It's so funny because
Awesome.
we were wrestling fans, so we've got the rest. We each have the wrestler Sting, but I've got him in the makeup and the costume, and he's got him without.
Yeah, he kind of ups the price when he puts the makeup.
Right,
on.
exactly.
I
That's
get
the
it.
way to go,
I
right?
get it.
Okay.
Guys joining us on Facebook Live, we really appreciate you sticking around. We're going to read through some of these comments here for Mr. Mario, and maybe there might even be some for ourselves. I'm not really sure.
Okay. So we answered Gabriel's. Jeremy said, "Is the store still open at Traders? I want to buy some Godzilla comics and other cool memorabilia I've been wanting."
You have a limited time, Jeremy, to get out there with 2 more weekends, and that's what we're going to be talking about in our next 30-minute segment for the rest of the
Mario's
of the show.
got some pretty big news about a main Godzilla man, so that's going to be interesting.
And
that's
about himself in the future of Authority Comics, Jeremy. It's
Jeremy, you might want to stick around.
Yeah, you might want to definitely stick around and answer that question specifically. But as of right now, the answer to your question is yes. Try to go this weekend or next weekend. Give mom a call, pick you up or something like that.
Now he's saying though he wants to buy some Godzilla comics and other cool memorabilia.
Sounds
You have
good.
Godzilla comics, Mario?
I've got Godzilla comics, plenty of them.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and give
Okay.
Toy Matrix, my neighbor down the street, a shout out. Everybody knows Gary
Mhm.
Harmon and Bobby over there. Those are my good friends. Those guys got Godzilla stuff up the wazoo.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a good Godzilla 1-2 punch between you guys.
They are kicking, and you can pick up a beautiful T-shirt to go along with it.
Yeah.
Toy Matrix has got it going on. So
Definitely.
come and visit me, and then 50 yards away is Toy Matrix.
15th Street.
15th Street rocks.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about that later.
If mom got her stimulus, hit her up, Jeremy. Not me. No, hit me up. But no, you can always email Mario right here too, Jeremy. If any questions like that or specific things, maybe something you saw and you want to ask him about it, he can definitely give you the heads up on that for sure. And anybody that doesn't know where you're at, new people joining us, we are right here at we're called Just Another Friday Night, JAFN, the podcast. We do this on it's here a recording live on Facebook, but it goes out on YouTube later on tonight with all the comments included. But the shortened version we do on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can find that anywhere you listen to music, Audible, Amazon Music. We are literally everywhere. And on that version, you hear it without the comments included. That's kind of like our special for the YouTube subscribers and then the people that are here joining us live. But let us get right back into your comments with and for Mario here. Let's see, where are we at?
Okay. George says, haha, thanks, Mario. Raymond Cervantes, hey, Mario, what are some of your favorite comic book artists and why?
Great question. Should we hold that answer for?
I don't know.
I think
It's up to you.
it's
our YouTube.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Mario. You can answer that one. That's good.
We talked about that, I think, in the first
In the
time
first
we did this
episode.
too. And Raymond is a good friend of mine. Raymond is an aspiring artist himself. So
Ah,
remember that
wonderful.
name,
Okay.
guys. Raymond Cervantes. My boy's gonna be big someday.
All right.
We're ready to be drawn.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's got his own style, something I've never seen too often, and that's what I look for when I look at art. I like to see stuff that I've never seen before.
Wonderful.
And Raymond has that touch. So he knows I like Michael Turner. He knows I like J. Scott Campbell.
Okay.
I could go on and
Great
on.
guys.
That's a loaded question, Raymond. I love it all. But
Yeah.
But
the guys that I
why
like.
Michael Turner?
Michael Turner, I became a huge fan of Michael Turner because after Todd McFarlane, upped the characters, Michael Turner upped the girl, drawing the women.
I was going to say.
The fantasy heroes,
Rob
things
Liefeld
like that.
brags about him.
The
all the time.
supernatural
Yeah.
heroes that were women, and he drew them with such beauty.
Mhm.
And I'm talking class
Oh,
beauty,
totally.
and it was just leaped off the page for me. So
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
was
at some there. I mean, he just
hooked on Michael
draws
Turner.
smooth. If you see the
Yeah,
top,
yeah.
part right there. I mean, it's just very smooth.
Well,
but now he was known for that for several years,
Right.
and he was the king of that.
Yeah.
So
what is it?
when the time,
Fathom.
Fathom, Witchblade, you know what I mean? All those characters.
I
that he
was
helped
literally buying
co-create.
all the Fathom books from you. I was
Right.
calling the shop and saying, Mario, can you hold me this issue? Because they were doing 2 covers and all that. And I mean, I've told you guys this before, like off air. I've said the Fathom, the story, not that great. I was like, it's basically like a wannabe Atlantis.
Mostly like the Image comics, right?
I hate to use the
Mostly
word
not
eye
for him.
candy, but it was a beautiful thing to read.
Oh yeah,
you
and
know?
gosh
And-
dang,
and-
even the interiors, he
Yeah,
just
the covers
drew.
he became
you
the
know.
consummate cover artist.
Cover
for a while
artist,
there.
yep.
And then up the game when finally Marvel came a calling, DC came a calling, and for him to draw Wonder Woman was off the chart.
Yeah,
And God rest his soul.
I know.
Michael
It's
Turner
sad.
passed away in
really young, in his
2007.
30s, right? He was in his 30s.
2007. I got to meet him twice.
Wow,
Oh,
cool. I
very
didn't know that.
nice.
When he was very young,
Very nice.
full of energy.
Yeah.
I have a Witchblade lithograph that he just signed across along with Mark
my
Silvestri, who was
gosh.
there.
Damn, Silvestri
Young
too.
and full of life
Yeah.
when Top Cow just started.
Yeah.
And they
Top
ventured out.
Cow. Nice.
And then I got to see him. I hate to say it, at his worst. They had a special chair made for him because he couldn't sit for very long. And those of you who don't know, he was diagnosed with cancer after a skiing accident. They found cancer in his hip, and it spread like wildfire. So, at the age of 37, our beloved Michael Turner passed away.
Yeah.
And so, to me, you know, I mean, there's not very many people have been able to step in his shoes. They're there. There's some good guys out there. Don't get me wrong, right now. But Michael Turner,
it's a great
always
man,
be
Logan.
in the top 5 of all time.
Very
greatest
nice.
to bring comics to a whole nother level. Beautiful stuff. Check it out if you haven't.
Love Michael Turner. It's a great question.
There you go, Raymond.
Yeah.
Michael says, "What's the best Comic Cons you guys have been to?"
Ooh, that reminds us of our episode we have for anyone new here. Again, guys, check out our old.
For me,
stuff.
I would
We got
say
one.
because I've been to like the big ones. I've been to everywhere. I say Dallas throws probably the best ones.
Have you been to San Diego?
No, just in
No.
Texas. Just in
Yeah.
Texas. Just the ones I've been to. Dallas. Just the ones I've been to.
Dallas kicks everybody's butt. I hate to say it. You know, what I
in
mean?
Texas, Mario.
Yeah, in Texas, Dallas is the show, and it's not just the show. You can put on a show, but if you bring the people that come to spend money and not just the cosplayers, forgive me, but you know, love you cosplayers, but you know, those kind of shows are where people come and everybody benefits. You know, you get the cosplayers, the vendors benefit, the celebrities are there. Dallas,
no, it's great,
off the chart.
It's great, yeah,
off the chart.
You know, I will say that it was small, but we had a great experience over in McAllen. We went to the McAllen show, and it was just a great time. We got in and out. We got what we wanted.
The McAllen
it was, it was very organized. It felt like,
but those are very small though.
Yeah,
the McAllen ones. I've been to like 3 of them. They're fine.
And it all depends what you're going for, guys. You know, if you're the celebrity guy, you're gonna go to the bigger shows and things like that have the celebrities. I myself, I'm a comic chaser. You know what I mean? I would rather go to a comic show that has 50 comic vendors,
right?
And I will spend time jumping from each one to the other. I don't need a celebrity, you know, and that's a good show for me.
This guy got me hooked on meeting the writers and artists, and when he'd be saying, "Hey, no, remember this? They're going there." So when I went to Comic Palooza in Houston, and I got to meet Dan Jurgens, Chris Claremont. It was awesome. It was organized. It was great. My very first show I ever went to, my very first ever big con. I have huge thanks to Gary and Bobby at Toy Matrix. They took me as a guest, and I got in for free. Thanks to them, I helped them out with a little bit of stuff. They made me do minimal work. It was really nice, and they let me wander around. But it was and I think the only Wizard World I've ever been to in Austin. Yeah, and that's where I met CM Punk. And
they had one here.
Yeah.
And then they never did it again.
Yeah, that's right. They just did one Wizard World here.
My first 2 were the first 2 in 96 and 97 when they had them in Chicago. You know what I mean? I went out to the Chicago Wizard World and checked that out a couple of years in a row. And then later on, with my wife, we went to San Diego and did the big one. You know, planned a vacation around it and spent the whole weekend there.
I would love to do
I was blown away. I was there for 3 days, and that was not enough time to cover a San Diego show.
That's crazy.
You need the full pass and the full 5 days, you know, to take it all in. And it's getting bigger and bigger now with the MCU universe and all the TV shows and everything. It's a celebrity thing now.
Yeah, I just saw Kevin Smith had just said that on his recent episode of their show, Fat Man Beyond, that that, you know, again, they announced it was going to be canceled. There wouldn't be a San Diego this year. But he goes, you know what? The only reason I'm okay with it, he goes, because man, when it comes back, it is going to be the biggest one ever, probably. Like
tickets were selling out,
so eager
you know,
for it.
the day after the show ended. The tickets for the next year were already selling out.
That's insane.
So it is the consummate Comic-Con. Big.
Cool.
Now, Alamo City Comic Con, they usually have really good. Apple usually pulls in some really great comic book artists. Man, I've got to meet Sam Keith. He pulled in John Cassaday. He pulled in Frank Miller, Klaus Johnson. He's put in Andy Kubert.
That's great,
man. I mean,
those are great.
Apple really from Alamo City Comic Con. He's usually like the comic book artist guy. So I've gotten to meet so many of them, and a lot of them don't even charge. Some don't even charge. Some even charge like $5. It's like the first autograph is free, and then the next one is only like $3.
That's great.
I met George Bettis. He was free.
Yeah.
And people are bringing stacks
of
comics to him and telling him where to sign it. And it was just free.
Wow.
And if you guys don't mind, we should take a second to thank guys like Apple de la Fuente.
Totally, man.
Apple de la Fuente went out there and kicked the door down and said, "Hey, I want something better for San Antonio."
Yeah. Did we have a big con before that?
Apple de la Fuente?
Nothing.
Chris Kidd came around and tried his thing too, and you know there were good things and bad things, but I give Chris Kidd his kudos for coming in, and Texas Comic Con was on the move, and then things disappeared for them, and then we can all go back and we all appreciate to this day the Dale Ekman show.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Ekman show was like our thing. We would look like all of us would always look forward to that big show in Live Oak, Texas, and it'd be one room over here and one big ass room.
That perfect little venue, right?
Man, it was just
that's
great.
A great show.
Live
That's a great show
Center.
for the customer that really doesn't necessarily need celebrities and things like
that.
Well,
actually, I was going to say,
but
some of them. I got to meet Doug Hazelwood, and he drew like a really cool little Superman thing on one of those Death of Supermans, and I was like, wow, he actually pulled in Doug Hazelwood.
But I think in May he's got another show coming up.
I read that. Yeah, he's been trying to come back too.
We love the Ekman shows.
Dale Ekman, we love you, Dale.
Totally.
I would always look for the Wizard and see. Oh, look, there it is. They're coming. So,
and they used to print it.
Save the date.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get that flyer in the mail. That was always a treat too. Like, all right, the show is coming back. Guys, I'm going to bring us back into the recording because I feel like we're missing too much good content here, and I don't want this to not be on the audio version. So I'm going to bring us back real quick right now for another 30-minute block. We'll answer some more of the comments we didn't get to, and then we'll kind of start the conversation here. So give me a second to do that. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out during that quick break. We were having too much good content in the comments. I wanted to bring us back in. So let me get right back to the comments. We just got through saying some serious thank yous and mentioning some people that we do want to mention again. Gary and Bobby over at Toy Matrix on 15th Street inside Trader's Village as well. We mentioned them at the beginning of the break. And then we just got through thanking guys like
Dale Ekman,
Apple
de la Fuente,
Alamo City Comic Con, and of course Dale Ekman,
Chris Kidd,
Card Comic
Texas Comic Con.
Yes, all those great people that have brought shows to San Antonio.
They bought superstar artists.
They try to provide something for San Antonio. You know what I mean? And I think any one of them and any one of us as a retailer, you know, we want to bring something better to our town.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And I think for the last 25 years, that's what was my focus. That was my
and
focus.
Mario, I geeked out on more of the artists and writers than I did on the celebrities they were bringing because I was just like, comics are my thing. You know, so
exactly. And it's awesome to put a face with the art.
Yes, it is.
Face with the writing. You know what I mean? It just makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, like for so many years, I'd read Wolverine comics in the 90s, you know, and I would just see the name Larry Hama because I would always be so interested. Who writes these? Like, I would love to write comic books. That'd be like a dream job. And I would always see that name. And so that, you know, thanks to Apple and Alamo City, I finally got to meet the man face to face. So it was pretty cool.
George says it's Purple Man.
Thank you, George. I appreciate you helping out.
It was Purple Man.
And Mario jumped in there too.
Joanna Wall says,
Hey, Joanna.
Maria and Michelle are great people. They'll definitely be missed here in San Antonio, but wish them all the new journey. Alan and I hope to keep in contact. George says, Ancient One should have been Asian, though. How do you feel about the Ancient One?
In Doctor Strange.
How do you feel about
Tilda Swinton
instead?
Here's the good thing about Doctor Strange is before the Doctor Strange movie, I mean, who the heck read Doctor Strange?
Exactly.
Just the diehards.
Right.
So anything they tried to do was fine. It fit right in. You know what I mean? Whether it was changing this a little bit or changing that a little
Right.
bit. So they didn't have to worry about too much of that. And that's, I think, why, Doctor Strange was off the chart to me.
Yeah, for sure.
That was fantastic. So I didn't have a problem with anything.
Okay, that Mario's a-okay with the ancient one. I was okay with it too. Tilda, I think, did a great job.
I'm fine.
You know, but
I'm fine with
I
it.
definitely see where you're at though, George, with that. George also says, hopefully Martin Murdock comes back in Spider-Man.
People are geeking out with Charlie Cox maybe being on the set of Spider-Man 3. They're like really like hoping he's going to be in
That's
the
what I'm
movie.
talking about.
He's an excellent Daredevil, and
That's what I'm
I'm re-loving Charlie Cox because I'm starting to I'm doing my first watch through of Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
love it.
you're fantastic in this as well. I thought it was just Daredevil.
It'd just be cool to see Daredevil though, right?
my
Finally on
gosh,
the big
yeah,
screen.
man.
That's
Just them mixing it up. You know,
That's what I wait for.
Right.
That's where I want to see these guys get
Yeah.
taken up. It's like from the farm league. They bring them up. You
Oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's fantastic.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
And there he
nice.
is.
That's
Courtesy
nice.
of
Where did you
Mario.
get that? That's nice.
I got this
That's
at
nice.
Mario's, where you can get them at Trader's Village.
Nice.
I should have took that one.
You've been saying that for
I
the
know.
past 2
I've
months.
been saying it right. Let's see what else here. Rich says, what do you see Marvel doing next show wise? You got WandaVision and now
Oh
Falcon and the
shit!
Winter
They
Soldier.
got Loki.
Loki's
They
lined
got
Mario, as a long time, lifelong Marvel guy since the 70s, what's a show or a character that you'd like to 60s? Who haven't they tackled that you'd like to see tackled? Is there some property out there untouched?
Who's my favorite?
There you go.
Who's my favorite?
The Submariner.
When Namor comes on the scene, Namor is going to be, he's going to kill it. He's going to be the consummate superpower.
Now, could you watch like a whole? They've announced that they're going to do a show about Wakanda. Could you do a show about Atlantis? Would you dig it?
Yeah,
I think I would.
Okay.
I think I would. I think Wakanda though is a nice way to bring him in. You know what I mean?
That is
something like
have
that.
those worlds, kind of cross.
I mean, Atlantis. We all got that little sneak preview of the explosion in Atlantis. And we'll talk about that later.
I love that they do that stuff.
I got chills when I heard that.
That's very cool.
When it gets done, and hopefully they pick the right person for it.
Yeah,
it is going to be off the chart. He's the one I'm waiting for. He's one of the ones I'm waiting for.
Richard, there's Moon Knight coming out. I mean, they got like an all-star cast.
Well, what's the one that they haven't tackled or you haven't heard of them going to tackle that you'd like to see double?
Oh, Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, like a straight Ghost Rider show.
Give me a show.
I like that.
If you don't want to do a movie, give me a damn show. Johnny Blaze making a deal with the devil to become Ghost Rider.
Start from the beginning.
I like where you're at.
Give me that.
Where you're at.
Silver Surfer. Give me a Silver Surfer show. If you're not going to bring him in,
too.
give me a Silver Surfer
Fantastic
show.
Four is coming.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that on the bigger screen, the better screen, if I'll call it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
But yeah, they got Loki and Moon Knight coming, and
there's a big slate. There's a big slate coming up.
Even Werewolf by Night will come in through, and we all love the typical Werewolf by Night, the Tomb of Dracula, the Mummy, the Living Mummy. I mean, those are things we grew up with, and then Marvel, brought them into comic book form in the 70s, and we love them. So they're going to bring those characters in there too.
What If? We've also got What If coming. I mean, that's one that I always thought was kind of right to become a show. Yeah, to see how they do it. I like what I've seen from the animation so far.
Richard says, do you think they'll bring back Daredevil or Punisher? Yeah, they will.
I think they will. Truly hope so. And
they're two good characters that you just can't ignore.
And two great actors.
Those are A-listers.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on those actors.
Go back.
Oh, sorry, guys. Right there. Let's see.
Oh, Jeremy says, I forgot what year it was, but it was my first and last time seeing Stan Lee. So that con will always be my favorite one. I'm guessing maybe the second time he came to Alamo City.
Time he came to Alamo City. We took them or whatever, and they were just geeked to see him. We were kind of from afar because we couldn't get in to see him. He was on when they had him on that riser. Remember
I always have my
that
picture right there.
Yeah.
I have my picture right there with the man himself.
That's right.
Cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've got some neat Stan Lee stuff we're going to show later.
Jeremy says, courtesy of Charlie and my mom.
Oh, there you go. You're very welcome, Jeremy.
Richard says, Mario, what comic got you hyped up to buy and read?
That's a good question.
I was such a big reader when I was a youngster. You know what I mean? I continuity was everything to me. I wanted to know what the next thing was happening. So I read everything when I was younger. But when I got into the business, I became a businessman more than a reader. But I had to be versed in it. And I was doing the orders and ordering comic books monthly and everything was enough to keep me in the loop.
Okay.
But it wasn't until Civil War came out, changed the merchandising game for me as a retailer, but also had me hooked. And for the first time, I said, you know what? I need to sit down and read this from front to back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the things that were happening in that book, you know, changed a lot of things too. And it was just, that was the epic thing that got me fired up. And I, again, couldn't wait for the next issue to come out.
Man.
But for a while there, I was pretty content with just, you know, reading my previews magazine and keeping up to date with what's coming out and the synopsis of what's happening.
Sure.
You know, I wasn't in depth.
But as a teenager, Mario, what comics were like your thing? What when you were like waiting monthly at Eckerd's or something?
I was a big Fantastic Four guy. I was a big team guy. I wanted more hero for my buck.
Sure.
So Fantastic Four gave me that. Avengers gave me that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I read Captain America. I read Daredevil, but I got everybody in those big books.
You got the mix.
Those were the ones that were my two biggest stacks. Were Fantastic Four, and I'll tell you a quick story. My Fantastic Four stack and my Avenger stack. And one of my good friends, when I was a teenager, went over for a sleepover, and he's like, "Bring your Fantastic Fours over, man, and I'll show you my Hulks." Okay. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Sure, let's do that. Let's do that." You know. And so I went over, and actually, I'm lying. It was the other way around. Bring your Incredible Hulks over, and I'll show you my Fantastic Fours. And I was like, fantastic, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. So I went over and we made the mega trade. One stack for another stack.
Whoa.
Ernest Guerrero, if you're out there. I remember you, brother. We were kids together. Damn. And we made the ultimate trade that night. So
wow.
But you know who got the short end of the stick, right? Somewhat. What was in the Incredible Hulks?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Well, Wolverine's first appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean,
you might have gave up Silver Surfers first. And Galactus.
Yeah.
There's some stuff in there.
There's some Black Panther.
You're right.
Black Bolt.
I'm like, I need to know more about your run. Like, where were you at?
Yeah.
I think it was probably a little bit after that, but you know what I mean. But so he got the 181. And I probably got FF 100 and up.
Oh no!
Yeah. So in the long run, it was like I was missing my Incredible Hulk.
So if you are out there,
Ernest, you pulled the flash.
I was trying to recoup some of that loss.
But those were the good old days, and that's what I used to do when I was young. I was so passionate about it, man. I sat there and looked through comics all night long, man. Here, trade you this one, trade you that one.
At that time, it was probably about the story, right? They're like, oh, well, in this one, so-and-so fights so-and-so. And you're like, damn, I haven't read that. I'd like to read that.
But, you know, it's like me and you said yesterday. It's like Wolverine in that one sucked. It's the gloves were the claws, you know, that he put on.
He was a weasel.
Yeah.
He's not the rich.
He's not the Claremont.
You know, we see him over here on this wall. We've got some great books up there.
And as people don't realize, you know what I mean, that X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine, that changed the game again. Took everything up to a whole nother level for readers, and Wolverine became the biggest thing there is.
Gabriel goes, I asked Mario to find me a Fantastic 448, and there was one right behind it.
Not that he didn't find it.
It's right there, brother.
Gabriel goes, nice backlog.
He won't part with it though. I already talked to him.
Gabriel goes, move, Mario. Just kidding. Jason says, I will see you this weekend. Jason says he'll see you this weekend.
See you this weekend, Jason. Thank you.
Raymond says, thank you, Mario. Love you.
Love you too, Raymond.
Rick.
Awesome.
Says, hey, guys.
In the house. What's up, Rick?
Comic Crypt, folks.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Love
one of the longest time vendors at the Dale Ackman show, at any show in town. Rick is a wonderful, wonderful guy. So if you're ever at the shows, go to Rick's Comic Crypt and go see him. He'll take care of you.
He will.
I love Rick.
Yeah. Rick, I love you too, Rick.
Thank you a
ton. Yeah. Thank you a ton for being here.
I got some of your comics up here too, Rick.
Yeah,
he's the best.
The days at Ike and Jay's. You can remember that's where I first met Rick. That's where I first met him, and I was like one of the coolest guys too.
That ROM #1, I got it from Rick.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
So always, guys, too, and when you're out there and about and in the world and you're meeting people and saying hi and shake hands, Rick's Comic Crypt, totally a cool page, and he's been doing the small shows over at that have been kind of
the Converse one, Shrine.
Shrine.
Rick basically does most of the shows, so you can catch Rick at the show.
Those are the only ones that have been actually popping up, though. It's the Shrine ones.
They're kind of the first ones bringing it back. A little bit of testing out the waters. So very cool.
George says Sam Keith was awesome. He was free and loved to talk.
Awesome.
And he never does show either, so that was a big get. Yeah, which I didn't know about Sam Keith.
I didn't know
that.
So
when I found out, I was like, "Wow, it was cool that Apple was able to get that." Dude.
Yeah,
you know,
Sam Keith is great,
and he's one of the guys that his art speaks to you, you know it's Sam Keith.
Yeah,
You know,
I love
an
that.
artist that once you take one look, you know
that's a McFarlane, that's a Jim Lee. Like you just know.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
a
that
Sam
too.
Keith.
Yeah, George, I got
point,
him. I got him the Max signed, and I have him on Sandman issue 1.
I feel like you got to get him on the Max, right? Like you got to get him on
But
the
Sandman
Max,
though, Sandman was
Yeah.
perfect. He
Yeah.
only lasted 5 issues for Sandman, but man, I thought Sandman was like perfect for his kind of art, but he didn't think so.
Yeah.
So
And George says to Rick, "Hi, Rick."
Hey.
And Steve says, "Guys, where do y'all think? What do y'all think about the Walking Dead series and merch?"
man, so the TV show really upped that whole
Mhm.
whole run. I mean, issue 100 is a key issue. Issue 1 is like a modern holy grail now.
You've got a great
comics.
Walking Dead issue
My
1
wife,
story
my
for your
wife,
wife.
My
Yeah.
wife. My wife collects The Walking Dead. You know, she has a beautiful 9/6 number
Ooh.
1 signed by
Yeah.
Kirkman. And she just got
Golly.
a beautiful number 19, I believe, which is the first Michonne, which
Nice.
is almost the second biggest book there that everybody
Yeah.
has. So she's got matching ones. That one's got all 3 writer, artist, and Kirkman on it.
What's that
So,
slab go for? That one, number 1. Just curious.
number 1, 2, maybe 2.5 grand.
Yeah. I remember when it was the Get book without being graded, and it was
Right.
going for like 800.
So
And I was like,
yeah.
wow, I hadn't seen a modern comic in a while be that hot, and it was that hot.
Yeah.
And she's almost done. She probably needs 10 more issues or
Okay.
so on the bottom
nice.
half to have the whole complete.
And now they
Whoa.
re-released them all in color,
That's
right?
a
They-
mission that I'm always on.
Wow.
I was gonna say you're
Wow.
in the hunt, right?
For my sweetheart.
So,
yeah. Mhm.
and
Wow.
but she became a fan out of the show. The show made her say,
Oh
I
yeah,
want to check out
my
this comic.
wife has always been a consummate reader, a novel reader.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
Nice.
being married to a comic guy, you know, I mean, she's like, you know, what can I read?
It's like
Is there something that
yeah.
I can read?
A big deal,
And
big
once we
deal.
saw the show and she loved the show and she fell in love with the show, she's like, I want to read that.
Right.
You know? So I started getting her the hardcovers, every volume.
Ooh,
Boy, and you know,
hardcovers.
when you're a novel reader, you
Damn.
burn through that stuff. Like
Oh
nothing.
yeah, comics are so
Yeah.
short, you know?
Especially
She burned
those-
through them. She enjoyed them so much, and the fever caught.
See 'em.
So she wanted.
What'd you think?
You've seen her picture with Daryl
Yes.
Negan.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean,
we
we
love
saw
that.
you guys down
We
at the
were
show.
there. Yeah.
We were in line.
We ran into
we
each
were
other
in the
there.
Daryl Negan line, and y'all were in the Star Wars line, right?
We were, I think so. We were next to you.
Yeah.
Well, that we were supposed to meet them both as well.
They
That
sold
day,
out.
but It sold out.
It sold
That,
out,
that photo op
so-
you got with both.
I always like to tell a story about us waiting in the line that time because on
Oh,
this
my
side
goodness.
there were thousands of people. Remember,
Yes,
it was a
they
nightmare.
were.
Mhm. It was
But
a
on
nightmare.
this side was
bad.
The Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
And everybody had what? Bats
Bats.
and zombies
Yeah.
and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. And on this side, you had the Star Wars guys
Luke.
'Cause
and
Luke was
everything.
there,
and everybody had sabers and
Lightsabers.
everything. And I was like, right out of Anchorman. I was like, let's do this.
Let's do this, right? Well, you,
Walking Dead versus Star Wars.
And I don't know if you remember, but like even further to the left was the Rocky Horror. So
Yeah,
that's right. They were there
so
too.
yeah, like 3 different fan bases.
And they had, they also had
That would've been-
Adam West there.
That
It
would
was-
have been an excellent
That's
rumble.
right.
Oh, I
That's right.
know. Yeah, yeah, that was a crazy show, but
Yeah, that was a great
so
show.
much fun.
That was- mhm.
But Steve was talking about memorabilia. You've got a signed. No, your sword's not signed, but you have
Oh no,
merch wise. You
I
got
have
the
a
Michonne
Michonne
sword.
sword, and I did get my Negan bat signed, and
Nice.
he signed my Supernatural book.
Yeah, nice.
So-
And I have
so-
I have a Negan bat signed also.
And then
by
he
the
did
actor,
he
Jeffrey
did
D.
something
Morgan.
really cool on Twitter. Jeffrey D.
That's
Morgan. He was signing for this one comic company, the Negan origin story.
Wow.
So he
Negan
signed like
lives.
about 200 issues, and me and CM were able to pick it up for like $8.
Sweet.
We totally learned
Yeah.
about this and found about this on Twitter. We put our
Nice.
order in with that shop
And-
in like
and-
Minnesota or something.
And he showed it too. Jeffrey D. Morgan took like a video of him signing and
Yeah.
all the comics,
Yeah.
all the damn comics.
And
so.
here's something to segue into on that. I mean, everybody knows about graded books and everything now, and CGC is one of the bigger companies. The fact that we haven't had Comic Cons, we haven't been able to go get our books signed or
Mhm,
anything
right.
like that.
Yeah.
So CGC started stepping in right about that time and started saying, you know what, we're going to bring the artist here
Oh, cool.
to CGC. So all you CGC fellas who want to get your books graded, and that's a graded book if you want to show anybody a graded book, you know, send your books. One of the biggest
Here's
signings was the
grade
Todd
at the
McFarlane
top.
signing. So you
Yeah.
could send any Todd McFarlane
Damn.
book into CGC, and I do believe it was like $100, and you would get the whole meal. You would get the autograph, you would get the grading, and everything shipped right back to your door.
That's awesome.
That took off so well. Todd McFarlane was exhausted. I think it took him 2 weeks to sign everything.
Wow.
But anyway,
on these right here, they usually say like it's a Stanley story, Jack Kirby art,
Everything
Jack
you need to
Kirby
know.
cover. This one is the first appearance of the Space Phantom, and it says the Hope leaves the Avengers in this issue.
If you didn't know,
there's a lot of key information that they put up here. And then it's like white pages, like they certify like the white pages.
White pages matter.
Everything. So
So
white
yeah,
I mean, it's a good way to keep these comics really in shape, in good shape, without getting them damaged.
but you can't read them. Once
You
they're
can't
in
read
there,
them,
that's
no,
it.
but-
It's over.
By the
reading
graphic.
part.
But I
By
mean,
the
man,
trade.
these were made in the '60s. They're only just getting older, so just slab them.
But
Yeah,
getting back to
slap 'em when
that,
you can.
CGC is continuing their line of CGC signings now.
Nice.
So
Nice.
if you follow them, you'll hear that Chris Claremont is going to be there. You can send your books in directly and have them signed and slabbed and
I
sent
love
back to
Claremont.
you.
$10
You know.
that he does. $10.
Yeah,
Chris
they're,
Claremont.
they're lining them up.
He did charge me more for our God Loves Man Kills.
Really?
I
How
bought that one
much
from
more?
you when I was gonna go. I think $5 more.
He charged you more for that.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, he had it on a thing though. It was all like laid out. Like he's like, for that one I do charge more. So it was,
Wow.
but he didn't tell me. But it's on a sheet he has. In front of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. Like you know what I mean. But
Just
But
like-
$10 ain't bad.
no, it's not. And he was cool about pictures too. We took pictures with all of our stuff. So I like to take pictures with the writer or artist when I'm there with them. Even though I know you told me before, it doesn't really matter. But like that, I'm like, I know that I was here with you and I got it signed
For
by you.
sure. For sure.
But,
sometimes you'd rather just shake their hand and say, you know, I touched that guy and
Mhm.
shook his hand and I admired him. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Rather than
He wasn't real
anything else.
chatty, but yeah.
Yeah.
But Rick says hi to George, so that's there. And then Rich says, "What is your favorite character, Mario?" Again, Rich, you got to go back and hear our first episode, Mario. But I'll let you go ahead and Mario and answer that one.
Yeah. Namor the Submariner is one of my
Namor.
favorite characters. You know what I mean? Not everybody knows that he is really a Golden Age character. Came
Mhm.
back from the 1940s along with Cap and Human Torch, and there he is. There he is.
Man.
Again, for Mario Shop.
I was gonna say, where'd you get that one?
Prince.
Authority Comics.
Prince Namor.
Prince,
Look at that
that's right.
detail. And look at his pissed off face.
Yeah.
Who would you think would be the best actor to play him?
Man, that's tough.
That's a tough one.
That is.
That's a tough one.
You know, and it's funny because before the Black Adam thing, I would have thought that The Rock would have been great, like
Ooh, for
physique
Namor.
wise.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
that John Buscema drawing on Submariner #1
mhm.
reaps the Rock. You know, he's huge.
Right.
He's huge.
Right.
But, you know, but he is somewhat of a smaller man. But somebody interesting would be great. To
You know,
play-
you want a
play
great
him.
actor too that can come off really regal, and so it's kind of tough. You know what I mean? Like, I always say too, I hope we're not getting cheated out of more Henry Cavill Superman, because what a great Superman he is, right? And he's just like freaking big. You know what I
He's
mean?
great.
And he's a great actor too. He really is a great actor.
Yeah.
So. But let's see what else we got here. Our cousin Let says, "Hi, handsome cousins."
Hello.
Hi, cousin Let. Rich says, "What is the
Mark?
holy grail of comics?"
The Holy Grail.
That's what he says.
Well,
That's a question.
you know,
there.
it's arguable, but
Yeah.
you know, Action Comics #1
Action
is the Holy
Comics.
Grail.
Yep.
You know, the first appearance of Superman,
The first superhero.
1939. You know what I mean? Detective Comics 27 follows right behind it. First
Mhm.
Batman.
Amazing Fantasy
Those
15.
are 1940s
Yeah.
books. You know, they are $1 million books. Now, Amazing Fantasy 15 for the youngster here didn't come in until 1963. So, but you know,
Okay,
the
so
first appearance of
CNN
Spider-Man,
has
a
to be
fan
Superman.
favorite, is a
Yeah.
huge book. You
No,
know, that's
definitely
approaching $1
Action
million
Comics.
too very
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
You know, so
Definitely Action
those
Comics
are
#1.
big books, but you got to go back to the golden age for the really holy grails.
But if you ever rich, like, you know, you inherited some crate from some family member and you found that in there, you definitely don't get rid of it.
Getting back to Nicolas Cage was a big comic collector for somebody who
Right.
don't know, and there is a Action Comics #1 Nicolas Cage edition, if you want to
Interesting.
call it. They gave it that label because the Nicolas Cage collection.
Is there a
Yeah.
slabbed one that you know of? Yeah, you guys told me that
yeah,
story. I think on our last
seen
episode,
slabs
we've seen the
before.
slab.
Yeah, you
but
said
they're-
somebody carried it at a Comic Con.
Yeah, there was a gentleman who was with the Overstreet Advisory Board, was walking around, real eccentric looking guy. You
I
wouldn't
wish I
have known
could've
it, but
seen
he's
it.
walking
Yeah, I
around with
wish I
one in a
could've seen it.
briefcase at Alamo City one time. And
Golly.
he was glad to share it with everybody. I didn't know who he was, and then I Googled the guy, and he was an Overstreet Advisor, so he was in the comic book business.
I wish I could.
But he
see
was
that.
just so happy to show it. I mean,
More on that, guys, in our other episode. Let's see who we got here. Jeremy says, I was wondering, Mario, I know a lot of comic book collectors are also interested in
Manga.
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 Oh, yeah.
Have you collected any or watched any anime before?
I am
Jeremy.
not a
Great question.
huge fan of that. It just never was in my forte. So I never really carried it in the store. But I have a treat for you because my neighbor at Traders Village, Anime SA, they've been at Traders Village for quite some time too. They're the consummate anime store. Real anime, real goodies. Rob and his daughter Des, they run a really, really nice shop there. They're right next to me. So come out there and see them if you're looking for anime stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not a big virtuoso on
Not
that.
at all. Not at all. That's the shop right next to
it's part of
Mario's
it.
shop.
Yeah. Anime SA,
Jeremy.
man. Come check them out.
Veronica Stanley says, awesome brother-in-law.
That's my sister-in-law.
Thank you for joining us, Veronica. We
Hey, girl.
appreciate you here. We also got
Rick Martinez. He says, Mario, find me a Smurfs #1.
That's JR. You guys, everybody knows JR.
I met
the
him
loudest
right
man in the comic book business.
You
know,
he had the great frame Spider-Man that day we were there.
Yes.
JR and I go way back. He's a good friend of mine. I love you, JR.
Here's
Thanks for tuning in, brother.
Here's a newcomer fangirl, Michelle Delgado. She puts heart eyes. I don't know, Mario. You better watch out for her. I don't know. But Michelle, thank you so much for being here. The behind every great man, an even greater woman stands.
That's my baby.
I know my lady would not put up with what you're putting up with. Constant fights in the bedroom about what goes where. Funko Pops up the wall.
Oh, we've been there. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. After you're married, for 15 years, it settles down, brother.
Okay.
It settles down.
Okay. I gotta do
more.
Do more.
You getting sleepy?
Rick says,
great to know.
We'll be back out at the SA Shrine on April 24th and 25th.
Good to know.
Awesome, Rick. Keeping it going, man. Appreciate you.
We are going, and Boy's going to come with me because he wants to get some of his NBA cards. What we're talking about, he wants to get those.
It's a really good show. It's a sports-related show.
Yeah,
he wants a couple other.
Yeah, so he has like a LeBron rookie card that he wants to get graded. So we're going to go there and.
What do you find some boxing merch out there? I'll bet.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I run into boxing merch. There are boxing signature cards and things like that. I've always wanted to dabble in that a little bit myself, because I'm such a fan. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I do want some.
I had meant to tell you because I didn't follow up with you about the Flash Green Lantern statue with Albert. I did ask him, and it's just that he was very interested.
It's at the shop,
but he's down a hole right now because he's right now all of a sudden he's in this football helmets. The guys, and he's deep in the game on that, and he's buying and reselling. And I was like. He was like, man, I'm all wrapped up. I'm waiting on selling this Gronkowski. And I was like, Albert, what are you into right now? He actually gave me a mini Buccaneers replica helmet. He's like, hey, I got an extra one of these. I'm just letting you have it. I was like, well, man, thank you so much. But I was just like, random, you know what I mean? But yeah, he just went down that rabbit hole, man. And
that's what Ray Flores was
crazy.
on a little while ago, and the guys that did the T-shirts and everything, they're into the football memorabilia. The helmet's real big, and they're out there on the internet gaming them and stuff. So,
he invited me to a group, and I was looking at prices, and I was like, "This is way out of my league."
It's huge. I think I heard that the Tom Brady one like flipped instantly for like $6,000 or something like that, like instantly, right out of the pack, crazy stuff.
He's telling me all these things. There's all just like with this stuff. There's all different kinds. There's all different. He's like, this is an ice. This is a replica. This is a whole
kind of worm. Whole different kind of worm.
Crazy stuff, man.
Big stuff.
There's that, guys. You're interested in football helmets. Your sister-in-law Crystal says hi. There you go. Sister-in-law. Hi, Crystal. And then Veronica says she says Jenna Gomez. Maybe she's tagging someone.
She's tagging her daughter.
There we go.
Get in here, Jenna.
Awesome. And then
Rick says lunch break over. We'll see you tomorrow, Mario.
Okay, JR.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for popping
joining
in, bro.
man.
Thanks
for sure.
Steven says,
Get back to work.
Mario, do you have any Herculoids comics?
You hit the nail on the head, brother. I mean, I don't know if not many people know this about me, but I am a huge Herculoids fan.
What am I missing here? I've never heard this name.
Hanna-Barbera is also my other thing. When I was a kid, we all watched the cartoons in the 60s and 70s. Hanna-Barbera is where it's at. Space Ghost.
Space Ghost.
The Herculoids were one of my favorites. I have Herculoids, everything. Now, I have a couple of comics on their way to CGC, which are the first appearance of the Herculoids in a Hanna-Barbera TV superheroes #1. It was done in the 60s. I have 3 or 4 copies of it. I send in the best copies to get them graded, but I will have some raw ones probably available very soon. So let me know if you're interested. It's not a cheap comic, but it's a beautiful comic. It's the first appearance of the Herculoids in comics. So check me out with that. But I also have some Herculoids action figures. If you put them together, they make the whole set because they came in 2 separate sets. you put
Dude,
them
I love when
together.
they do that.
So I don't have them at the
It's very
shop,
cool,
but I
man.
can make arrangements to take them out next week. So
Oh,
hit me
okay.
up on that email,
All right, Steve.
and I'll bring them out, Steve.
Steve, right there. I didn't even know about this. So this is totally new to me.
Beep and bleep.
There we go. And then Gabriel says, I'm sorry.
Comic you guys are chasing right now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ah.
Oh, I know mine. I guess I can go first since I know. Right? I'm looking for the damn House of M #7 because I found like a full run and I got all 8 except the #7, which is like the big one. And I'm like, why can't I find this damn issue? And I'm looking on eBay.
You didn't ask me for #7?
I thought I did ask.
No,
you
you did not.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I'll
See?
find you #7.
There we go. I'm putting myself on blast here.
Gabriel, for me, it's always the Crow, it's Lady Death, the Evil Ernie stuff. You know, the Mask.
Interesting.
The Mask, his first appearance in Dark Horse presents. Sin City, V for Vendetta, the comics, not the hardcovers, the comics. Like, you know, the old V for Vendetta stuff that used to come on the comics, the black and white stuff, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sin City, you know, the in the comic form, you know, not the trade paper.
Right.
You
Got
know.
you. Interesting.
So it's stuff like that that I'm into now, that I'm trying to collect. And I bought this Cole the Barbarian because it was Red Sonja's like first origin story. So that's what I'm kind of going for now. So,
Did you name one, Mario? Are you still chasing? Like,
I was just gonna say,
for yourself?
being that I've been doing this for so long, I no longer chase comics. Comics chase me.
There we go. There we go.
I have comics coming out the wazoo. Ask Gabe Flores. He knows. They're everywhere. You know what I mean? They breed. But everything passes through my fingertips sooner or later. You know, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
But it's like, you know, like when I meet someone like, you know, when Mario tells me, like he told us this really cool story about Creepy Comics 28.
Right.
It was just like a regular comic that our
magazine.
Our friend Roxanne bought, and you know, Mario told us this really cool story. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Are we gonna have time for this?
I don't know, guys. Let me take us to our next break real quick.
I want to go into
and then we'll answer these questions in the comments. Then we're gonna come back and kind of really kick off the conversation. We're an hour in, and we'll really kick off the conversation, guys. So give us a quick break, and we'll be with us right back. Yeah, don't go anywhere. If you're listening to us on our audio, like I always say, you'll just hear a quick blip, and then we'll be right back into the conversation. But if you want to hear the totally uncut version where we read comments, go check us out on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 followers. We're barely at 40, so we've got 40 subscribers. But guys, you can see our other episode with Mario there, and our very first visit to his shop once we had the show. That's a really short 7-minute video, and then there's another like 2-hour conversation with Mario inside Authority Comics, where you get to hear the crazy wind attacking us.
And winter was coming.
Zombies.
Yeah, 2 days before Christmas, and a lot of these. Not that we don't welcome these questions again, but a lot of this stuff, Mario goes really into depth about how he started. We really went in deep on how he began. So please go check that out on our YouTube channel. Again, just search Just Another Friday Night. You recognize our very familiar microphone logo that I'm wearing right now. But we'll take a quick break, read some comments, and we'll be right back in like less than a second. Guys, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you know that we didn't go anywhere at all. We're still right here with you, and we got some comments to read. Were you going to tell a story first?
Yeah. So like was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
A couple of weeks
ago, our good friend Roxanne bought it. She's into horror comics, and Mario's like, "Hey, you know what's really cool about this one? It was like Creepy 28.
She already picked it out.
It's a pink cover. Book. Yeah, it's an expensive book. It's a pink cover with like a big bat. Right.
All those horror comics look cool to me.
Most of them have classic artist covers. You know what I mean?
Frank Frazetta
and things like that. And that had a really cool cover on it. So of course, I wanted to explain to her.
Yeah. So we're paying for it, and Mario's like, "Hey, you know, you want to know what's so special about this one?" He turns around, and you know, he's like, "This is the comic that kind of introduces Vampirella before her first appearance. There's like a big ad on the end of the book."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, Mario telling me that I never would have known. Right. Honestly, I never would have known. There was a teaser for Vampirella before her first appearance, and it's in this fucking comic, this Creepy 16 magazine,
from the early 70s.
From the 70s, right? I never would have guessed someone as important as Vampirella that there was a teaser.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. It was like a preview teaser. You didn't see her. But the premises is that something big is coming, and she's at the door right now.
That's
you know,
cool.
and
Mario was telling, he was pumping us up. I was like, man, I love that. I love stuff like that when comics like that. That's the kind of stuff I like going for.
Did you
stuff
notice
like
that everybody was quiet while we were
Yeah.
and the story was going on and everybody was just like listening.
And then the shop was filling up too. Like people were coming in, and I was like, "Oh shit, Mario needs to take care of these people."
So-
I was like,
So Mario, it wasn't like even 2 days before that I looked and I got myself a copy. How creepy.
Oh, sweet.
That's it.
Because Mario told me the damn story, what was so important about this.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it. I went all the way to the back just to see it, and I got goosebumps just reading it because
May I? Is it
yes.
Cousin Erie or one of those guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. there it
And
is
I
right
was
there.
like, just because
Mhm.
Mario told me that
Thump.
yeah,
At the
Mario
door.
told me that
Mhm.
little story about something that was really important about this comic, and I jumped on it. I
Yeah.
pounced on
Very
it.
cool.
So I have my copy just because Mario told us that story
Very cool.
at
Man.
Authority
Very
Comics.
And I can tell you an add-on to that. A quick aside is that I got to hear about how disappointed from Jess she was that she didn't get it.
Yeah.
So what was I doing? But I was on eBay. He showed me that yesterday. I go, I got one at home too. I had to go to eBay.
He
and
got
so I
it.
had to make her happy. And
You're
say,
welcome,
here,
Creepy
here you go.
Magazine.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
because we had someone like Mario,
One
because
one
we're not going to
story.
get that. If we were paying somewhere else at some other comic store, they would have just been like, okay, beep.
Yeah.
Not
Totally.
knowing, the history
Know
behind
nothing behind
this
it.
really ordinary look. You would never guess there's anything about Vampirella about
And you
this.
get Barnabas Collins on the back too.
Yeah.
There's a
that's it.
magazine called Back Issue. It's still in printing, and I read it religiously.
Okay.
And when it comes out, it goes back in time, and it has guest star interviews with the greatest artists, the greatest
Nice.
writers, and they will give you insight that people that never told anybody
Right.
before.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
And
love that.
I believe, if I recall, that it was in an interview where I read that came out.
Wow, that's
And
pretty cool.
they explained this is what it was meant to be. This is what we were trying to say,
right.
and it didn't
right.
have her name on there or anything, but we were getting ready to push her out the next following month.
Yeah.
So that was their little get ready.
I love that.
And
I love
that is
that.
where I went and looked it up and found it.
Yeah.
So pass it on.
That's almost like when you're watching the director's commentary, they'll give you like,
Yes.
oh, the reason why I use this color or this car or the license plate. You're like, what the hell? And they give you some whole story.
That's how it worked out.
But Veronica also says, love it. Y'all are awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Veronica.
Jeremy also says, gotta ask Mario, do you have any Gigan stuff at the store? He's probably my second favorite monster in the Godzilla verse.
I have the most beautiful
Oh,
X Plus
Devilish.
statue at the store right now.
He's got a birthday coming.
I had the King Ghidorah. I had the
Ooh.
Godzilla this past
Ooh.
weekend. They've already sold.
Ah.
The Gigan is still there. It's very expensive,
Uh-huh.
but these are Japan. This is a Japanese X Plus statue that was probably from 2001.
Wow. Okay.
Very rare to find. They're from my personal collection.
Really?
And as some people know, I'm selling some of my favorite things for a specific reason that I think we'll eventually get into.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get into
We
it
will.
here in a
We
second.
will.
Yeah.
But the Gigan statue is at the store. It is available. I will give you a deal below the fair market value if you want to come check it out. But again, Toy Matrix, Gary and the guys, they got Gigan stuff galore. They got Godzilla stuff galore. If you come to 15th Street, Traders Village, the next couple of weekends, you'll find what you
Yeah,
want.
I have actually called it this already before, Jeremy, but Murderer's Row, because you especially, there's the anime store, there's Mario store, then there's Toy Matrix. If you had a paycheck, it would just be evaporated.
If I may, I want to shout out to Andy's Treasure Chest is there too.
Awesome.
And if you're a pop collector, you know who Andy is.
Mhm.
Andy has every pop in the world.
Yeah.
The hardest to the easiest ones. So they've got a big Dragon Ball Z event going on this weekend.
That's right.
Perfect time to come out to the street.
It's the
15th
voice
Street's going to be
of,
happening.
it's the voice of Mr. Satan, Hercule, and the voice of Majin Buu.
That's right.
That's who's going to be out there. So if
Yeah.
there's a lot of DBZ fans. A lot of people
Jeremy's a
love those.
DBZ fan too.
A lot of people love Hercule. A lot of people love Boo. So
They'll be there both days, I believe, at Andy's
Cool.
Treasure Chest, guys. So big shout out to Andy Vargas and his team out there. They do
That's
a great
awesome.
job on 15th Street, So it's happening out there this weekend, guys.
It's
Come see
fun.
us.
I love
this
walking
is,
right
I was
there.
going to say, this is my recommendation. When you get into Traders Village, go to the furthest right 2 pay booths and just go all the way down.
Mhm.
All the way down. That's where I always park. All the way down, and we'll just walk down 15th Street, and you'll be stopping at all these damn stores
on the way. Yeah.
all
it's
the way.
fun.
So
Steve says, yes, Space Ghost.
Space Ghost.
Let's see. Then Steve also says, thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Oh, what did I miss? Shit, sorry. I over scrolled.
Right here, Roxanne.
Okay.
Hey, Mario. Hey, guys, from Roxanne. We're just talking about you,
Hey,
Roxanne.
There you go. Hey, what's up, Rox? Rich says,
Would you rather have that holy grail of comics or build a collection?
that's a tough question. That's a good one.
What, I was able to build it a long time ago before all the movies. Now they're really just hard to.
I think we're different collectors, all of us.
Yeah.
Some people collect for value.
Yeah.
I personally collect for art and impact.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The art and the story have to do something for me.
Right.
So they're not necessarily holy grails, you know what I mean? But they're my favorites. I wouldn't part with them for anything. I think Adam has that same flavor, and so does Charles here.
Yeah. So. I think, I can remember buying comics from you back in the day, Mario. We would talk about that. We kind of mentioned this in our previous episode where it's like, you tell me, like, you're really after these stories, right? Charles, I say, yeah. I want, like, I'm interested in this character. I want to see where the arc is going. It really wouldn't even be like the hottest book or whatever it was. It took years for comics that I bought from you, things like Preacher, The Boys. I bet you had nobody that was reading those.
Right.
And then they became shows. I never would have thought.
Nobody read The Walking Dead when it came out.
Right.
That's why it is what it is.
You got Obama saying that he likes The Boys, the show, and I'm like, man, I read that comic book because I like the writer Garth Ennis, and he wrote like more adult themed type books, but they definitely weren't like I don't think they were ever worth, and probably still maybe they're worth more now.
They
but
are now.
Preacher
quite a bit now. Quite a bit. Preacher is worth quite a bit now. People are going for substance. You know what I mean? Good writing, things like that, and now Image. And Walking Dead opened that door.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different new age for Image comics.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they opened that door. People invest in Image now. They want the next Walking Dead. They're looking for deep, hardcore stories. Good writing, things like that. Nothing related to superheroes, really. Sometimes. So you'd be surprised what hits come out of Image nowadays.
It's interesting. Those long kind of like character developed books. So let's see here.
Steve says, Mario, I was also thinking about Johnny Quest. Also,
love Johnny Quest.
We're cut from the same cloth, my friend. You and I. Johnny Quest was one of my favorites. There are books out there on Johnny Quest, and there's even modern age books because they brought them back for a while and did some modern age stuff if you just want to enjoy some stories, But the older stuff is what I liked back in the day. And one of my favorite artists, Dave Stevens. I don't know if you guys know who Dave Stevens is.
I'm not familiar.
Dave Stevens is another good girl art type guy who drew a lot of the war type bombshell girls, things like that. Real classy, respectful, things like that. And he is the one who is notarized for bringing Betty Page back into the loop. Interesting story, guys. I always have to break into a story, but Betty Page went into recluse. If you know who Betty Page is, one of the
ultimate pinup.
Yes, the ultimate pinup girl went into recluse. You know what I mean? Just disappeared off the face of the earth, and then she became this pinup icon, and people were making money off of her images and things like that forever. Dave Stevens, who is a big pinup fan himself, and Dave Stevens has since passed away, rest in peace, Dave Stevens, went and found her, tracked her down, and wanted to meet her and said, Miss Page, I'm Dave Stevens. I want to let you know how big of an icon you are and that you still are to this day. And there are people out there making money off of your image.
Wow.
We need to go and get you what you deserve.
Right.
Kind of what they did with Superman and the whole thing like that.
Yeah.
And Dave Stevens is credited with getting Betty Page her due before she passed away.
That's awesome, man. I love those kind of stories.
Awesome story from him. If you ever get to look up Dave Stevens, you'll see instant, beautiful art on any cover he's ever touched.
Very cool.
So, and he has dabbled in The Rocketeer.
Oh,
you know The Rocketeer?
Very nice.
Dave Stevens.
Very nice.
Credited with The Rocketeer. So
his stuff must go for a bunch.
It's expensive and stuff like that, but he's got obscure books. They're very low, short printed, very hard to find. So, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, Dave Stevens is the guy.
Nice.
Very cool. See, stuff, again, we didn't know that. I'm learning here on the fly. So.
And that's from Johnny Quest.
Yeah, that's from John. That went from Johnny Quest. He does an incredible Johnny Quest cover. That's what it is.
I love Johnny Quest too. Yeah, that's like I watch it with my dad. We talk about race all the time. How they should do a great movie of that. You know what I mean? But
Bandit.
Yeah, Bandit. Roxanne says, I bought the creepy comic because it was beautiful. And she goes, "That's awesome, AA for me buying it."
The rest was just gravy.
Yeah.
Dano in the house. Dano mentions Nene got blocked for 7 days. He says, "Idiot." Chuckles got you back. Appreciate it, Dano. Yeah, we're trying to keep it a little bit above our normal.
Jeremy says, "Man, y'all talking about all those stores, my checks are going to go down the drain."
Yeah, for sure, kiddo.
That's the plan. See you this weekend.
And then Samuel Flores says, "Hey, Mar."
There you go.
Another Flores. Check this out, guys. I have two sets of Flores brothers.
Ah, there you go.
And I love to see family, like you guys.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, you guys that come in the shop, the family comes in. Boy just peeked in a while ago
Uh-huh.
and everything. I love to see the family that collects together. Well, Sam and Mark, they're brothers. They're youngsters, and they visit Pete at Collectors Authority, and they visit me at the store. Wonderful young men, passionate about comics. I love them. They're good guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Great
and then, of
deal.
course, the big Flores brothers, the three of them. That's my buddy Gabriel and John and Angel. And they're great guys. They're big supporters of me. I can't thank them enough. They're there for me whenever I need them.
Yeah.
And it's family. They're all family to me.
That's
Thanks,
awesome, guys. That's what we're here doing. The Ayala brothers, you guys three go there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe when we did our Green Lantern episode with Albert, our season finale. He told me that he told me, and he lives in the South, that he'd never been until I took him to you guys' shop. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had never been there before I took him. He's like, yeah, man, that's why I started going to Mario.
Constant at my store.
He sure did. He sure did. Yeah, like I told you, know it from experience. When he goes in, he goes all in.
Albert's awesome.
Guys, we're going to get back into the conversation here. Let me bring back in the audio portion for our audio listeners missing out on all this great content. And of course, if you want to catch all the content, all the comments, check us out on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button. And there you can hear the conversation unedited with all the comments from everybody doing all the great commenting. Please continue to comment in.
Yep.
We're going to get right into the conversation now, an hour later. Woo! But please continue to comment in questions for Mario, anything that you think you might want to ask him and or know about a man that's been in the comic book business for over 25 years and no one's done it better, guys.
Nope.
So please continue with those comments, questions.
It's Friday
or just,
night.
you know, it's Friday night, guys. You know what I mean? Crack a cold one. That's what we're doing. Mario, you good? You need another water?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
good. All right, guys, let's get right back into it. Well, guys, if you missed out on any of the comments, you know, you can always check us out on YouTube. Those of us that are joining us Facebook Live know that we're still here. I know that if you're here with us Facebook Live, it sounds like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but I do that for the audio listeners who are sometimes listening after the fact. And again, the full unabridged episodes are all on YouTube. Please go hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We'd love to hear what you say. But right now, guys, we want to get really into the meat and potatoes of this conversation. I've been talking about meat and potatoes for a while. Maybe I'm hungry and I got food on the brain. People are like, stop saying that. It sounds ridiculous. But guys, we got Mario Delgado here in the pod lab in the studio for a very specific reason. If you saw a post from Mario earlier in the month, it may have come as a shock, but at the beginning of the year, he put up a banner on his page called Endgame. And you might have just said, man, maybe that's just his favorite Marvel movie. You know what I mean? You know, okay.
It was a message.
No big deal. Mario, a man not to be lost. There being a message there. Well, then later, and I knew this, and you knew this, AA, because we're close and we see Mario often and had conversations. But you know, some people didn't know. And then at the beginning of this month, it came out. Mario says, "This is it. This is his final month at Traders Village." You know, with Authority Comics, the business and the brand that he's built for 10 years.
10 years Authority Comics, 15 years Collectors Authority.
That's right. And, you know, you might say, well, what does that mean? Is he just leaving Traders Village? And is he going to go open a brick and mortar somewhere? Is there going to be something else? Well, guys, the man is here himself for us to personally ask the question, because he posed the question, and this is what we're calling the episode tonight. It's the Authority Comics, the Endgame. But I put the question mark on there because we need this question answered, Mario. You made a statement. You said things. We know now, based on your Facebook page, Authority Comics. Go like the page if you don't already. This is it for you at Traders. You're leaving. You're not shackling the door, so to speak, but you're going to be gone, man. You're going to be blazing a new trail. So I got to ask at the top of my list here, my short list of questions, because I knew we would just talk for an hour like we did. But it says, why now? What's going on? What you're leaving us? You're leaving SA? You're leaving your fans, loyal people that have shopped with you like ourselves for over 25 years?
25 years. You know, we've been doing it. You know, it's been a great ride. You know, it's something that's been coming for a couple of years now. You know, I'm up there a little bit in age now. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but age is just a number. You know, it's definitely not over, but certain things are. You know, and I've been in this city for 25 years. I know I love putting a face with my customers, you know, and I've tried my best, and I hope I did my best to do that for 25 years. And it's time, you know. I think with and I'll be totally honest and clear with you folks, you know, with my mother passing away a year ago, and then the COVID striking in right after that, you know, and changing a lot of us, and changing how we reflect on things. I think a lot of us have had time to reflect on life and our situations and where we're going after this COVID thing is over, if we're going to do anything different, you know. And I think that's what prompted me to say that I think it's time, you know, for me to do something different. I want to spend more time with my wife. My kids are grown, you know. My boys are doing fantastic. I love my boys. Hey Josh, hey Vince, miss you guys. And it's time to take another road, and the comic book business is evolving again. And it has rapidly evolved for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? Just changed instantly every couple of years. So I think I decided it was time for me to step away from having a store. You know, and being out there every weekend and doing that kind of thing. I have dabbled in online business, and it wasn't really my forte in the beginning. But COVID forced me to jump in. And it's flourishing for me. You know, I've got people across the country. One of my good friends now from Ohio, Mr. Gabe Mason, is one of my good buddies now. He's helping me step into that realm, and he's there for me, and we're going to do some things together and try to take the internet business to another level. And it's in a more private form. You know, that's exactly what's happening. I'm going private. You know, it's not going to be so public as it was before. Collectors Authority and an Authority Comics, and I will miss that. Because that, I believe, is what I'm good at. You know, and I will miss my people, but I will be online. I will be filtering everything through my Authority Comics page. So people follow me, email me. You need anything, I'm still here for you. But, you know, there won't be a store to go to anymore. I'll be doing more, I'd say, lucrative things online. It's just time. You know, when I can sit at home and make some big money sitting on the couch, you know, at my age, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? And it's this kind of stuff that's doing it. You know what I mean? The big graded books there, you can see. I mean, these are, you know, these are $1,000 pieces that you can sell pretty easily online, you know, and that's where we're headed, you know. And the other thing is, and I'm a pretty private person about my private life, but you know, my wife has given me permission to share with everybody that you know, my wife's career is flourishing also. So it might be taking us to different places. And we have to be prepared for that. And I can't be caught, you know, with my pants down and with the store. That too. So I want to make the preparations to support my wife. And I'm not ashamed to say my wife's the breadwinner.
Hey, man.
My wife kicks ass. You know what I mean? So I want her to do her thing, and I'm going to be there for her. And at the same time, I think it's an opportunity for me to take another adventure and be with her and be able to do this at the same time. With a brick and mortar store, you're chained down. You know, you can't do those kind of things. So I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for my wife, my family. And I just think it's time. And I'm hoping that, you know, I'll meet more people, and that my true believers, you know, as I call them, will stick with me, you know, and follow me. You know, I'm not leaving anywhere far anytime soon, but that could happen later. And it won't be too far. It could be as far as Dallas.
There we go.
People have heard that. And I don't have a problem with Dallas for a while. So we'll see what happens there. But Authority Comics is still alive and kicking. It will be. So I hope that people will stick with me and let me help them if they need it. Because, you know, I'm capable of doing that still. But we'll be doing a lot of work privately online and with private collectors and things like that.
Awesome. That's exciting.
You know what I mean? It really is. It's exciting. It's a whole new road for me. You know, that I really wasn't a part of for a long time. And now that I know I can do it, it's only you know, a no-brainer that I should do it. So
yeah,
that's where I'm heading, guys. That's
no,
where I'm
That's
heading,
awesome.
you know.
and there it is right there, guys. I mean, like, you know, Mario summed it up himself, you know, pretty much, that it's not necessarily the end of Authority Comics, and definitely not the end of Mario in the comic book game. It's not a true retirement of any of the sorts. It's more like we're trading him to the Washington Wizards to end his career like Michael Jordan did. You know,
Hey, come on. I want to end my career a little bit better than that. Man. Can't you pick a better team?
Well, you mentioned Dallas. I hope it's not the Mavericks, Mario. You know what, guys? We know this.
I already have the ring.
There it is.
That's
right
the
there.
only ring
there
I
it is.
need right
That's
there.
the one right there.
That's the only one I need. Where's the camera at?
That's right.
There.
The end game ring. Can you get?
That's
get
the
down
end
in
game
there?
ring. Yeah, if you can see it.
Kind of right there. Oh yeah, that's the one. We've shown that ring before.
So that's the only ring I need.
And guys, and you know this.
And this one. And that one.
And don't forget that one. Don't forget that one. Is Michelle still on? Yeah. But guys, we talked about this. You know, San Antonio's home.
Right.
Nothing's going to change that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it just really is, I think, you know, like we all do, you have chapters in your life, you know what I mean? Whether getting married, becoming a dad, Collector's Authority, 2 Authority Comics, and now the next phase. I mean, don't get me wrong, as your friend and as a longtime, you know, patron of yours, yeah, it's crushing. It's like, man, like, this is my guy. You know what I mean? In the game, like, I feel plugged in because of you. But I mean, certainly understand, you know what I mean? But anyone that may have been wondering, you know, and why is that happening? It wasn't COVID took him out. If anything, you braved that storm better than anybody, Mario, and made it through that.
It wasn't easy, but you know,
right? I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't. Sure, it was not easy, but you know, I mean, it wasn't like you ever said, "I'm pulling up stakes and the locking the door and I'm just out of there," because it's just I took the hit too hard. That's nothing like that happened. Nothing else bad. Nothing else. Your health is great, which is awesome. I mean, I think maybe some people may have been like, well, is there some type of health? No, everything's fine. It's just, you know, the things with, you know, your wife and the changing and like you said too, I think it just maybe feels like time for you where you're like, you know, I mean, I think people don't realize, but you're giving up your entire weekends out there. And, you know, if your wife works an opposite schedule from you, then it's like, well, you know, she's at work and then you're at home and then you're at work and she's
super supportive of that for the longest time. And now I think it's time for me to follow her. And like I said, you know, she's doing some big things herself, and I want to be there for her. And it wasn't really planned. It just the beginning of the year turned the corner, and all this good stuff came together. Right. You know, it just came together, and the timing is perfect. So. For those who don't know, we only have 2 more weeks.
That's right.
At Traders Village, 2 more weekends.
2 more weekends. This weekend starting tomorrow, Saturday, and then Sunday, and then 1 weekend at the end.
That will be my final weekend. So if you've ever walked in to Collector's Authority 25 years ago, you know, I thank you. If you've ever walked into Authority Comics at Traders Village for the past 10 years, I thank you. You know, you people are. I couldn't have done any of this, you know, without San Antonio, my people. So I'm forever indebted. I'm forever grateful. And that's why I will bend over backwards for you.
Totally.
You know, it's just what I do. You know, I'll find you what you need.
And right there, I put up the email, guys. You'll always be able to reach Mario here, even if it's just to say, hey, how are you? You know what I mean? Love and appreciate you like we do. But also, I'm sure if you're looking for something, he's definitely going to find it for you. So
it's like I said, I walked in 1997, and my very first comic was Spawn issue 1 because of Mario and Pete at Collector's Authorities. Yeah. So that's why I always treasure Spawn issue 1. It's a very special comic to me. It's my first, and it's for Mario and Pete. So
and I have
asked for better.
Yeah, I couldn't even begin to start with the things that I personally own in my collections. I think I told you my great story about the boys. My only slipcase of the boys. I have my only slipcase I own, and getting it that first time at Collector's Authority. And then when I got home and opened it, it wasn't nothing to do with y'all. Dynamite didn't cut the pages, so it was literally a big brick of pages that were stuck together. Yes. And I had to go back in there, and I remember Pete gave me that look like, you can't be returning that. It was like $100. I was like, no, wait. I got to think. You guys took care of me totally, so it was awesome. But just
that was funny.
Think about it, guys. When you any type of business, for a long time, I let one lady cut my hair like my whole life. She cut my hair since I was 11. When she stopped cutting hair because her husband got sick with cancer, I stopped getting my hair cut. I grew my hair long. I had long down in my. That's testament to right. It was one lady on the southeast side.
To loyalty.
Yeah,
you know, and you can't put a price on that. You know,
right.
I can't thank people enough for being loyal.
And I've seen that. We've seen that when we talked about it the other day. When we've gone to your shop, we've seen people that are there in the morning just drinking coffee with you, just hanging out. They're clearly not shopping. It's almost like the barber shop. We made that reference.
Yeah.
It's like the old school barber
coffee. They bring me tacos.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are my friends.
You know? Yeah. And I mean, that's always the vibe you have when you go there and you go visit Mario. It's not going to go, do I need anything from the comic store? No. Do I want anything from the comic store? I'm not even looking for anything. You just go in because, and we stressed it a lot in our first episode together, you know, but then, you know, and again, we just kind of tiptoe around it. In this one, the same thing though, the level of customer service you get where it's like a friend, it's like a bartender that you're a regular at, where it's like cheers, you know, you walk in and it's like, hey, you know, Mario's like, hey, hang on, let me say hi to you, let me say hi to all these people, and he's doing business, but he's also making time for you. And that is something, number one, I think it's something that is going away as a whole, really, which is sad. It's like, you know, to make ourselves sound like old timers, things that we remember,
it's like you said, it's like when you're texting them like on Facebook, certain comic shops, you know, you're like, yeah, they're like, yeah, we can do it for you, pal. But then when you see them at the store, they're like, hey, yeah.
Right,
okay, that's $20. You know, it's like, all right,
the comic book experience, I've said it before. You know,
it's a really big deal.
When you come in, whether it be for 5 minutes or whether it be for an hour, you know, if people stay in the store, you know, you want people to walk out saying, you know, hey, that was great. Look what I got. And I had a good time. We talked. The conversation was incredible. That kind of thing. The experience walking out the door, we'll bring them back. You know, it's a tough time now with the internet and everything for people to be loyal because, you know, everybody wants a better price. Everybody wants to find it here and there cheaper. You know, so I get that. I get that. But that's why, you know, my stamp is that, you know, I'm going to try and give you the best price I possibly can, but I'm going to give you something that you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and it's not just the price. It's the story. It's like telling me about this comic, you know? Like no one else would have told me anything about this one.
So if you value that kind of service, you know, that's what we're all about. You know, there's people that don't care. They just come in, pay for their stuff, and get out because they want that book and that's it. They don't care who you are or anything either. So the tables are turned there. But, you know, that's the experience we've always given. 25 years, you know, just it's never been any different. And it won't change now, even though I'm on the internet or you have to email me or anything. I will be making the rounds, you know what I mean? If there's a show, people text me yesterday and saying, what's the next show, Mario? Are you going to be at the show?
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, you know, I won't be there selling. I'll be there buying up as much as I possibly can. Cool. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a different avenue for me. And I'm looking forward to that. Not having to stay at my table. And
you'll be in the mix. Yeah, I'll kind of amongst the people.
I'm going to walk around, rub elbows with everybody. It's going to to be great. I can't wait.
As long as we get to see you there, it'll still be very good.
I will be
and see, there's like another thing too that I love about Mario's stories. Like when I look at the old comics, he always puts like some writing on the back of the board to let me know like what's so special about this comic. So like when you're looking at the comic, you can kind of turn it around and it's like,
what is the first thing everybody asks?
Yeah.
How old is this comic?
Right.
Yeah.
What year did it come out?
Right.
And what do I tell them? Turn it over.
Like I picked up a Doctor Strange and it said like something about like Mephisto's daughter. I was like, Mephisto's daughter. I turned around, it's like the first appearance of her. I was like,
who even knew it was a
exactly. So I was like, okay, it's a really cool cover. She's like really creepy looking, and Doctor Strange is like in front of her. Yeah, you know, and
but here's the thing.
I bought it just for that.
Here's what's happening now, right? We've got that 2-layer level of everything we've known since we've grown up.
Right.
You know, the A-listers, the B-listers.
Mm-hmm.
What Marvel is doing now, and this is in the collector's realm, comic book wise, is they're diving even deeper.
Right.
They're saying, let's go down below. Mephisto's daughter, you know, whoever knew that. Thanos has a son. Whoever knew that,
right?
You know, they're diving down there, and people are going, "Wow, I better get that now."
Exactly.
You know, and so it's opening up a whole new venue of stuff, and it's exciting.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Even for me, the hardcore old guy who's been reading since the day one, is going, that got past me,
right?
or it didn't mean anything to me back then.
Oh, they weren't cool back then.
It makes sense now. Oh, he has a kid or whatever. I don't care about that. What's that? So that's something that's changing too. Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of these characters, newer characters that have been around for a while, they're dragging them up to the forefront.
Absolutely. And we've had a brief conversation today about the Agatha Harkness character.
Yes.
We were all kind of like, who was
but it's like Mario said, it's like the two versions of Agatha. The old lady from like the old ones, and then the Ultimates where it looks like the WandaVision one.
And in the 2000s, Marvel had a pulse on the collector and said, we gotta bring in these new collectors.
Yeah.
Right.
So we got to give them something new, not just 600 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. They got to read to catch up. They need something brand new. So the whole Ultimate Universe came in, altered in all these number ones, and people jumped on board.
I was gonna ask you that. Do you feel as though and kind of getting away, guys? Again, if you're watching right now, and I think we've hopefully kind of explained the behind the scenes of the Authority Comics Endgame, but please feel free to send your well wishes or thank yous, anything or questions again from Mario regarding that. Please feel free to send those in. We're going to get to those in our next break here, which is coming up in about 10 minutes, and then we'll read those comments regarding that. But to carry the conversation on, they're bringing in these type of characters. When we were talking about the Ultimate Universe, what being in the game as long as you have been, Mario, what did you see that maybe surprised you? Like, obviously, anything with a number one on it, would you say let me ask that first. Would you say that's always going to be, people think that they're getting the next Action Comics, you know what I mean? Number one, because it's a number one. This could be the next big.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you read in between the lines and if you're into collecting comics, you see the patterns.
Right.
I mean, before 1980, latest 80s, there were complete long story runs, big runs. And when they decided to reboot everything is
rebooted.
I could dig that one time. We needed a reboot. We needed a fresh time because there had been 30 years of collecting that needed to have another starting point.
Yeah.
And they did that. And it worked. They all came back and started with these number ones, but then they continued to do it. And especially now, which I don't read a whole lot now, but you can have 3 new Punisher titles in a year.
Yeah.
They're 3 number ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all going to be worth anything because they're volume 8, volume 12, So for my money, it's always volume 1 and 2, you know what I mean? The early stuff, the stuff that set the foundation for everything. So that was something that surprised me, and I was a little disappointed in because I don't want to see a little short 12-issue run and get into the Punisher and then start them over again with another number one.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we've lost some collectors maybe, but it's never lost because once you walk back into a store, it comes back to you.
Oh yeah.
So it's just your flavor.
I'm not gonna lie, it does bother me when it does come like that. Yeah, I'm like, golly, another number one. And then it's hard to get your hands. Like me and CM had a hard time finding the last Ronin number one.
Right.
The Kevin Eastman, and the original creators coming back, and that number one sold out, but number 2 comes out and nobody's buying number 2. So it's like, golly,
and see, something like that was a little more pertinent. People were getting something for their money out of that, but just regular, okay, it's time, start it over again for no freaking reason at all. That's the stuff that gets me.
It's just all these like limited runs, and you're trying to bank on selling that number one a bunch.
With the Ronin thing, I mean, it kicked Turtles into the stratosphere again.
Right.
It did its job.
But then you can find issue 2 like everywhere.
Yeah. And that normally happens. You know what I mean? When an issue 1 sells out and it's so hard to find, they don't pick up the numbers.
It's I was saying Chuck here about the Origins issue 1. When that one came out, golly, that was so huge and
still truly the rarest one out of the run where it has value. And the rest of them you can find practically in $5 or less boxes. Because number 2 instead of amp it up. You know what I mean? It was a hit. Yeah. And so the others aren't very hard to find, but the number 1 was never reprinted.
So that's what I was going to ask you too. It's always about, like, now I think what people don't understand is like, oh, well, this is a number 1. Do you think people that know that I like comics are like, well, here's the thing. That other one that maybe 20 years ago or even longer now, they didn't print that many because they didn't know that they were going to, number one, when Eastman and Laird did Turtles, the original Turtles, they didn't know. They were just like, I don't know, how much, do a 500 issue run. Okay, well, now that's it. That was the only volume 1. There was only 500. Nowadays, they know they're going to do number 1. They're like, nah, man, print like, 10,000 of them or whatever. You know what I mean? So
some things are proven, so, they don't gamble too much.
Well, let's talk about, not to interrupt you, Mark, I'm sorry, but like a Spawn number 1. We can all still get a Spawn number 1 for what, $10?
Yeah.
Because
strangely enough, it's finally moving. There's a lot of Spawn fans out there.
Uh-huh.
It lists at $30 now.
Okay.
It was $8 forever.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's starting to get its due. But because it was $8 forever, they were handled a lot. Cheap books. Cheap books. Hard to find a crisp, clean, flawless copy,
Good
which
point.
will bring you $30 to $40.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's the difference.
But still very, very
7
affordable.
million copies
Yeah.
printed. You know,
Yeah,
one of the biggest
there you
books
go.
ever
7
printed.
million copies for me.
Yeah.
There you go. It's like a Death of Superman. Also be like, oh, Superman dies this time. I'm like, that comic book came out when they were printing, when people knew. There's a shit to. I haven't seen one in a while. But what would you say a steel sealed Death of Superman goes for, Mario?
$35.
That's very affordable to me.
Yeah.
And y'all know I'm cheap.
Well, everybody who comes in that bought one from back then will see it on the wall and go, what is that going for now? I have 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they say.
Yeah.
Very proud. You know,
Oh,
I'm
right.
Like, it's
Of
about
course.
$30. What?
Smart. I left mine
That's
sealed.
it? That's it? And I'm like, you know, that probably has 10 million copies. It's one of the biggest books ever printed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People were buying them by 5s and 10s.
Mhm.
You know, and now if you go online, you'll see them by 5s and 10s.
Right. Yeah.
First sale.
You buy a whole lot.
I buy them all the time because they're good sellers.
Yeah.
But you know, they just haven't taken that leap of faith. When the first Justice League came out, I thought that was going to be its coming. You know, Superman's going to die. This is going to be great. This is perfect.
Right.
Maybe a small trickle, but what? Too many available.
Okay.
Didn't last very long.
So that's a weird question, Mario. Let me ask you that. Can you get a polybagged book graded?
Yes, you can. And
They're graded in the bag?
Yes. Now that's the thing. Back then, when you had a poly bag, what was the best thing? Don't open it.
Don't open
Yeah.
it. Remember when everything was polybagged?
Yeah.
Executioner Song,
Don't
Midnight
open it.
Suns.
Midnight Suns, everything had a
Grading
polybag
has
on it.
changed the game. When you least expect it, now what is the first thing they do?
They open
Take
my
it out
bag.
of the bag.
Oh,
They open your bag.
I know.
They
I don't like that.
They take it out of the bag. they want it out of the bag, literally. They'll take it out of the bag and they won't return the bag to you. So take it out of the bag yourself and keep the bag so that you can put it on the back, you know?
Yeah.
But a graded book is a graded book. Take it out of the poly bag, examine the book. Death of Superman. What is the cover on the inside? Not that many people even know.
The tombstone.
It's a tombstone.
The gray tombstone. Yeah.
So
That's
when you
very
do
lame.
see
I don't want
graded
that.
Superman 75s, that's what you get. A tombstone cover.
What do you see a graded one going for, Mario? A good.
Well, since it's such a cheap book, and there's probably a lot of graded ones too now,
Yeah.
because people have them, so why not get them graded? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a 9.8, it might be 100, 150 tops.
That's not
You
bad.
know?
That's not too bad.
It's not bad, and it's a good investment.
And they put your poly bag on the back?
No, they'll throw it away. You keep your
can't
poly
throw
bag.
the bag
That's the
away.
best looking part of that cover.
They
What a
CGC
nightmare.
tells you that we cannot return your items to you
Damn.
that come with the book.
Come
So
here to have
take
your
them
heart
out.
broken by Mario.
So
Okay.
take them out, you know?
Okay, so now we did talk about something before, and I don't know if we didn't get real big into this. I think in our last episode, it might have been off air, but I remember there was a while there was a Marvel, and it was an X-Men card. It was a Chase Wolverine card that was inside the book. They were doing Fleer cards inside of them.
Right.
So something like that. You go to get that graded. Are they going to open that?
No, that will stay in the
It
book.
just stays
It's
in.
a part of the book. If it doesn't have it in there,
Okay.
it could count off. The
Okay.
tattoos were a big thing. One of the
That's
biggest
right, the
one of the biggest
tattoos.
books out there is
Yeah.
the Hobgoblin book. First book, Amazing
Yeah.
Spider-Man 238, if I'm
Yeah.
correct. Has a tattoo in a lakeside tattoo in it. People took those tattoos out. The book is worth significantly less if the tattoo is missing.
Damn.
So if you have the first Hobgoblin with the tattoo and you get it graded, it's going to be noted on there with tattoo,
Yeah.
and it is worth
Nice.
quite a bit of money.
It's
You
so
know, so
crazy.
it makes a
It's-
difference.
Yeah. What was
Little
interesting?
things like that.
Yeah. What was interesting about
Inside,
that Fleer
yes.
one?
Outside, no.
Outside, no. It's so weird. That Fleer one was number one. The card wasn't in a clear package, so you didn't know.
Right.
You were just having to like open it. I
Right.
got one. I thought this card is going to be worth because it was the one you wanted, like a Wolverine Chase. When they had the one hand, the Age of Apocalypse. Number one, they were saying that those were rare to get. Maybe not, because I looked for that card and look it up
Right.
online, and it's just like $8.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can just get one. I'm just like, it must have been in a lot more than I thought. But the book I had was ruined because I took the damn card out. You know what I mean?
The
So
card market is exploding again. Something I never
Yes,
thought
it
I'd
is.
see this soon.
that's interesting.
But again, you know, you can credit it COVID and the, you know, spaces that we had to be in
Sure.
that brought the collectability of a whole lot of things back. Cards are on fire. Comic book wise, with the card, perfect example is X-Force #1.
Yeah.
What did it have in it?
Yeah.
It had 5 different cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the best card? Deadpool.
Deadpool.
So
That's great.
people are actually
So
buying
crazy.
X-Force #1s, taking the Deadpool card out now
Damn.
and
Selling-
grading the
and
card
grading the card.
because the
Damn.
cards are on fire.
Who
Right,
grades
you know?
cards, Mario? Is it CGC?
CGC does it, but CBCS bought Beckett.
Okay.
So CBCS
Oh,
is the B
Beckett.
company that people do choose, and they're a reputable company. They're good, but they own Beckett now.
Okay.
So you can get the best of both worlds over there. You can get all your cards graded, you can get comics graded, everything, and they're in Dallas.
Are you
Yeah.
paying as much as a comic book for a graded card?
Oh, they're out there. Yeah, Pokemon cards are through the ceiling
But
too.
what I mean is to get them graded.
Oh
Is
no, I think it's much cheaper. I used to be able to get. I remember when I took my Jordan rookie card in, I
Mhm.
walked it in because I didn't want to be away from it. I
Yeah.
walked it in.
Smart
and said,
man.
I'm going to lunch.
I feel like you.
I'll be back in however long it takes, and I want my Jordan back.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and I think at the time I could get like I could get 10 cards for $100.
Oh,
Something
wow.
like
Okay.
that.
That's
Okay.
That's
You know,
fair.
that was
Okay.
then. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
And there was a deal you could get, and they would grade the cards for it. And it didn't matter what it was. Just I want these cards graded. Comics are about 3 or 4 times more than that.
Okay.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it can add up when you send in.
You've given me a kind of a lowdown on what goes on with the grading process, what they're looking at in the pages there. That a card seems so one-dimensional. Is there a much different process? Is it just checking edges and
Centering
checking?
is the biggest thing.
Okay.
Centering is the biggest thing in a card. You've seen a sports card and
Mhm.
you've seen it kind of weirded out, like a bad cut.
Yeah.
You know, that's a 1090 card if
Okay.
you want to call it.
Okay.
And it's going to get a bad grade for that.
Yeah.
You know, corners, they're not sharp and they're fuzzy
Right.
because you kept putting them in and out of those
And out of
plastics.
the thing.
You know what I mean?
Damn
You're
it.
going to
Or
get a
they
bad
get
grade.
they get that bow, like
Yeah.
because you got so many pages.
Yeah.
They start to bow. You set it down, it doesn't sit flat.
Yeah.
Down.
They're gonna
That's
get a bad.
interesting.
They're gonna get a bad grade. But a 9.5 is like your 10, and if you have those grades, you know, my Jordan came back at 9.0.
Oh,
It didn't come back at
very
9.5.
nice.
It didn't come back at 9.5. If it would have came back at 9.5, I'd still have it. I ended up selling that for probably about $6,000 at
Oh,
the
damn.
time, and that was years ago.
Damn.
That was years
Sure,
ago for a
it goes
9.0.
for- Have you checked now what it goes for now?
I don't even want to check.
You know, guys, we're really near our next break. We see a lot of comments came in. I know we got deep into the comic book talk, so we want to address those comments, guys. Again, if you're not checking us out live, check us out on YouTube to hear all the comment reading. We're going to do all that there. Remember, guys, this is it. Authority Comics, the end game. We just found out here
2
live,
more weekends.
2 more weekends, guys, to go see Mario Delgado, Authority Comics on 15th Street. We'll be right back from this super quick blip of a break for the end game, and then we'll talk some more about Mario. Guys, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you know we didn't go anywhere. We're still right here with you. We see your comments rolled in, and the end game was addressed. So, man, let us scroll on up here. I'm gonna have Double A help me out. Read the comments.
Ramon says right there. It was right there.
Okay.
Ramon says, I'm a florist.
That's right, Ray. You're another florist.
That's
Yes,
right, that's right.
Florists just seem to flock to my store.
Hey, guys, make sure to go like our Facebook page. We'd appreciate that.
Yes.
Aaron says, I wonder if there's a documentary about Betty Page. I think there is.
I
Oh,
think
heck
is.
yeah.
There was a movie made that had
sure.
a famous actress that played her.
Gretchen Mol.
Gretchen Mol, yeah.
For sure.
Who I'm watching her right now in Boardwalk Empire 2. Fantastic.
Oh
actress.
man, Boardwalk Empire is the bomb.
Great show.
Buscemi,
He loves it. I mean, like, I'm
He's the
finding
best.
a new love
If,
for him.
if
in
I
that.
can meet one more person at a Comic-Con, it's Buscemi.
Oh,
bring him.
Does he do shows?
No.
I was gonna say,
I
damn, he did
wish.
shows,
I
man.
wish.
Where do you start? Reservoir Dogs to just everything.
He's
you know?
the best.
The best, dude. Love him.
Crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes. Yeah.
Steve
Steve
says, guys, do y'all ever think about opening your own shop?
We gotta give
You
it-
had your
man,
chance.
You had my chance.
You
Yeah.
had your chance.
So we'll get to that in the next segment.
Yes,
Steve,
we'll
how,
get
I,
another
how I
segment.
dropped the ball on that. Yeah, it's definitely crossed my mind for sure. Lots of times,
Okay.
mainly because of this guy right here. It crossed my mind so many times when I would say, here's a guy that does what he wants. There's a famous Bob Dylan quote, right? Bob Dylan, I think, says, a man is a success if he wakes up in the morning and goes to bed at night, and in between he does what he wants. What I always felt like was that about you. I was like, because again, at that time as a young man, not knowing you as well as I do now, Mar, it's like you got up and you went to a comic book shop and in my mind, sat around all day reading comic books. I'm like, this sounds like the greatest life ever. Probably pumping rock music and just chilling out every day, Monday through Friday. What I thought back then, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, right? Because I still want to go have a life.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I want for myself. You know what I mean? And when this opportunity came up with your store, I'll just say this real quick. my good buddy Aaron. You've met Aaron plenty of times, and he's very industrious, and he's trying to be very much like you, not have a boss. That's his main goal. He talked to me about that, and he goes, "You really want to do this? Ask yourself." And this is what you told me the other day. You said, "I told him, the guy that we're going to talk about soon, it's a lot of work, and are you going to be ready to dedicate it? And giving up your weekend every weekend, you know what I mean? Because you want to make this thing a success." And when he really questioned me, I had doubt, and he saw it, and he said, "Because you have that, it's not ready. You're not ready yet." He's like, "When you don't have that,
it's got to be 100% or nothing."
Right,
it really does.
Right. And I think about exactly the things you're thinking about now, years in the game, about your wife and time with your wife. And I'm like, man, what am I going to do in my relationship? You know what I mean? It's like, can I afford to give all that up? You know what I mean? Now, again, if my situation was different, I mean, maybe I would have just jumped right on it and said, yeah, I'm all in, and I'm going to quit my job and then just do this full time. And, hey, sink or swim. But to answer your question, Steve, short answer, have I thought of it? Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah. Double A, I don't know about you.
No.
Never really
never.
So I need a Pete to my Mario. So if I'm gonna do it, I need that.
If he does it, I'll help him.
There we go. I'll take that. Let's see. Gabriel says,
gotta find a new place to hang out once his shop is no longer there.
Bro, you're at my house every week. You're at my house every week. Where else do you need to hang out? What do we talk about? We'll talk about that later between you and me. But come on.
Hey, we didn't know you were hanging out. Go ahead.
Gabe's my man.
Right on, man.
Samuel says, same only reason I go to Trader's Village.
If you only needed one. You only need
Thanks,
one.
Sam.
You got to pay that $4 cover. It's worth it to see
It's
Mario.
$5 now.
Oh, kicking it up. Thanks, COVID. Gabe Mason.
Oh,
says,
my brother.
Glad I can help the new leg of your comics journey.
Yeah, that's
Right
my buddy in Toledo, Ohio.
Welcome,
Gabe. Thanks for checking in, brother.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
Jason goes on to say, Mario,
you're a good man. You always help me out with comic books.
You're a good man, Jason.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Jason.
May I tell you guys a story about Jason?
Yeah,
totally.
I barely met him on the Lou Ferrigno.
And I am going to try to do this without getting emotional.
No, by all means.
Because this stopped me in my tracks and made me step back for a second and made me realize, yes, why I'm doing what I'm doing now, why I'm fortunate to be doing what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason is in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in my store, loves the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been helping him complete the Red Hulk, and we're just there. I think we need 2 issues, and I'm going to damn well do it in my lifetime. I'll get him covered. And we're moving on to Red She-Hulk from here.
Oh, right on.
Jason comes up to me and buys his books as usual, and I try to help him as much as I can. And Jason, I hope you are okay that I'm going to share this, but Jason comes up to me last weekend and he shakes my hand like we always do. Mm-hmm. And he says, "This is for you, Mario." And he gives me $100 bill.
Oh man.
$100 bill in my hand. And I'm like, well, my first reaction was like, no, Jason, that's not what you're here for.
Right.
You don't do that to me. You know what I mean? I said, you get what you need. I take care of you. You don't have to do that.
Right.
And I was, real stern about it. Yeah. I don't like to do that. I don't like to take things from my customers.
I've tried to pay you for things before, and you do not let me pay. So I
your money's no good here sometimes. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And Jason said to me, "Mario, I am truly blessed." He's in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Let me bless you."
Yeah, I like
those words right there alone floored me.
Yeah.
He goes, "Let me bless you." I could not tell him no after that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, I grabbed his hand and I said, "Thank you. I needed a blessing." You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be monetary or anything like that. But what he said meant more to me than anything.
Yeah.
And Jason, I will never forget you for that. I love you. Thank you very much. Okay.
That's awesome. That's sort of choking me up, man.
Peace.
I was lucky enough to meet him in the Lou Ferrigno signing. I was right behind him.
Yeah.
So I finally got to meet him.
And he recognized your shirt, you said, right?
Yeah, he recognized my shirt. He was like, "I saw you yesterday."
I believe that Jason comes on. He's been joining us every week, I think, since our first episode with you.
Yeah.
He pretty much told us
he's loyal. He's loyal.
Yeah, he said he listens to us because of you. And then every week he comes on and says, "Jason here from Hondo."
Yeah.
And then he says, he asks us about Red Hulk, and we always refer him to you. And, it's awesome, man. So that's really cool. Jason, that's a great
Jason.
story, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, definitely, man. Let's see here.
Jeremy
says, man, I finally got a job and money for myself, but I'm a little too late. But I will definitely still keep up with your plans, Mario.
But you can still reach out to Mario, Jeremy.
And you got 2 weeks too, Jeremy. Don't worry. If you need to make it happen, me and Mom will get you out there. But don't forget, we'll throw that email up for anyone that's wanting to reach out to Mario that doesn't get a chance here. Let me see here.
Richard says, "Wow, that's awesome. Good luck with your future endeavors, and may you and your wife be blessed."
Thank you.
Yeah, Richard's a great guy. Thank you, Rich, for those comments. Joe, great podcast fan here. Joe says, "Sorry, double A.
Hey guys, getting on and in real quick. Does Mario remember a small shop in the late '80s on South Cross?"
Ooh,
I
that's
do.
our hood.
I do. I don't remember. Was that you? I mean, I do remember. I don't remember the guy very well, but I do remember there was a small shop on South Cross. I do remember that.
Is that what we used to go to? That was the bookstore.
I feel like it is. Yeah, I feel like
in the late '80s there weren't very many shops around,
right?
You know, and I think it was a smaller bookstore. And I used to shop
right there at CVS?
Pretty much at any used bookstore I could find up till '89. I think it was when I went into the I won't even mention their name, but
yeah,
one of those stores.
when I first got here in '93, when my dad got out of the military, we came back here and I started hooking back up with these guys. We were all doing that stuff, going to stores. There was a little shop that we would go to right here in this side of town. There was a bookstore, but they also had comics, and that was like the first place we were kind of going. And we thought that was like the coolest place, you know what I mean? So that's I wonder what you're talking. Joe, give us more insight if you're still hanging out. He's got kids play a lot of sports, so he's always great super fan. Cool. Joe is a great
thanks, Joe.
DC guy.
Sorry to hear that, Joe. No, just kidding, Joe. Just kidding.
Rich says, do you think comics will still continue to grow as a market? Sorry, go ahead, Double A.
Did the movies and shows make the comics more of a hot commodity?
Well, the movies have definitely made it more of a hot commodity. Yeah. But again, that thriving collectibles thing that's going on now, thanks to the COVID and us being isolated the way we were, and some people were forced to bring collections out and things like that, everything's on fire again. So I think the collectability of comics will always be there. Maybe the form of comics might change in the future, but we'll have to see. We still got some ways to go, but things are definitely changing.
It's growing with these movies.
Oh, yeah. God, I mean, I can't say kind of a recurring trend, but me and this guy getting stuff that way back in the day, I mean, in our younger years, we're just like, these guys are lame. You know what I mean? Like, what? No,
you're making someone like Vision and Scarlet Witch a really hot commodity. Moon Knight is just going to explode.
Right.
But again, here's what we're talking about. We're talking the collectability of comics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're not talking brand new comics coming out because of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where things are changing. We might see some different changes of the stuff that comes out.
Right.
But definitely the stuff that's already come out is now being sought after.
Yeah.
Being chased after.
I never
That's
thought
going to keep it strong.
I never thought I myself would even be a guy that buys comics just for the covers. And like this Alex Ross timeless covers. I am like, they're so damn beautiful. It's like freaking art. Like I show them to Jess when I get them because she's an artist, and I'm just like, babe, look at these. And now I've got the Scarlet Witch and the Vision.
Rider.
Oh my gosh, that new one's going to come out. Yeah. But I never thought I would have been a guy that just bought just for covers, not even read the inside.
Everybody collects for a different reason. Mm-hmm. There's some people hardcore storyline people follow the writers and everything. Some people just collect because of the cover, and some people just collect because of value. Never touch the comic, never open it. Goes right into a sleeve and they put it in a collection. There's a good mix of that now.
And I'm sure you got guys that are just buying them and slabbing them right away, right? This one looks good. I'm going to buy it and slab it. So
sure.
I hope we answered that question for you, Rich, on that one. Gabe says,
Mario, what's your all-time favorite comic run?
That's a great
question. Too many to talk about, but I've always been, again, most people know I'm a big Werewolf by Night Tomb of Dracula guy. So I love the crossovers from Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf when they would appear in each other's comics. And one of my very, very favorite runs is the old Defenders Avengers War.
Oh, nice.
Those were two of my favorite. Nice. I was a big Defenders fan too.
Yeah.
And
we often say the team that really should have been undefeated. Really,
yes. That was
Surfer and the Hulk
an
and Namor,
team. Yeah. And when that crossover happened in the early Defenders books and the early 100s of the Avengers, those crossovers blew my mind.
Is that stuff hard to come by, Mario? Can you get the full team, Strange, Hulk, Surfer and Namor, those with that team, those books, are they readily available?
They're available. You know what I mean? They're not always available in high grade because they're vintage books.
Yeah.
And most people nowadays, they want a nice copy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I want a nice copy.
Yeah,
Right.
like that Submariner, I actually put that up. It's like Submariner, Hulk, and Surfer against like that Avenger
Well,
team.
if you don't already know, that is considered the intro to the first Defenders.
There you go.
That's the first time where they actually look at each other and go, hey, we should do the team. That kind of thing. And then Marvel Feature came out, 1, 2, and 3, which actually was called the Defenders.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know that.
I didn't know that.
Then Defenders #1 came out.
Interesting.
So it's Defenders #1 is actually their like fourth appearance or something like that.
I've looked for that first appearance.
You're missing the, what is that, 34?
Yeah.
Is it 35? 34 and 35.
I got 35 too. I got 35.
Great story there too.
Yeah.
But for that game, I think I have to go back. Kind of an Avengers guy. And
I like that though. That's a great
Defenders and Avengers
great answer.
Yeah, it is.
But if you go for those covers, there are some of the greatest battle covers ever. Silver Surfer versus the Vision.
Yeah.
On the board. In the fire. Oh God.
You've got some great hardcovers still in the store right now. Any of those?
Yeah. Well, the hardcovers, you can read them. You can go back and read those stories in hardcover or softcover form because they have put those in compilations.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got a great bunch of Marvel masterpieces in there right now.
Marvel masterpieces.
Think you have those Defenders in there right now?
Like that. I might have the Defenders War in there.
Ooh, check that out.
Nice.
It's
very nice.
A reason to go to Marvel.
Hey, Gabe.
There you go. So great answer there, Mario. Let's see. Ramon says, not to get off comics, but how many Jordan rookies you had?
It was just, well,
The
to
collector
tell you
already.
the truth, Ray, I had all the Jordan rookie stickers. I had all these star cards because Jordan had several rookies.
Were you buying it up because you knew already, or was this like when he was blowing up and you foresaw Mario?
When I got into cards, I got into cards for collecting. You know what I mean? I wanted to have the big cards, and so I started buying stuff before the.
What year would you say? Rough. I'm trying to get a beat on where Jordan was at in his career.
I wish I would have been in earlier because I could have got the Jordans earlier, but I didn't go into that collecting until more of the mid '80s. And believe me, nobody really was collecting Jordans.
I was going to say
88.
You had to be watching and knowing that he was doing his thing.
So he has an 84 rookie card, and then later on, these were all unauthorized and they're worth money.
All right.
Later on, the big company Fleer came back into the market, and that became the official first Jordan rookie Fleer from '86.
Was Topps in the game back then?
Not for a while.
Not really.
They were out. There were a lot of card companies that bowed out in the early '80s. Yeah. So you had this Star company, an unauthorized company that was doing cards. When the big guys came in, like Fleer and Topps and everybody, they didn't come back until 86. I'm sorry, 86. So they were doing football cards, but not basketball. So that was Jordan's rookie, Elijah One's rookie, Patrick Ewing's rookie. Oof. That was the greatest set ever.
I was going to say,
what I mean? I had the complete set with the Jordan, and then we ended up letting that go. So I don't have any more, Ray, but they're all gone. But I wish I had held on to that one rookie. I really do.
Mario, were you a pack buyer, open packs?
Oh, yeah, I was a pack buyer, and as you guys well know, I did cards for almost 10 years.
We bought packs from you. That was like a little thing. We'd go buy packs from you and be like,
my oldest son. Some of you remember him. He was just a little kid behind the counter, but oh man, he loved the packs. He would work for packs. Child labor.
I remember sometimes I was just so excited to open the damn pack that I didn't really even care what was in it. I was like, I just want to keep opening packs. Like,
right? It was addicting. It was really addicting. One more. Before you know it, what's my total, Mario? $85.
Exactly. Great question. Then Ramon also says, go ahead, Double A.
He says, Ramon says, my son and me are doing full-size, authentic, and custom autograph helmets and also doing card breaks.
Very nice, man. I definitely want to hit up our friend Albert and let him know, Ramon, about you guys.
And then he gives us some updates about, I guess, the March Madness. North Texas won their first March Madness game.
Right on. Spurs are playing too, I think.
Raise the guy, man.
Jeremy says, just got done watching that. One hell of a game. Ohio State also got upset as well.
Right on. Guys, let me know who won the Spurs game. Who won? Somebody tell me out there. And then Mark
Flores says, Mario just came in here and say hi.
Another Flores, brother.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, great comments. And out of that, we got great conversation. And don't forget, if you want to hear the full unabridged conversation, check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. It means a whole bunch. But I'm going to bring us right back onto the recorded version. So we don't want anybody to miss out on all this great content here, because Mario's giving us the lowdown of the scoop on comics and cards. So, guys, we'll bring it right back. If you're joining us on audio, guys, you know we just came back from reading some comments. Great stuff in there for you guys from Mario Delgado. Talked a little bit about cards, his dealings with Michael Jordan rookies. Guys, we want to know right there. There it is. And we also got an update on the Spurs game.
Spurs
Thank you,
won.
Ramon.
All
Spurs won. I asked one time at the end, and everybody just jumped in.
What a show. What a show.
Thank you, guys. That's what we want to know here. Again, as was last week, tried and true Spurs fans all right here. No matter how far away you go, Mario, don't forget to rock that Spurs gear. So we know that you won't, guys. But you heard it here, guys. Mario Delgado, 2 more weeks at Authority Comics out there in Traders Village, 15th Street, man. Pretty much, as I've called it before, the murderer's row right now for your wallet if you're a collector. But it will be missing a huge, what I would call the centerpiece there. The Babe Ruth is essentially waving his little cap and walking away at the end of the month, guys. It breaks my freaking heart to think about going there and not seeing you, Mario. Because, man, again, a truly unparalleled customer service experience. If Mario was selling vacuum cleaners, I'd go hang out with him because it's that great.
You'd probably own about 10 vacuum
I'd probably have about 10 vacuum cleaners. Yeah, I'd be like, damn, man, I'm going to get another one. My girlfriend would be wondering why I spent so much damn time at the vacuum shop. But, Fortunately for me, Mario sells something far, far more interesting in the comic book game. Now, Mario, you brought in some really, really awesome pieces. We told you could do a little bit of show and tell today. I mean, we've often showed off stuff. A lot of stuff Double A's gotten in
almost every week.
You know what I mean? It's been great. I got a great issue from Mario just the other day. He was so gracious enough to bless me with. We talked about blessings earlier. Truly, the Scarlet Witch and the Vision, the first appearance of their kids.
The 12-parter. It's a 12-parter, and the issue 12, which I got right there hanging. Yeah. It's the first appearance of the kids.
Yeah. You become Wicked and Speed. Yeah, Wicked and Speed. I merely mentioned that I would love to have one, and of course, Mario.
Yeah. Like even before that, Mario had it in his wallet. I went like an early Saturday, and I was like, oh, Mario, let me have that one. Yeah. I just walked in and like, let me have that one.
I saw you spot it.
Yeah, I was like,
all right, he knows what he's doing.
Let me have that one.
Guys, if I could mention something.
No, please.
Real quick, if that's okay. And I don't mean to change the pace.
No,
I really want to get into the show and tell part of it.
No, absolutely.
But one of the things I wanted to talk about was what's happening with my store.
Okay. Yes. Great.
That's cool. If that's cool with you guys,
that was on my list of questions, but I was going to wait till the end. But no, let's get to it now. No. Let's. You're ready to go.
Okay. So I wanted while people were here and people were listening. You know, I mean, when I decided to part ways and close the store down, you know, in the back of my mind, I had spent so many years building something. I did not want it just to go away. So over the past few months, I've been searching for the perfect guy to step in, maybe, and continue what I've built there at Traders Village. You know, and just wasn't happening. You know, people were like, "Yeah, I might be interested. Yeah, I might be interested. Yeah, I am." And some people, weren't just the right mix either. You know what I mean? You were, of course.
I know I was. Yeah.
But I have since found somebody that is passionate about comics.
Nice.
He's a young man. I call him a young man because I'm an old man. But his name is David Martinez Jr. You know what I mean? He's a hell of a young guy. He's passionate about comics. He's passionate about everything. You know, he goes 100 miles an hour.
That's great.
He reminds me of me when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And when he came in and expressed, he would always come in and just say how beautiful my store was and how he loved this store. And
it truly is.
How do I build that, Mario? How do I build that? And just the light bulb went on. And I said, well, you know, David, you don't have to build it. You know, it's here, you know. And David and I had some conversations, and David is going to take over the store and do his own thing and it's my baby. Yeah. You know, I didn't want to just pass it on to somebody who was going to tear it down, you know what I mean? And not give it what it was due. And I believe David is the guy. You know, he's going to keep it going. He's going to take it to levels maybe I never took it to. You know, he's very active online. David goes by the name of Rad Comics, by the way, everybody. So David, you know, I support you 100%. My people, there will always be a comic book store, Traders Village. Come by and see David, you know, support him.
Man.
You know, he's going to be in contact with me. I'm going to be in contact with him. We're going to work together a little bit too. So, you know, David will always be a part of me to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I am so happy that I found him, and he's excited. I'm excited. And like I said, it goes by the name of Rad Comics. Very cool. That will all transition from March to April. As of the first week of April,
he'll be open.
David will be in the store. There won't be a weekend. We're not skipping a beat. We're not skipping a beat. That's great. You know, that weekend.
More breaking news, guys.
Will be my final weekend. Yeah. And the next weekend will be David's first weekend.
Very cool.
And I will be there for David as he launches. And he's already been on the street and he's done the comics and stuff like that, but he's taken it to the bigger level. And he's excited. He's preparing. And I have full faith in him. He's excited. You know, I think he's going to do good. So awesome, good luck to him. I want to wish him the best, you know, and anything he needs, I'm here for him. And go see him. Go see him. You know, after you come see me this next couple of weekends.
It's 2 weekends.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, we're two different stores, and he's going to do his own thing, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Traders Village is lucky to have him.
Yeah. And guys, if you don't know, you might have gotten already a sneak preview. If you've ever been in Andy's
treasure chest,
there's a little piece on the back, and I always thought there were one store, but this is Mario that educated me that is David and Rad Comics, and that small piece that does comics in the back end. So I would go in that part as well to check out, you know, he's got some graded books, and it's a very small space, so great for him to be able to expand. And I mean, you're hearing it here first, guys. There will not be Authority Comics there come April, but it will be Rad Comics with David there. So how great for us to hear. You know, you thought you were going to save a buck by missing a comic shop, but now you won't. The Murderer's Row continues.
It continues to grow.
Your wallet will continue to get trounced as you travel through 15th Street. So that's awesome, Mario, because, you know, you could have said, hey, I'm out, and that's it, and I don't really care about these fixtures and all the beautiful stuff you have in there, the way the store is designed. And it could have been the next gem shop in there with somebody selling metal signs. They don't have enough of that in their traders, but instead not. We're keeping the trend going, which, you know, it's a testament again to your character, Mario, because that helps out your guys on each side. That helps out Gary and Bobby and the anime store, everyone around there, because it continues that theme of when, hey, you're bringing me a little business, I can send it your way, you can send it my way, you can go back and forth. That's outstanding. So their comics will remain there at the corner of 15th Street, which is really, really great. You know what I mean? So that's exciting to hear, guys. A new shop, different design, different from Authority, to go and check out and give a chance to. So and helping another small business owner hopefully build up a clientele and grow.
David says he's little Mario.
There you go.
He says, I'm little Mario. But I will be big Mario. And I said, you will be.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of faith in him. He's going to do good things.
It reminds me, I mentioned it before, but very much reminds me of like the Willy Wonka story, you know what I mean? The chocolate factory, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's kind of interesting too, the time of year it's happening. It's like we talk about, you know, March, April. It's like today spring began. It's like it's going in. Yeah. Winter is over, and now, you know, a spring, you know, new life begins. And so, you know, I mean, exactly. New chapter in your life and new chapter in his. I'm sure how exciting to step into some majorly huge boots to fill there. You know what I mean? But we also wish David luck, and we look forward to coming and seeing the new place.
Yeah, we'll be checking it out.
Yeah, be very awesome.
He'll be the next guest in the future.
There we go. And we'll be happy to. We've already hosted one show in that shop, so we get another show in there. We're always up for guests. So great stuff. Anything else, Mario, before we kind of get into some show and tell?
I just wanted to get to David.
Totally, man.
Important, and thank you for letting me do that.
Absolutely. No, we definitely wanted to get that. I thought we were doing it at the very end, but perfect right here as well. But
I'm glad this is kind of like
it's just the fun way.
Let's go, man.
I want to hear these stories.
Okay, so
there's a really good story on one of them that I want to hear again.
Okay, we showed our way through some of these.
Mario, graded books.
Talk graded books.
Talk any more about graded?
You guys don't want to know. I mean, this is what it's in. It's a hard plastic shell.
Cgc.
You can't take it out. It's graded. It makes it protected and work. This is like an investment. This is like money in your bank.
These are for investment books. These are the future of investing in comics.
Big time.
So Mario, what people want to know when they see this stuff is they want me to tell them, what am I holding in my hand and how much is it worth?
That's an Avengers number 2.
Okay. Avengers
1963. You know, I think we mentioned it earlier.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that the Hulk was an Avenger in the very first few issues, and he left right away.
Yeah.
So he just didn't fit in, and that's where the Hulk leaves. So technically, that is a very early appearance of the Incredible Hulk. You know, it needs a little bit more notoriety than that because the Hulk only had 4 issues, I believe. I think 4 or 6 issues.
Yeah, because I think in issue 3, it's like him and Submariner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is if you're an Avengers fan, I mean, that's a go-to. I mean, it's a yellow cover. It's beautiful.
Very nice.
You know, it's worth about $1,000. You know, so it's nice, and it has only nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. 6.5, they go up to the highest grade you get is a 10.0.
Yes, if that were a 9.8, which is technically your 10, you very seldom see 10s. They're out there, but they're usually on more modern books, easier to grade. But if that were a 9.8, that would easily be in the 10,000s. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Easy.
So here it says Marvel Comics, 11/63. Is that November 1963?
That's when it came out.
Okay,
That's when it was
November
released.
1963. So,
yeah, they always put great information.
5,000?
No, that's 1,000. It's a grand.
This is $1,000, guys.
If it were the number 1, it might be 5,000 to 10,000.
But what a beauty, man! Stan Lee and
Isn't it
Jack
pretty?
Kirby. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
If
is.
it had a Stanley autograph, it would probably be a couple of grand.
Okay,
you know,
so they are
instead.
pushing it up. The autograph. Remember, there was a while where autographs were pushing it down.
Well, certain ones, you
Right.
know, anything with a Stanley autograph is going to push it up
because
So,
of the subsequent.
especially if it's vintage like that.
Do people have Jack Kirby autographs?
Oh, they're out there. They're
Ooh,
out
It's
there.
pretty wild. I know we talked about the rarity of a Steve Ditko. It's like so super rare.
Yeah.
He didn't do
Now
anything.
those guys
right?
weren't around to do the Comic-Con signing,
Right.
so that's a good thing because there are a lot of Stanley autographs out there. While
Yeah.
he was alive, I mean, he was pushing it to the end.
Oh yeah,
Signing. So
people have it on
there's stuff out
everything too. They've got it
So,
on
yeah,
cap
even on
shield.
that
stuff that
also
he
comes
didn't
into
do.
play. People will ask, well, that's Stan Lee. Why is it not worth as much as a
Right.
Jack Kirby?
Well, right.
You know, much rarer.
One guy was
Yeah.
gone like 20
In
years
94,
before almost. Right?
1994.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he did have the comic book scene, you know,
Did-
the Comic-Con scene. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so let's get
A
to
little
the
bit more
next
modern.
piece here.
1977.
Okay,
Worth the
that's
same as the 1963 book. But what is it?
Star Wars. And somebody might say, which I asked Mario this question right away. Look at the type. The grading is different. So
It's a different
I'm
company.
very familiar. 2 different companies. Mario says, I'm very familiar with this type of graded cover top, but this is another cover I've never seen. In fact, this is my first time I think seeing this.
Yeah,
company.
CBCS is located in Dallas.
CBCS.
Which
Okay,
is pretty cool. And they're the runner-up company, if you want to call them. You know, 2 companies kind of got the whole market cornered. And you either send them to those 2. There are other graded companies out there that just get no respect. So don't even try it.
Okay.
So you're going to go with these guys. The benefit of these guys, they will certify your autograph. CGC
That's what I liked about that with Mario.
will
Sun.
only
Interesting.
encase when they witness an autograph. So 2 different things,
Very
2
interesting.
different
Yeah,
options.
so I was thinking about going there.
For your autographs,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
For your raw books, you must go with CGC.
Okay.
That's the way to go.
Okay.
There's probably a 20% markup on this company versus that company.
Okay, so that's what
So-
my next question was. If I had this exact same book graded by CGC,
In that company, it would be worth a little bit more
it'd be worth a little bit more. So
than,
there's something that
than $1,300.
they've added, in a sense, their own additional layer of making. I didn't realize how much it blocked my voice. The book in front of my voice. Additional layer of
And
adding to the value.
this comic has gone up a lot,
Mhm.
like a lot.
Thanks to the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
everything Star Wars has been pieced apart now, and first appearances are rampant throughout the Star Wars universe, which we never paid attention to.
Right.
And now everybody's paying attention to them,
Yeah.
and Star Wars books across the board are on fire.
And
Yeah.
I want to tell a story because some guy tried ripping me off. So
I hear
I
you.
went to a comic book store and I saw this one. And it said reprint right here. It said
Right,
reprint. Very, you know, I took it up. I was like, hey, how much is this one? He got his phone. He looked on eBay and was trying to, you know, oh, that's going to be $50. It looks like everyone's selling it for. I'm like, it's a reprint. He goes, no, it's not a reprint, even though it said reprint right here. I was like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to take it. You know,
What a lot of people don't realize is that, of course, Star Wars was, I think it was 1, 2, maybe 3 and 4 and 5, maybe. They were all reprinted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they literally put it on the side of the
yeah, they
sidebar
do.
there
It
and
said.
everything and stuff like
and-
that. So there's something you got to be versed in and know what to look for.
Right.
Because some people might see a Star Wars #1 on a wall somewhere, and it might be $100, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They're like, Star Wars #1. It's only $100. Get it.
Yeah.
We saw that guy talk
Mhm.
about it the other day. It was $1,000. But you bought the reprint and you go, what are you doing at home? Oh man, it's
exactly.
a reprint.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be careful with that.
Yeah,
be careful
because I was pretty pissed. First off, he was doing like every book I had bought up to him, he was checking on eBay to see how much it was going for. I was like, come on.
That's a no-no,
Yeah,
in my
like, come
opinion,
on,
and a lot of
man.
vendors and a lot of
Yeah.
store owners, you know, and customers for sure. You know, if somebody pulls out the guide right away and is pricing the books on the spot, you know, most people will just walk away.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what I did. I maybe bought like two good books he
Yeah.
had, and then after that, I was like, okay, I'm never coming back here.
If they're
again
not going to put in
because-
the time to
Yeah.
do it and let you know
No,
what you're
no.
buying.
Yeah,
Don't give them your money.
yeah, no.
So-
I was pissed off why I even bought those two books from him.
Let me ask you something, Mario. When they do a reprint of a book like this, because I think people know famously that Star Wars was with Marvel for a long time, and then they went away, then they came back. To
Right.
Marvel got them back.
Licensing.
Licensing. When they do a reprint, are the ads and everything modern?
Well, a facsimile edition will get you the
Mm.
exact same book.
Okay.
That's what a facsimile is.
Okay.
Now, some other reprints are going to be updated, so you will see modern dates in there. That's
Ah.
a dead giveaway. So if
Okay.
you're looking at a book and you know it's priced like that, and then
Mhm.
you look at the ad, and the ad is for a game, and it says
Right.
1999 on
Yeah.
it, you're like, okay, it's a no-brainer. It's a reprint. You know,
Okay.
so be careful with those things. So you'll
Interesting.
get that mix in there. But facsimile editions are pretty popular now. Ads and everything are exactly the same.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
You've seen the giant size X-Men and the X-Men
Yeah.
one I have
Yes.
at the store.
Yes.
Everybody's like, is that what I think it is? And I
Yeah.
said, it sure is. It's a facsimile edition.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
a 9.8 and it's worth $100.
If you always wanted to own that cover, this is your chance.
This is your closest you're gonna get to it.
So that kind of leads me to my next question, Mario, is that when you're dealing with books that are already graded, I go to a shop, let's say, and I see graded books on the wall. Is it going to always be like, okay, this is $1,000 book? Are they going to? Can you get a deal? Or are they going to always be like,
Again,
with the? What I guess what I'm trying to say is like the shop stands only to lose money if it's worth $1,000 at a 9.6. Why would you sell it for anything less than $1,000?
it's something I've struggled with myself because of the way I do business.
Mhm.
You know, I like to treat everybody right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I try to invest in books the best way I can, so it enables me to have that regardless of what the book's worth.
Okay.
It enables me, and you've seen me do this, guys. You've seen me give away stuff practically.
Oh yeah.
You know, and if I know what I have into it, and if you mean something to me, or you've respected my store and respected me for years, you're gonna get the best deal you can possibly get.
Okay.
And that number doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Now, there are people who say, now that it's graded, you know, I'm not budging from that, because that has nowhere to go but up. And that's
Yeah.
the truth.
That's
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Yeah.
So there are
Yeah.
people that, you know, and God bless them, you know, that's why they stay in business, because they'll make that money.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And the guy will pay for it and he'll walk out the door and I paid a little bit too much for it, but that's the book I wanted.
Right.
You know, me, I want somebody to walk out there and like, look what I got. And
Yeah.
Mario knocked $200 off of it.
Oh, right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel about that. And it's everybody's different. But technically, you know, I mean, now people say, you know, check it out. Check it out. The last one sold for $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, and then perfect example. I sold a 9.6 Amazing Spider-Man 300. You know what that is, right?
Yeah. First appearance of Venom.
First Venom.
Yes.
Mhm.
9.6. Sold it for, gave the guy a deal. I had it at 1,100, 1,200. Ended up going 1,000 cash. Let it go
Mhm.
right out the door. I made plenty of money on it.
Sure.
Was happy to move it.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, the Amazing 300 spikes. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It went from 1,000 to 1,600.
Damn.
Oof.
A month later,
Damn.
it went to 2,500.
Damn.
Oh,
So,
man.
you know, I could sit there and kick myself in the butt the
Like,
whole
what
time,
happened?
the whole
Yeah.
time and go, man, if I would have waited 2
Right.
weeks, you know, I could do that all day
Yeah.
selling books, but I don't. You know what I mean? I said, hey, I'm happy for him. He's jumping for joy.
Sure.
That's the name of the game. And that's why you don't literally have to discount those books.
Yeah.
But, you know, I choose to do the best I can at the moment. I don't care. You might be the beneficiary of a 50% to 100% jump in a month.
Yeah.
That's a chance I'm taking.
It's like the
You know?
stock market, man. Like you
I-
talked about the Jordan cards in the
I could
break.
sit on everything all
Check out
day
the break.
long, you know, but that's not my way of doing things. So,
Yeah.
So, you know, my thing is your game,
Okay.
and hopefully you respect the book enough. I appreciate that when people respect the book,
Yeah.
and they pay me good money for a book.
Yeah.
That goes a long way with me.
That's
you,
what
you
I
do
was-
that, you're gonna get treated well.
When I see wall of graded books at other places on the wall, that's what troubles me, is because they're not. It's not number one, it's probably, well, it's not you, but it's not even like their shop. It's like, I just work here. Like, I'm like, you have no authority or say so. If I'm like, hey man, like, what is
They
that
won't.
book? You know,
They
yeah,
won't.
it says 300, man. It's 300. And it's like, okay, well then there's no.
And that's the
There's
beauty
no,
of
you know-
going into a store like mine or like David is going to run. You know, you're in total control.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. You know what you pay for things. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to lose money.
Sure.
But, you know, I mean, if you know what you're doing and you're not going to lose money,
Yeah.
you know, whether you make it on the second sale, the third sale, the fourth sale, that's what I want to do.
Right.
You know, it doesn't always have to be that initial sale. I want that guy to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. You
You know?
might say, I sold him this one book for
Yeah.
half the price, 1,000 book for 500. He'll be back for other
He'll be
books.
back.
You know what I
He'll
mean?
be back. And then by that time, you've created this atmosphere between you and your customer
Right.
that is well respected between the two of you. There's not so much of the haggling type thing goes away,
Right.
you know, and then most of the time with me, you're going to get that deal anyway. And
Yeah.
people know.
Totally.
Mario's going to give me a deal. You know, so that's the way it is.
You had a question, Double A?
No, I was just you know, I was reading this, like it's kind of cool. Like on
What?
here,
It's a reprint?
I know.
it says like
Crack it.
it has like some really cool information. It says first issue on sale before the movie debuted,
Yes.
and then it even has
Wow.
this kind of interesting thing. It says full page hostess ad featuring Spider-Man.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, what's the deal with that? Why put a full page hostess ad featuring Spider-Man there?
Yeah. Well, for a while back there, the hostess ads were rampant in the comics and
Mhm.
they were featuring the Marvel characters. So Marvel, that's how they pay for their books. They get those ads into different books.
Right.
Now that could be important if
it
we were
seemed like
very
it.
if we
Yeah.
were very far back in the Spider-Man days and we saw that ad a year after Spider-Man came out.
Okay.
But here we are practically 15 years after Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not very pertinent to anything
Hmm.
because it's been
Okay.
a while. But say, for instance, it's 1977. Say the next year Ghost Rider came out and he was in that hostess ad the year before, just like the Vampirella thing.
Yes.
that's
know,
interesting.
That makes a difference. It's like,
Okay.
you know, there was a Ghost Rider was on a freaking hostess ad before number 1 came out.
Right.
It's
That's
just
pretty
it's
wild.
interesting that they put that
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
you know?
they
It's
noted
very
it.
interesting.
Why did they note
Yeah.
it? I get what you're
But the
saying.
interesting
Yeah.
thing about it is how that book came out before the movie.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why? George Lucas was a genius, right? George Lucas said, do whatever you want with the movie. All I want is I want the rights to all the merchandise.
Right. That's right.
And that was the smartest thing George Lucas ever did.
Yeah, for sure.
So he was already moving and shaking before the movie even came out.
I love the Carrie Fisher line where she goes, I have to pay him $15 every time I look in the mirror. Okay.
Yep.
I think we're still good on time here right now.
Yeah, let's get on to another one.
Let's get on to the next one. What do you got next for us?
Do we want to do turtles? Want to talk
Sure.
turtles?
We can talk
Yeah,
turtles.
I want to hear that story again.
Let's talk turtles.
I did-
Let's
I did
talk
those
turtles. Here,
when
you
you
guys
guys
go
here.
ahead and show some of these.
Oh man, these
That's
are fantastic.
2, 3, and 4, the
Ooh.
originals.
Very nice.
And this, I want to hand you this
Golly.
over here.
So these are that original.
Yes, people. They're
the
not
ones that-
exactly comic book form. These are the ones that were printed in
Oh my goodness.
Eastman and Laird's garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Rock
They
Studios.
sent out 3,000 copies, I think, of
Issue
number 1.
2.
These
You
are
know?
like in the. This is so funny because we just were talking about this that they're printing that Ronin in like the almost like the magazine, not quite magazine
Yes.
size, but it doesn't fit in current size bags.
Yeah,
So
it's
we're like,
almost a throwback to
yeah.
the originals.
yeah. So now we're both in the
And
market to get some magazine.
I think it was
size.
up to number 5. They changed into comic book size and comic book form. So anything below that is this size. Interesting story about that issue that I will tell you about.
Fugitoid.
Do you know who Fugitoid is?
I do not.
Fugitoid is in the new comics. He's been introduced in the IDW. Fugitoid was the first creation for Eastman and Laird before the Turtles.
The first creation.
They
by the
created
team.
Fugitoid and didn't publish it way before the Turtles came out.
Really? Okay.
Later on, he appeared in this type one shot, which I think, did I write anything on the back on there?
Yes, 1985, created by Eastman and Laird, 1983. Tie-in with TMNT number 5.
See, so they didn't bring him in till
Mm.
number 5, but they
Okay.
created him before the Turtles.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
cool, man.
this is a very undervalued book. This is going to jump to the Turtles thing very soon
Right.
before people know it. That's Fugitoid number 1.
And these are such like the iconic.
These books are
looking-
prepared and ready to go get graded.
This is number 4 right here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful copy.
Eastman and Laird.
By that time, I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on it, but they might have raised it up to maybe 8,000 to 10,000 print run, which is still nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
gosh, no way.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
And then the
It's
Turtle
great.
Mania took over, and boom.
Now,
you know?
CM, this is really cool. I'm reading Mario's writing. It's this 1-in-1 issue micro series. It's Raphael, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is the first appearance of Casey Jones.
First appearance.
and there he is.
First one
with the
shot.
cover.
First Casey Jones. He says between issues 3 and 4.
It's
It's the first appearance of Casey Jones.
And I tell you what
That's
issues they
really
came out in
fucking
between,
cool.
so
Right.
you know
Yeah.
what kind of the.
And you see the writing. That's where Mario
Mario's
always has
notes.
it.
That is key. That's what I was
Yes,
talking about. When I
that's
talk
what
about
I love.
organization
Yes,
and
I love this.
informative. I
Now,
wanted to
see,
the
right
other
away,
one.
he told me because it's the first Casey Jones. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Funny story there too. I had a 9.8 copy of that. 9.8.
Ooh.
Right.
Wow.
I sold it to one of my customers who was talking with us earlier. I'm not going to mention his name.
Okay.
but my good friend, he got a
Okay,
super
good
deal
business.
and purchased that book for when it was about $800 for a 9.8, and he got a good deal on
Wow.
it too.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I said, I didn't have to give him a deal. It was a 9.8.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the future, but I knew it was going to go up.
Mhm.
He got a good deal. You know what that book is worth now in a 9.8?
How much?
$15,000.
Jeez.
Please. For 4 turtles.
In a 9.8,
telling you guys.
9.8 is the key there.
Damn.
So those are getting ready to go get graded.
Guys, turtles, if you're a turtle, man, these are great comics to
Those are the
try to
originals.
get.
Those are the originals. There were only 63 in the original series, so you can collect volume 1 if you want to.
And you know what? They're not bad price. Without being slabbed, they're not bad prices.
Not
These
yet.
are really.
Don't look at those prices. Those are old prices.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's.
But
Man.
IDW has since taken over the license to
Oh, they
Turtles.
did again?
They
Okay.
brought in. They're
Nice.
the ones that are doing the Last Ronin.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
but
that's
before
right.
that,
that's who it was, the publisher.
Okay.
what was the hot thing? You know, they brought in the female turtle, Jenica.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
They brought her in about issue 51 and brought her in through the whole series. Those books are on fire. So epic events throughout the Turtles didn't happen for a while. They're happening now with the
Okay.
Ronin and stuff like that. So that is having its effect on old Turtles too.
But guys, you know, out of all the ones, besides maybe the Casey Jones, this was the one that really is pretty fucking cool to own. Just because the story Mario told us, that's really cool.
And story to tell about it. I mean, number one,
Yeah,
you know,
I
it's,
mean, golly, 83.
I look
you
at
know?
this, I just feel like this is something that I'd be flipping past. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't even know. You know what I
And
mean?
a lot of people don't. So that's the beauty of what I do too.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
when I
I
go,
love
when
that
I get
kind of
into search
information.
mode,
Yeah,
you know, I'm out there.
Right.
And sometimes I just get real lucky at knowing what to spot and knowing what to find and walking past the yard sale or anything where
Yeah.
people say, I got some magazines over there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Do they know any? Are they versed in any of this? No, they're not. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
have you ever got to meet him? I've never got to meet Kevin Eastman. I've
I have
been at a
not.
show
I have
where
not.
he's been there, but
Yeah.
I've
I
never
think in the
met
past,
the man.
6 years or so, he's traveling quite a bit.
I
Doing the
remember
shows.
they came together.
They came
Yeah.
once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's the guy. What is it, Laird? I think, right?
Yes.
No, Eastman. Eastman is the one that
The
shows
writer.
up more.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does the little.
Yeah, Peter
the
looks
little,
like he's kind of,
doodle. He'll draw
yeah.
a turtle
Yeah.
and he'll sign it for you.
That's cool.
So he started doing that about 5-6 years ago, and people were real receptive to that, going to meet him.
That's
and
Guys,
stuff like that.
if
So he's out there.
you want to know about this, there's a really cool show on Netflix called Toys That Made Us, and it's about the Turtles, and it gives you a really good history about the team of Eastman and Laird and how their Mirage studio was really their apartment or house that they shared together, and
Right.
how they came up with the Turtles. It's a really interesting story. It's called Toys That Made Us, and it's all about how it went from their little room to a big ass franchise.
That's totally a dream come true.
That is,
You know,
that
when
really
when-
is.
It's like a rock band who's playing in the
Yeah.
garage for
Great
several years, and the next thing you
example.
know, they're big.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys don't mind, let's give Matt Frank a shout out. With
Yeah,
some of the stuff
totally.
we're talking
Yes.
about. You know, we're
so-
big on artists.
Jeremy, so this is kind of what I was telling you. If
Yes,
you're still
yes.
listening,
You're still with us, Jeremy.
golly, if you want the artist of Godzilla, Matt Frank is going to be at Heroes and Fantasies tomorrow. Maybe CM can take you with Jess.
Yeah.
I'm planning on going myself.
That's one of his prints.
Look at his art.
Jeremy, are you still with us? Check this out, man.
Godzilla, Kong.
That is
Matt
gorgeous.
Frank is the man.
And he's from San Antonio, Mario.
He's from Austin.
Austin. Okay.
He's from
great.
Austin, but he visits San Antonio. He supports San Antonio. San Antonio supports him. He's my favorite Godzilla artist, and I texted with him a little bit this afternoon, and he wanted to join in on the show, but he was busy, so I told him to check us out later. So I hope you do, Matt. You know, it's cool.
Hey, Mario, if he ever wants to do an episode, let him know.
Yeah, he would be great. He would be great on the show. But I got something I want to show y'all that he did especially for me. I met Matt Frank years ago, and he's just such a really, really nice guy. He's very personable with everybody who walks to his table. If you ever got to meet him and everything. And
let me have you hold that real quick, Mario.
Sure.
Guys, let me take you to a quick break real quick. Then we'll pop back with Mario's story, specifically about Matt Frank and this piece. Guys, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, we appreciate you sticking around right there. We're getting right to the story. I really want to. We're going to get to that story. I want to bring the
what is
audio back.
Hour 4 now, or what?
It is a break. Like we're getting there. We're getting there. Not quite hour 4, but it's getting long.
That's great. What do we talk about? With a 4-hour movie? Hey,
I was going to say,
know good things are happening.
Our last episode, I said this is longer than the Snyder Cut. I think right here. Let's read a few of these comments, Mario, before you tell the story there, because that's a great piece.
Richard says, for you, Mario, what is your comic or memorabilia that you have that means a lot to you that you will never let go of?
Well, I'm going to save that for the end of the show because it's right behind me.
Okay.
So I'll share that with you in a little bit.
Rich, good
You're going to love that, Rich. It's coming up.
Jeremy says, well, it feels good to know that the legacy will still be going. I'm super excited to go and visit Rad Comics. So,
all right, Jeremy.
Awesome. Samuel says, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How much you want right now?
Don't put me on the spot, Sammy.
We're wheeling and dealing as we go.
And those are going to CGC, Sammy. So I will get back to you when they return. And so start saving your money.
There you go. See that?
And then Jeremy says, yo, Charlie, we need to go.
Did you see that piece right there, man?
Yeah, he's going to be at Heroes tomorrow. I'm going to go. I'm going to check it out. I'm finally going to meet this man. Yeah. He's come a few times.
Be sure to talk it up and tell him that we had him on we were talking about him on the show.
Yeah. Is this a print he sells?
Yeah, he sells that print, at the show. Probably have that print available at the show, plus many others.
Yeah.
But that's an incredible, nice one.
Very, very nice. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That was the comment. Jeremy. So stick around, Jeremy. We're going to see this next piece. It's really great. I'm just going to check right now to make sure that our audio loaded in. It's still taking another second to bring in.
He's going to be at Heroes from 12 to 4 at the 410 location.
Okay.
He's advertising for Ultraman. If any of you guys know, I think he's an older character.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not too sure about it.
That's Japanese. Kaiju, if you want to call it.
Right. The yellow eyes, the big yellow eyes.
I think
you remember the Jaguar from the Godzilla movies?
I'm not too sure.
The little robot guy, red and yellow.
Okay.
Ultraman, was before the Jaguar, so I think they brought him out kind of like that. So they're kind of comparisons. And then you see the Power Rangers characters.
Right.
They kind of resemble that stuff. But Ultraman's been around a long time.
Very
and Matt, everybody knows, Kaiju. Matt is a huge Kaiju fan. So he not only draws it, he lives it.
Dude,
I think
awesome.
Heroes posted that it was going to be like $40. You can have it CGC'd. I think they're going to have like blank covers where he's also going to be doing
that's
art.
Dope.
Let me see if I can get more information real quick.
When you do go see him, if he's finishing at 4, tell him to come by. That he needs to go to Authority Comics up the street at Traders Village because he's not going to be that far after he's done. Tell him to drop by. Matt, that's an official invitation.
See that right here? Matt, you're hearing it first. We'll play this back for you.
So it says we will be selling the sketches. Will come with the blank comic and a COA for only $40. That's pretty damn cheap.
Yeah, that's nice.
And we'll have a CGC as an option for those interested. So he's going to be doing that. He's going to be doing the blank covers. It is tomorrow from 12 to 4. That's the newest one right there. You can kind of see it.
The Ultraman.
So lots of things going on tomorrow with that.
Definitely.
And the DBZ guys down at Traders Village. So
great day to get out and get all of it done. Guys, I'm going to bring us right back into the audio so we can get to Mario's story continued there. Guys, thanks for hanging out. We took a quick break for a second just to get the audio to load in for that 30-minute block. We're talking with Jeremy and we're talking with Mario about the great artist
Matt Frank,
who's going to be here in San Antonio tomorrow
at Heroes
from Austin at Heroes of Fantasy. He'll be there doing some blank covers. AA said
you can have Ultraman. A CGC. It'll be only $40. He'll do the blank cover for you, and from everything I've seen, that's a print that you want to get on.
Okay, cool. Mario, you were
great
about
stuff.
to get into a great story.
Yes. I met Matt Frank several years ago, and of course we're cut from the same cloth. We both are Godzilla fans, and he
Nice.
loves kaiju. He's deep into the Japanese stuff, and I think that's why he draws Godzilla with such a passion.
Right.
And of course his big book was the Kingdom one that he did with IDW.
Okay, cool.
Back then, and he did a really nice run. His covers are very expensive, I
Yeah.
mean, they weren't heavy print runs, but very sought after. So anyway, when I met Matt, he came over to my booth at an Alamo City. I think it was maybe one of the earliest ones and everything, and just started digging through my Godzilla comics. And I was so excited to know that I had stuff that he wanted, that he needed.
Oh, nice.
And he stacked it up. You know what I mean? And here's me again, and being a fan, though. He goes, "How much, Mario?" And what did I tell him? I said, "Your money's no good here,
There you
Matt."
go.
And I'm serious. This was a lot of books. I said, "Take them."
Wow.
And he goes, "No way." And I said, "Take them." I said, "I'm a huge fan." I said, "Do something for me." He goes,
Okay.
"What do you want?" And I said, "I just want an original piece. I want something original, decent size, with Godzilla on it, your pencils, your ink." You know what I mean? Just, let your imagination go on. Maybe a little battle scene or something like that. And he goes, "You got it." This took a year, probably. Matt's a busy guy. I knew that the whole time. But Matt called me personally when he was done. He delivered it personally to San Antonio when he was done. And I was just floored by it. This is one piece that I will never sell because, that story and how big of a fan I am. So this is an original piece of art that Matt Frank did for me.
So, Richard, you're asking, this is the answer right here.
This is one of them.
One of the pieces.
This is one of them.
Look at that.
It's
detail,
Kong
guys.
and Godzilla. Man.
Before there was even talk of a Kong and Godzilla.
That's what he chose to do for me, and it was just spot.
I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece.
Mm-hmm. It needs to be framed. So that's something that'll stay with me for a long time.
Right there. He's going to be there tomorrow. He'll probably have a lot of great prints of Godzilla.
And even though it's a smaller piece, that's not something
justice.
that you can do overnight.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
He put the detail in it. I mean, that thing rocks.
Yeah,
and,
this is so cool. And it's on kind of like a stock, like a.
Yeah, he used a special kind of drawing board on it.
It's heavier.
He did it. It's not kind paper. It's kind of gold framed.
Yeah, I love that.
Of course, his autograph is on there, and I mean, it means a lot to me. Thank you, Matt Frank, for doing that.
And what a cool story, because it's like you traded with a guy that loved that character, and then you got your love for that character.
I think he knew what it meant to me and what I gave to him.
Right.
He put that back into his piece for me. So there it is, man. That's
really beautiful,
one of them.
man. And he didn't forget about it either. He could have easily,
could have easily just, forgot about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to remind him, though, he has a Land Before Time blank issue that he's doing for me.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's been over a year. So I'm waiting, Matt. I'm waiting.
Not that busy.
I can wait. I am patient.
Very cool.
Remember the Land Before Time?
Yeah. That's what I was like.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
Again, he's going to do something for me on that.
All right.
I can't wait. Right.
Okay, and then Mario, you had one more piece you wanted to share with us here, I think. Well, not one more piece, but we got on the table right here.
Let's talk something different. I mean, what is another one of my passions?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a rock and roller. You know what I mean? I'm a boxing fan.
Yep.
I'm a rock and roller. Comic books are my passion, but rock and roll is also my passion. And
big time.
You guys all know what my band is. And for them to have a comic, that's even better. Yeah. And if you're going to have the comic for them, it's this one.
That's the one right there. So. I actually mentioned this in our last interview with Mario. We had him on that big episode. I asked him, I said, man, two of your passions got to kind of come together.
Right.
Tell the story, Mario, that makes this book so famous.
Well, I mean, if you remember, top of their career, 1977, 78, Kiss was ruling the world. You know what I mean? Every teenager loved them. Everybody wanted to go see them. Everybody wanted to be them, dress up like them. So Kiss, not a lot of people know Gene Simmons is a huge comic book fan. He is a horror fan. His whole costume is designed after monsters. His passion for Dracula, his passion for vampires, his passion for Godzilla. That makes the demon. So they decided to get together with Marvel Comics and do something that's never been done before, which they always try to do. They decided to put their blood in the ink
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be used in the printing of this 1978 book.
And that's what I
That
showed you
came
guys right here. I kind of tried to get it as close as we see
Yeah,
that.
it's a Marvel
Right
Super
there.
Special.
So Mario has some Kiss DNA.
Yeah, that's right
Pretty
here.
much.
Yeah.
And that book can sell for anywhere from $200 to $300 or so.
Easy.
Graded, it can sell for $2,000. Graded.
Yeah. And now, really special about this one, and it's kind of, I don't know if you can really see it really well. And I tried to get it close to the camera, but right there, guys, that silver scribble that you're seeing right there.
Is
Oh
Gene
yeah,
Simmons
there it is.
signature.
There it is.
That is
Yeah.
the man himself, the demon,
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons. Mario, you bought this signed?
I got it from a friend.
Okay.
A friend of mine brought it to me and said, I got something that you got to have, Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed it to me, and he told me the story behind it, which was Alice Cooper's golf tournament that he has every year,
Okay.
where all the rockers go and golf.
I saw something
charity.
on the back, and I was about to ask you about it.
He gave me the ticket. The ticket is on the back, and that's where he went. And he went to the golf tournament and was able to get Gene Simmons to sign that book for him.
And he had a copy around. He like owned his own copy. Or?
When I get books signed, I have the copy around. So my friend went specifically to that tournament to see the rock stars.
Right.
And I'm sure that he wasn't the only one there with memorabilia.
Yeah.
Say, hey, all these Alice Cooper probably was signing autographs. They were always signing autographs.
I'm sure.
It's for charity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was a great place, and it's different. To me, it's different.
I just think that this is Gene puts their faces on everything. There's a bazillion things you can get signed, but to me, because we're comic book guys, this is what you want to get signed by Kiss because it's their comic with their blood. Like this one, they've got a ton of comics.
For comic book readers, that is the ultimate for a Kiss item. Now, at the store right now, I've got signed programs. I've got signed other things that are for sale. Drum heads. I mean, we're bringing we're pulling out all the stops this weekend. Yeah, everything's there. The Kiss figures, everything.
You got the axe
it is
base
amazing
there.
And stuff. No, believe me, I passed on the axe base for $5,000 in Vegas.
Oh,
my wife said no, $5,000. Put your face against the window and look in.
You start thinking to yourself, do I got to buy an extra seat on the plane for this? How do I get this back home?
It was $5,000 to go in and meet him. I was looking through the glass. Mm-hmm. You could go in and meet him and have this special, interaction with Gene Simmons. He would sign the base case, and then he would open it and sign the base itself.
Wow!
And this was years ago, so it was $5,000. And believe me, I would have done it. But I opted not to. So, but I do have lots of Kiss stuff. That's one of my personal ones. That one is not for sale. But,
tell me about the
pick. This came with it. I think the gentleman that I bought it from threw the pick in.
There's also a guitar pick in the back,
which has his signature on there, so you can even compare them and see, and that's his signature.
It's very cool, right?
So that's an interesting book.
To me, to be a Kiss fan and a comic book guy, I mean, this is like.
Is the story good?
I'm sorry.
Is the story good?
Is the story good? It is good. It is good.
I was reading one of their.
They did another volume.
Do you know who wrote it?
A year later. That involves the X-Men and stuff like that.
Oh, shit.
The X-Men and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if Claremont's in there and whoever else.
You know who wrote this one?
I don't recall. Tell you the truth off the top of my head.
Do you remember when they did a research? You were still probably at Culture Authority when they did that first research of issues, and Greg Capullo was drawing a lot of the covers. They looked really rad. Mm-hmm. It might have been around the time Psycho Circus came out.
Yeah, well, Psycho Circus was Angel Medina.
No,
that was Angel Medina. Angel Medina was drawing. Like you wouldn't believe. You've seen the big banner I have in the store. That's Angel Medina. Right there, and he drew them like comic book characters.
I might have
the Kiss characters, not just the Kiss characters. He made them look like something right out of the comic book.
Very cool.
Time. So if you ever get a chance to read Psycho Circus, the art is amazing.
I had bought like that run, I think. And was it Image printing it?
It was Image.
It was Image.
Image.
I for Christmas I got the Elder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she likes the Elder.
Oh, so, yeah.
So
everybody has different tastes.
Yeah, he likes the album. Now, for him, it's the 70s stuff.
But this is the stuff that means stuff to me. That 70s stuff, like you said.
I'm telling you, World Without Heroes. That's
great. There you go. He likes that one. Yeah.
So that's
awesome. That's a great piece.
If you guys are in the area, I mean, the store is loaded with Kiss memorabilia and Kiss items right now. So, if you want to come by this weekend or next weekend, I might hook you up.
I was just telling Boy at Double A's oldest brother and them and Double A also. I was saying, man, those are great for like if you're like the owner of Flipside or Hog Wild, like those just look great in a record shop or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even if I had like a bar, like a rock themed bar, or just a bar that played rock music, it was like that would look like those would be great pieces. You know what I mean? That could go. You don't have to be a comic book guy; they could go anywhere. They're so they look like freaking art. You know what I mean? Like,
and I'm not gonna lie, I found pieces like that, like you're saying, at record shows and things like that, where people weren't too concerned about that. They were more concerned about the albums and everything. But they had these magazines and things, and look through the magazines, and you can find magazines from the 70s that have Kiss on the cover and everything, and they go for $15 and $20, and then one of those is sitting in there, you know, and they got $20 on it, you know.
I think I've got like
I think I'll take these.
I've got an issue of Playboy with Gene on there. It might be the whole band, but I know for a long time they were saying they were like some of the only men that were ever on the cover of Playboy. They're with girls.
Oh yes,
that are painted up too. But it was like a kind of a rare thing because they were saying that not very men have ever been on the cover of Playboy.
Yeah, Gene is on the cover with several models, and on the inside, of course, all the models have Kiss makeup.
Kiss makeup.
So, that was a really big issue too.
Cool.
You know, they did that with the WWF back then too. You know what I mean? They didn't have the guys on the covers, but those were big sellers too.
Yeah,
just kind of crossing over into those events that brought those people in to pick up a copy.
That's pretty awesome. You know, man.
It was
pretty
very
awesome.
Very cool. So
good stuff, guys.
I have one more big item. Whenever you guys are ready.
Let's read through the last few comments here. This might be our last block, I think, so that way Mario's wife doesn't report it missing.
That's okay, babe. Understands tonight. She knows we're in the end game, so she's very supportive. She knows what I'm doing. She knows it's taking time to finish our run. So thanks, babe.
Let's see. I think we got almost everything. So Rich said,
Richard says, "Wow, that is awesome. Very beautiful piece. Your Matt Frank
totally
art."
The Godzilla.
And Raymond Cervantes says, "Frame that drawing, Mario. Amazing art."
And now that you mention it, Raymond did me a Godzilla out of the kindness of his heart. About a few months ago. And I hadn't seen Raymond in a while, and he called me up and he said, "Mario, I'm going to be at the store. I have something for you." And he brought in an original piece of Godzilla, and I told you, Raymond has his own style, and I was blown away by that. And that is another personal piece I have at home that I will never sell. And I will get that frame too, Raymond.
Very nice. We'd love to see that, man.
Raymond's good.
All week long, we promote the episode by posting up pictures like of us three, or like we did before, us being in the shop. So we'll do some of that stuff. So anything like this that we've talked about on the episode, we'd love to. If you want to text me pictures, Mario, stuff like that, I'd love to post it up and then support these artists as well that are doing that stuff.
Thanks, Raymond.
Now remember, I think March 31st is the movie. Godzilla
and Kong. At the end of the Godzilla and Kong.
Not only at the theaters, it's on HBO Max.
So
it's gonna be
guys, for any Godzilla freaks out there,
wait.
Golly, that stuff's about to skyrocket again.
I think so. I've been seeing the toys, like the action figures, just show up in Walmart, like the regular ones that they put out. You know what I mean? But yeah, it looks super good, man. I wish that theater conditions were maybe. I just wish I felt safer personally to go, because it definitely feels theater worthy.
Definitely.
No doubt.
It definitely does. Godzilla, a lot of people don't know. Also, like we were talking about Kiss, Marvel had the license for basically 2 years in the 70s.
Wow.
So those particular comics are seeing escalations quickly now because of that. A Godzilla 9.8, you could have picked it up for maybe $125 a year ago, and now it's $500 and climbing. So once the movie hits, the Godzillas are going to take another hit, right? And if you're fortunate enough to have high grade copies, boom, they're just going to keep going up. So Godzilla is one of those rare ones that gets into the Marvel universe briefly because he doesn't belong to them,
right?
And then he's out. So I mean, Kiss was the same thing. They were in and then they were out. Marvel can't afford to keep them forever. So they pay the license for a year or two and then move on. You know what I mean? And then the merchandise goes on to another company, which Godzilla's at IDW right now. I was
gonna say that where he's at now.
The Matt Frank stuff was the best stuff ever. The stuff they're doing now is but I mean, but you can pick and choose.
Good stuff. Well, Mario, I think we can see what the last pieces you might want to show.
Well, it's a personal piece of mine that I will never sell. And when one of the biggest things when we go to the Comic-Con and we get to meet our idols and everything, I mean, for me, who's it going to be? It had to be Stan the Man. Stan Lee was the guy for me. And the fact that there he is right there sitting on the shelf. He's looking right at me.
Take a look at him.
And I told my wife, I said, before this is all said and done, and before he passes away, I gotta meet him. So at the beginning, the meet and greets weren't cheap. And
no, they weren't.
And it's my wife that bought that for me. She said, I bought you the meet and greet because we were gonna be doing this show.
Yeah.
And so she buys me the meet and greet.
It's funny because my wife did the same thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
and my wife at the shows is my right hand man. You know, she takes care of things when I'm super busy, and that allowed me to sneak off for a little while and go meet Stan the man and take my picture with him like you did. So I have my picture at home, but along with that picture, you were entitled to get one thing autographed. You got the little ticket that allowed you to go back when he was signing
in the separate line.
Yes,
yeah, that's how I
in
did
line
mine
again.
too.
So there, everybody was there with stacks of comic books and stacks of comic books, and I was like, what do I want to get signed that means something to me and that I'll keep forever? And so before we went to the show, I kept, you know, the image of that famous trading card where he is Marvelized. Is one of my favorites. You know, I always had that little card up on my shelf.
I have that card too
on
I
my
love
desk.
that one.
You know what I mean? And
Marvel Universe Series 1
and
the card.
And then I told myself, God, I wish I had that bigger because I don't want him just to sign that little card.
Yeah, that's exactly how
what
I felt.
can I do? So I had a canvas made of the card, and I had it framed. And I said, I'm going to take this canvas and I'm going to have him sign it. And the authentication company was there.
Right.
The certified guarantee, not CGC, a different company that was authenticating memorabilia and stuff like that. So they were on the spot and they came up there to witness the signature and everything. And he did this for me.
Ooh,
this is the large version.
Oh my goodness!
And I had that. That's a canvas.
That's outstanding.
That is a canvas, and he signed it down there in the corner.
Down there in the
and again, this is my favorite card.
It's just
I forgot who the artist is. I have it in my phone. Howard somebody, I believe, is the artist. He's not a very well-known artist, but he did that card.
It's such a awesome image too because it includes her, and then the fact that it says Mr. Marvel. But you got the Fantastic Four as the hand. Strange's cape, Hulk's like neck, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Surfer,
Spider-Man.
I mean,
Thor.
it's awesome.
That's Stan the Man. That's who he was.
Let me put this in the camera
there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And the
get a better look at this.
To add to the story, the other thing I had him. The other thing I had him
right there. The autograph.
The other thing I had him sign is I had a custom-made declaration made, a scroll. To toot my own horn, that made me the king of comics. Wow. It said, when you opened it up, it said, let it be known. I used the panopictographist, which is the word for comic book collector that not a lot of people know.
Oh, no.
That is the literal term for a comic book collector is a panopictographist. It doesn't get used very much because it sounds like pornographist.
There you go. Okay, it makes sense.
But it means, that's what it means.
Wow.
So we used all the names and I had the scroll written in Greek kind of
really
and everything. And it said, let it be known, let it be written at the end. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Very
you know what
cool.
I mean? And he signs it at the bottom of the scroll, and he signs it at the bottom.
Yeah,
so that is my authenticity.
There it is.
That is who I am.
You got to have the king's signature.
He declared it.
Totally.
So I'll bring that in someday framed.
I would love to see more. You got to send us a picture. Shoot us a picture of that, man.
That's
awesome.
That was exciting.
That's perfect to go with this part of the story. You want to see that. You know what I mean? So. Totally. I mean, guys, you guys asked what were some of Mario's prize pieces. Definitely those there. I mean, without question. I mean, that Stan. We've had the debate. What would you get signed? Right. I think yours is great. Your Journey into Mystery. The only thing I know.
Yeah, I kind of regretted it though. I should have really got that Silver Surfer issue 4. I love that cover. Or even the Coming of Galactus. I should have got one of those 2 signs.
I don't even have anything near on your level, but I'm glad I got what I got when I got it because mine's on a Surfer book. It's like a hardcover. They were like these small hardcovers they'd done. They're not very expensive, but it's neat because it's literally. I think the one I have, he does the intro. It's by him, and he does the intro.
I like that stuff. We open the book and the signatures on the inside and stuff like that.
And they're cool too.
It's a great one. Yeah.
No, I've got the slip cases on them, but when you take them off, it's like they kind of did like the silhouette of the surfer on there, like he's going across the book. So that's kind of. I'm big on what's underneath the dust
I have
jacket.
A children's Christmas book that he wrote.
No,
that
nice.
is signed by him on the inside cover.
That's very cool.
Stanley he wrote. I don't know if it was a Night Before Christmas rendition or something like that.
He did so much, right? Yeah,
and he signed the inside of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I tell myself I'm just lucky to have an autograph. I'm lucky to even have that picture because You know, I was like, he was 93 right there.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons about Stan Lee. You know, we've heard the pros and cons and stuff like that. But the bottom line is he got it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did what it took. He hurt some people's feelings along the way, but he had that gumption to get it done and create what we all know to this day.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for him, I honestly don't believe it would have been done that way.
I gotta say too, sometimes you could even say, I mean, to give him all the credit in the world, I think, because would we even be sitting here? Would we be sitting here having this conversation? Would these things be on the wall? Would we be watching these movies? I mean, like there'd be other stuff, but
it's such a big part of my life. I couldn't tell you what I would be doing.
Yeah,
I really couldn't tell you. And I'd probably be a rock star or something.
I was thinking that it might be albums. We might be having this same conversation. Some alternate universe, right? The multiverse exists, and we're talking just about music instead. We've all got long hair. So
I wanted to be that guy from when Tom Cruise played him with the long hair.
Oh,
was it Rockstar or something like that?
It was Mark Wahlberg.
No, that was Mark Wahlberg. But
Rock of Ages.
Tom Cruise did it though.
The play. He did it. I can't remember.
He was that rock star that was drinking all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great, man. Tom Cruise nailed that.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Perfect. Was that it, Marty?
That was it. That was just a few things. I mean,
what a great piece. I love that so much.
I love.
It's not the biggest piece, but it means something to me. You know.
And then that's true. That's for you. That's your thing that you chose. Your wife got that for you. You got that made because you love that card. That card went through my mind because I was like, I've only got to have this one chance, which was my only time I ever did it. And my picture's cool. It's me and my sister. And I think I told you about it. Where she's doing Spider-Man hands and I'm doing Dr.
Yes. And people are like, why your hands upside down? I'm Dr. Strange.
Exactly. If you're like, what? Like you said, who reads Dr. Strange? But my dad always liked him. So it was a cool moment, man. And but again, I never got another chance. He did come back, but we couldn't get it.
I think it went up a little bit more too.
Oh, yeah,
the price
went up.
It had gone up. That was the year that me and Jessica's son saw him, but from afar. You know what I mean? So
him and Shatner were raking it in.
Oh yeah, big time, man. He's getting up there too. So we haven't met him.
I do want to get a Star Wars #1 because if you're familiar with the original Star Trek #1, the original, if you flip it over, it is a photo cover of William Shatner, a very young William Shatner.
Interesting.
And if you look at graded books, the beauty of a graded book,
you can see the back.
You can see the back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never seen one with a William Shatner autograph on the back.
Wow.
There you go.
So next time he's wherever he is signing, my mission is to have that #1.
Wow.
Have him sign the back and get it graded.
Damn.
And it will be certified, even though it's on the back. But I mean, it's a really nice Star Trek. I think it has Spock on the cover and the Enterprise and everything, because only the first 9 were photo covers.
Yeah,
only the first 9 had any kind of photo. After that, they were all drawn. But the back is William Shatner in that William Shatner pose, Mr. Spaceman.
That's who you want to get. That's how you want to get
with a signature on that. I would love that. That would be a personal item I would never sell.
I would say, see there.
I'm a Star Trek fan.
You are still chasing something, right?
You got it out of me. I forgot about that.
That's pretty cool. No, I mean, when you get that, I want to see pictures.
I forgot about that. But yeah, Star Wars #1. It's an expensive book.
Star Wars, Star Trek #1.
It's an expensive book.
Very cool, man. Any last comments in here?
Yeah, Gabe said so many books.
People still with us?
Little time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gabe said so many books.
11. That's a lot for us this late.
Richard said he liked your pieces.
Thank you, Richard.
Very awesome. And then he asked, if you could have a conversation with Stan Lee, what would you ask him?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh, so much. That's a tough one. I mean, you guys jump in on that.
Double A, something specific? You know what I would ask him?
You know what? Yeah, because I would ask him, what was the thought process on the Silver Surfer? Because he writes him so different than anybody else.
Very stoic.
He really goes deep into the Silver Surfer's psyche.
Yeah.
More than anyone else, I would say so.
I've heard him in some interviews say that that's his favorite character. That's his favorite creation.
And I want to know why.
Heard him change it too, though. He'll talk about Spider-Man quite a bit, and then the X-Men. So, I mean, I'm sure they're all like your kids. So how can you choose?
But why were those books always so much fatter than the average books, and why the deep thought?
It seemed like Surfer talked a lot more too.
The philosophy,
like very philosophy.
Well, I think with Stan Lee, he introduces to what life really is in some books. Those characters that were here on Earth, and then his inspiration was to take it to a whole nother level,
right?
And start creating these things that maybe weren't possibly more in our imagination than things that were normal that we could understand. And those things I think he put a little bit more into and made them larger than life. Yeah. You know what I mean? My personal thing, I think now that it comes to me, that I would like to ask Stan Lee, I would like to know more about his childhood. Yeah. I would want to know what he was like when I was a kid. You know, were you like me? Was I like you when you were a kid?
Right.
You know, what was the inspiration that you didn't have comic books to read, really? You know, I mean, there were comic strips and things like that. But what made you imagine these things and want to do these things and start building on these things, you know? Because it's amazing group of work. You know what I mean? You can't possibly take it all in. You know? It's hard, even in a lifetime. Yeah. And we're getting to see that come our way. We're fortunate that we're able to see this come to life on the big screen and everything. But I think I'd want to know more about when he was a kid and what made him keep doing that for so long. I mean, look at me. I'm going to be 57 and I'm still doing this, and I'm not done yet. Yeah. You know, what drives a person? I know what drives me. What drove you? You know, you're the creator. So, I mean, geez, and
the way
amazing.
The ideas kind of spawned, must have spawned out of his brain.
How did your parents treat you about wanting to read comic books or wanting to draw? Right. You know, that kind of thing. Right. I want to know what got him through all that, because he easily could have been, you know, somebody on Wall Street or a lawyer or something. But here he was, you know, bringing comic books to life. Yeah. Amazing. In that time.
I said, man, y'all's questions were much better than mine. I probably would have asked him, just be like, in your opinion of your creations, or really all of comicdom, because it's a question that gets asked over and over again. Like, I was like, who would you say would be like the most powerful?
Oh, like who is the strongest?
Yeah, like I often do really credit Surfer as being way up there, but he just kind of gets downplayed. And I'm like,
and who did we talk about? Who did we talk about the other day, Adam? Who said who was the strongest?
I mean, some people say Hulk also comes out there, you know what I mean? But Thor was also very up there in power.
It just really depended on when he wrote it, because I think he loved Thor more than Hulk. Yeah. But then he fell in love with Surfer more than Thor.
It's funny too, because I also see that I think Stan, that'd be another great question, maybe, is like he seemed to put so much of his personality or ways he felt into it, you know, like he talked about the Hulk being like your anger and your rage,
the monster,
and the Surfer being the outsider.
Yeah, every character has emotion, right? You know, that we can identify with. And that was the Marvel universe when he first started it. You know, the mutants who were outcasts, things like that. That you know, people were paying attention to in different ways. Yeah, he was bringing it to the front in a different way himself. But we talked about that last time, about how I had heard that, you know, that Hercules was the strongest.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we talked about that.
You said that you read something on it later too. That clarified that.
That's right.
And it just so happens I'm a big Hercules fan. Yeah. So I was like, yes.
He wouldn't have been on my short list of guys that were up there. I would have been like, really? This guy? Okay.
But I don't know what it was, but they named him on who was really, if you Google it, you know, who is really the strongest Marvel character, and Hercules will pop up.
That is,
you know what I mean?
Wild.
And they give you the reasons why, you know, he's half a god and all that stuff, and his strength is unparalleled. And, you know, I mean, we've seen those issues where he does that to Thor.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right?
So I actually have his first right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
There they are. There they are.
Good old Herc.
That is crazy. Yeah. We just saw him with his resurgence in the Maestro series.
Yeah. They did a Maestro. Peter David, right? He came back, and Hercules was beating the crap out of Hulk.
Yeah. How did he look? I didn't see that. How did Hercules look?
It looked pretty good. Kind of like the classic.
You see, I'm more of the old school Hercules. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a statue that Hard Hero did, and it perfectly has him there. And that's, again, here's another thing that I still want. You know, now I want to have that statue. You know, I'm selling all my statues, but I want that Hercules statue. You know what I mean? He's standing there like that, and again, like Neymar, it's pure strength, right? You know what I mean? Hercules and Neymar, those are the guys.
Guys, let us take us into this last block real quick. We'll let this one load up. Read the last little bit of comments we have here, and then that'll probably be where we wrap it up in this next block after this. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll be right back real quick. Guys, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, you know, again, as I always say, we didn't really go anywhere. We just got to let the audio load up. Mario Delgado joining us from Authority Comics, guys. It's out there. 2 more weekends left. Authority Comics on 15th Street, inside Traders Village, guys. Pay $5 to drive in, fill up a car, split it 5 ways if you must. But go out there, go onto 15th Street, take some of that stimulus money, that income tax money, and it's time to round up those collectibles you've been chasing. And this man right here, he's on his way out, guys. He's leaving SA, so he's going to give you the best possible deal you can get on some of the. I mean, we just talked about some of that stuff right now, guys. You get it now, and then tomorrow, in a week from now, it may be the next big thing, and you're going to say, damn, I'm glad I didn't sleep on this at, whatever amount, because now it's worth double, triple that. You know what I mean? Let me take a look at the last little bit of comments here. What we got in, where were we at? Double A, you help me out there? Sure. Go ahead. I'm not seeing anything with the glasses.
Your wife said yes.
Hey, babe. Almost done. Almost done.
And then Richard, this is something maybe you can answer, Mario. He goes, why do you think the DC comics are not as big as Marvel?
The thing that everybody says is, with the exception of maybe Superman, how we've known to grown in to love Superman because he's an alien, and the way he came down, and it worked for us. Batman is very human,
right?
Those worked, and then when DC decided to evolve to more characters, things got different. You know what I mean? People came from different worlds, different cities, different things like that. Marvel in that beginning maintained our characters are more humane. Our characters deal with real life situations. It's not so comical all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that was the difference in the early years. You know what I mean? I think they all try to be emotional and respectful to things now because things are so much different.
Yeah.
But in those early years, I mean, you could read a 1963 Spider-Man and go, boy, that kid's dealing with some really big issues.
We didn't even mention him.
I mean?
Out of Stan's creations that are like so close to home, but it's like, there you go. The kid, the troubled, bullied kid,
And I think that's what people identified with most people who are still reading comics that are my age or even a little younger or maybe even a little older. Remember that era, that sense of wonder that we had when we were so young and how that just catered to us. I loved it. I couldn't wait to go to the store. I've said it before and spend 60 cents, a comic, a Big Red, and an apple stick. And I was in heaven. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what it was for me.
It's like, it's just really weird because it's like DC really only focuses on Superman and Batman, and why not focus on the other Justice League as much?
You're exactly right. And
that's why I love those Green Lanterns Rebirth, because it made Green Lantern a really strong character again. It's like, why don't you do that with Wonder Woman, Flash, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman?
In my opinion, it's so easy to do, but they don't do it.
Right.
And we've been reading comics for a long time, and we're like, why do they do that? And it is so simple.
Like
why do you do that?
Marvel, it's like we can fall in love with like a Magneto miniseries,
right?
A Red Skull, just to read about what an asshole he is, little like that. They have a 12-parter of Vision and Scarlet Witch. I mean, golly.
But here's what I've always said too: Marvel has always been that standalone entity, even before they were bought out by Disney and everything. They were that standalone. We cater to our comics. Yeah. DC, came from a different kind of corporation, if you want to call it. They weren't like the first thing on the list. There was a totem pole of businesses and Warner Brothers and other things that were affiliated with them at the time. So I don't think they got that, and they still don't get that love that corporate should give them and make them their ace in the hole.
That's a great point.
And I've said it before. Because DC's going through some changes, and you just nailed it right now. I just talked to Pete, my old partner, Collectors Authority, and DC Comics. The amount of them that are being sent out is just dropping right now. I don't know if you noticed.
Very interesting.
Yes,
and I read an article that said that the DC was gonna nibble it down to just who we talked about: Superman, Batman, maybe the Justice League. Wow. And that's it. No more publishing. Period.
Wow.
Now, what their idea was, and it's a good idea. It's a good idea. We're done chasing Marvel, you know what I mean, and trying to be that, and we can't do it. Yeah. Maybe a light bulb went on and said, we're going to license. We're going to be a DC licensing company.
Okay.
You want to make, lunch boxes. You want to make whatever. Here are our characters. Use them. Pay us. They'll make their money that way. Light bulb went up in my head. What if Disney wants to license DC.
Oh, there you go. I mean,
Are
that's
they going
a
to say
whole...
it's open to everybody? You know,
Man,
what
that's
could
crazy to
happen
think
there?
about. Yeah.
And then worst case scenario, when it all goes down and Jim Lee jumps ship, you know, they wanted to give Jim Lee a real job.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much the face guy.
Right.
And he works, you know, but they wanted to give him more. He said, I'm out. He left.
Wow.
So he did a smart move, you know, and he wasn't going to take on their thing and try to carry them.
That's a lot.
So Jim Lee is pretty much saying he's out. But you know, lost my train of thought there, guys.
I hadn't even heard the Jim Lee news.
But here we go.
They're
downsizing. So what happens when they really go down to the nitty gritty? Does Disney say, "Here you go, we'll write you a check right now"?
I would say so.
They bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
They bought Fox. They bought Marvel. Disney owns it all. What if they end up buying? Eventually,
that'd be weird.
You know,
that
writing them a check for $10 billion and saying, weird. You know, Disney paid $4 billion for Marvel.
Right.
Best thing they ever did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Truly,
it's crazy.
Man.
You know,
Truly.
Avengers Endgame probably killed that by itself.
Yeah.
You know, so what is the future of DC Comics is the question right now.
It's amazing. It's an amazing proposal you put forth, Mario. The potential for
that's just my mind going and saying, why not? You know?
I mean, you know, there was a time when we were big wrestling fans in the 90s, and we never thought that we would see what we thought was the Pepsi and the Coke pretty much. You know, eventually Vince McMahon buys out his competition.
There
and
you
like,
go.
You're like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? Like I said, it'd be like if McDonald's bought Burger King. Like, you know, I mean, what's going on here? You know, but the way you're, you know, kind of telling it, I mean, it does seem possible. I mean, we never thought that
it would be a dream come true because they would take DC to a whole nother level.
Right.
And
I never
we would
thought
see those dream
Star Wars,
matchups.
Yeah, you would. Yes, you would. Yes,
you know, but will it happen? Who knows? But the way DC is moving, that's what looks like they're moving toward to me. You know, they're saying enough with the publishing comics. It's not working for us anymore.
Right.
We're going to publish the big four. They'll always be available, but we want to go into the licensing part of what we built.
Well, it does make me wonder too, Double A, about kind of your question. You're like, well, why don't they focus? Maybe a team like, you know, the people at Marvel could focus on guys like Green Lantern, Flash, make them more interesting. You know what I mean? Because that for me is what it, to answer Rich's question for me is what always been what it is that they're just not as interesting. Now, Superman and Batman, I love, you know what I mean? But it's like, I can tell you, honestly, I don't think I've ever sat and read an entire Wonder Woman solo issue or whatever.
Stanley said it. He was like, look, the heroes for him on DC were always perfect. They always got their job done. Everything was always hunky-dory. That's why he went the opposite direction with Marvel.
Right. My characters are flawed.
Yep. Right.
They have issues, you know?
It's like I told you.
And we identified with
It's like I told you, Sam. It's like, you know, you got a character like the Silver Surfer. He gives himself up to Galactus, right, to save his planet. But in the end, he's killing millions of planets, you know?
Right.
I mean, golly. And then when he snaps back to reality, when he gets his memory back, he's like, well, shit, I just helped this guy kill millions of civilizations, you know? Like,
that's why he becomes so stoic and so like
how do you live with that
feeling
that
we've seen that in the past in great movies, you know, where the villain is pounding on somebody and his little partner there is looking at him and like, I gotta stop this, you know, I can't do this anymore.
But you know,
so that's where you relate.
Yeah, that's where, you know, Surfer goes to the planet, he's calling Galactus, you know, okay, come destroy this planet now, master. You know, and it's like, then when he gets his memory back, why he did the whole thing, and he's like, oh shit.
There's a lot in there. Guys, I want to bring us back into the recording for the last block here before we let Mario get on and not necessarily ride off into the sunset yet, but on his way to riding off. Guys, thanks if you're joining us on the Facebook Live. You know that we didn't go anywhere, and you can see the full and uncut comments during the break on YouTube. Go search Just Another Friday Night and then hit the subscribe button. We appreciate that. But we're in our last block of the show here, guys, the last 30 minutes. And we don't know if we'll take it to the very end or not, but we're here for you for that for now. In what is the Authority Comics Endgame, as we're calling it, as we know that Mario Delgado has announced him and Authority Comics will be not ending, but ending as far as being in a shop in Traders Village and here in San Antonio. You can still always reach out to him here at sprmario72@gmail.com for your comic book needs, but it won't be the same not being able to walk in and see him and chat with him there. on the corner of the store. But for the last 2 weekends of this month of March 2021, you will have that opportunity. So guys, get out there as early as tomorrow morning and go see Mario. He'll be out there. We're keeping him late. He's got to work early tomorrow.
That's all right. That's all right, guys.
But man, we really do appreciate you coming in, Mario, and talking with us.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us. Let's read the last bit of these. Double A, what do you got in there?
Richard says, is there anything that hasn't been done will ever come out for comics, new stories or characters?
I think there's always stuff to.
They come up with new characters, but it's with the same.
It's almost related to something that's been done already.
Yeah, it's like
Punchline is a version of Joker,
Harley Quinn, right?
The last two solid characters we ever had that were created were Venom and Carnage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was 1988 and 1990 something.
Now everyone's someone's son or someone's daughter.
Yes, exactly. That's always been the challenge, though. I mean, how can anybody, even outside Marvel or DC, try to create anything original because it reflects, reminds us of something we've already seen? So that's very difficult. And I'm always waiting for the next big new thing we've never seen.
Right.
But it comes in.
It's tough.
It's very hard.
It's like I told you. Remember, I showed you some pictures of like almost every company has like their version of Superman.
Right.
You know, it's like Supreme and Icon and what's his name from the Authority?
Sentry.
Sentry.
Apollo.
Yeah.
So it's
shoot. What's his name? Well, we're just. I'm sorry to jump in. Squadron Supreme.
Imperium.
You know, that's coming back pretty big with this Heroes Return. New stuff. Hey, new stuff.
You
know what I mean? I heard about it. I'm like, hey, I'm
Captain
interested
Marvel.
In that.
You know, even Captain Marvel is kind of like a rip off of Superman.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the reasons why I liked, when I read Preacher from Garth Ennis, is because it was nothing I'd ever read before. The Boys is almost a parody of
Preacher and the Boys are kind of like right here still compared to.
Oh, right. I know. And
they're on a different level and a different readership.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't think that those characters will
Sandman,
achieve
same
that.
thing. They're all at that, they're mature reader type things and they cater to a different crowd.
Yeah. One of the things I don't like though is like I've been hearing a lot of people say like, oh, don't compare like even the new Snyder cut to like Endgame because it's apples and oranges. I'm like, well, the thing about apples and oranges is they're still both fruit. You still find them both the produce section at HEB. It's like, guys, we're still talking about superheroes and comic book movies here, so they're not that different.
No, it's like like I love Marvel, but like between Thanos and Darkseid, I'm a big fan of Darkseid.
Yeah,
I love Darkseid more than Thanos.
Yeah.
Raymond says, "Thank you for everything, Mario. I'll see you Sunday. Time to spend some of that stimulus check."
That's what I want to hear.
That's
what I want to hear. I'll see you then. Thank you.
Oh, this is a pretty interesting. Maybe you can answer this one, Mario. Richard says, "Who is the Stan Lee of DC?"
That's a great question.
And is Stan Lee the reason Marvel just took off? So, first off, who would you say is the Stan Lee of DC?
Before you answer this, I wanted to say that when you were talking about the differences, what makes one greater than the other, and I was going to say maybe it comes from leadership, maybe it comes from the top down.
It's just him and Kirby, though.
Well, right,
them two creating everything.
But I think that alone, though, you have that kind of mentality spilling down. It's kind of like we said, like with Mario and the customer service in the comic book business. If he's doing that and people are following that, and they're, you said David wants to be the baby Mario, the young Mario. That's great because you don't want someone to say, I want to be the young associate at Walmart or whatever, because when I go in there, they don't know jack shit. You know what I mean? Like we'd rather have 10 Marios running comic book stores in San Antonio than we would, we won't name any names, but other stores that we go to, and then it's like not the same. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's what happened at DC. It's like you don't have, maybe like Mario said, they had all the support, and it was like, okay, Stan and Jack, do your thing, and they did, and that's what we got. And then you had these other guys kind of saying like, well, we like this, we like that. Well, we want more Batman, we want more Superman, we want more Wonder Woman. We just want these things, so you don't get any. The squeaky wheels aren't getting the grease, just the wheels that are already turning keep getting the same grease. So it's like they never, you know what I mean? They can only see, because I told Adam this, Marv, and again, we don't want to get to Rich's question, but it's so funny. I said, you cannot fault DC because there's things they did right. Like, look, for years they've had established who is the top woman of DC. We know it's Wonder Woman. Yes. You could say in all of comics. You could say that. I said, ask that question of Marvel. You don't know the answer. And I said, not even that. I said, name me the big three of Marvel. With DC, at least we know it's established. If you said name me the big three of Marvel, you wouldn't know. And some people would say that's a good thing. It's a good thing because there's so many. There's not just a big three.
The stable is large, but you know, like you said, you know, there's only this limited amount of them over here. They got all the everything. They got everything put into them. You know what I mean? But to answer his question, and forgive me for not knowing his exact name, but I don't really think that DC ever really credited anybody the way they did, or let anybody Stan Lee. But the biggest books we talked about in the last show was on the wall, and it was the famous crossover of Spider-Man meets Superman.
Right.
You know, and in that particular book, if you mailed in, you had the availability of getting a copy, which I think they only did 200 of them, maybe.
Oof.
One was, and it was signed by the big wig of each company.
Oh, cool.
So ours was, like say ours, but it was Stan Lee, and I might be off on his first name, but if anybody even recalls this guy, it was Steve Giordano. If you recall his name, he was the big editor-in-chief at DC for I don't know exactly how many years. Again, forgive me if I'm slightly off, but he was the guy at the time for DC. So, but to answer your question, those were the two bigwigs. He was the Stan Lee of DC, and Stan Lee was Stan Lee. Right. So they each were the guys that signed that book. So you were getting the best of both companies. That's the closest I can come to that answer.
That's interesting, too, because it's like, we might not know that guy's name.
I really don't. I mean, I don't know who the hell would be in the Stan Lee of DC.
I don't think there really is, because when they talk about Batman, they talk about Bob Kane. When they talk about Superman, they talk about Siegel and Schuster. And even in that documentary we watched, they said they tried to get another creation when they were losing. They had kind of lost Superman. They really couldn't come up with anything else. It was kind of the same old thing.
And then Wonder Woman is that doctor.
Yeah, and I don't even know his name off the top of my head. So, but I think that's another part of it too, though. It's like Stan is a lot like a Gene Simmons, where he's like, this is my brand. These are my characters. And he made himself the face of Marvel. The way that Hugh Hefner made himself the face of Playboy. Like, he took on that persona. That's not who he was per se. He was a quiet guy too, like to keep to himself. But because he was trying to sell the image, he took on the image of the Playboy, wearing the smoking jacket and all that. That's what Hugh Hefner did for Playboy. That's what Stan did for Marvel. I don't think that these guys, when we watched that thing about Siegel and Schuster, they were very quiet to themselves. They didn't want to be out in the thing, Bob Kane, I don't know too much about him really, about his personal life. You know what I mean? Even guys like Steve Ditko from Marvel and Kirby, they also didn't seem, in fact, they almost seemed to kind of look down a little bit how Stan did that. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Some people get jealous of somebody who is going to take the step forward. You know, if you're not going to run with it, give me the ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the old adage. Yeah. Fear, I said it before, that's the other guy's problem. Yep. If you don't walk that walk, then you won't become that guy. Yeah. And Stan Lee walked that walk. Yep. You're not going to run with it, I'm going to run with it. Right. If you're not going to say anything, I'm going to say something. Right. Yeah. So that was the difference between the people at DC and Stan Lee. Stan Lee wanted it more, and he ran with it. So he is the household name. So, totally. I mean, if there even is an answer, like you said, that's the closest I can come to it. Because at the time, those were the two giants that decided to put on the book. The editors. I would love to have a copy of that book with their signatures, but I've never even seen one. Of course, I have my original, but it wasn't one of the signed copies. Right.
It's really hard because all they really did was just revamp. I think the closest, like Kirby, he's
my baby's on there too. So
Kirby was the one who kind of brought in the new worlds, the new gods. He gave them Darkseid,
and I give Kirby all the credit for being a writer and a creator and an artist and all that. I mean, there were a lot of good things that are embedded in our mind because of him. Yeah. But did he want the ball? It doesn't. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he wasn't capable of being that front man. Yeah. And being the talker and the face of a company. You know. But they tend to get jealous from the guy who is. Yeah. And that's just the way it is.
And I think Stan was a great writer for the time and all that, but we all know that some of those characters that he created, and that's what he's really credited with, is creating those. But then you have
better suited in the hands of other writers.
People took the X-Men, like Claremont into the stratosphere. Those are the stories and those are the versions of the characters you love. And the same thing almost with Spider-Man. Yes, that first story is very iconic, but other people did so much with them afterwards.
That was quite a bit of time later, though, too. Right. You remember Stan Lee wrote everything pretty much, and all the way to 68 when we had the first kind of lull. And so they said, let's create some more characters. So in 68, more guys became prominent, like Luke Cage and
Right.
some other
like
people came in.
Daredevil. Frank Miller
You know what I
took
mean?
him and made him
Took
a
him to
top
a whole
seller.
nother level.
Yeah.
Claremont did with the X-Men. You
Yeah.
know, there was a time in 1975 when Marvel just said, hey, it's time for Stan Lee to kind of step back
Right.
a little bit more and become interim instead of editor-in-chief and
Mm,
stuff like
yeah.
that, and let these new fresh guys come in and create something beautiful. And they did. So
Yeah,
it worked perfectly.
totally did.
It worked perfectly.
No, totally. Great question, Rich. What is the last of the stuff there, Double A?
And he also said, is Stan Lee the reason Marvel just took off? Would you credit Stan Lee with
Of course I would.
pretty much blowing up
that
Marvel?
everything came from the mind of Stan Lee.
I give him all the credit in
that's-
the world. Yeah.
That's in my opinion, that's a no-brainer.
And his co-creators as well too. So
Okay,
great
and then
question.
Richard says, what big matchups would you like to see from the DC versus Marvel? Like really
that's
straight
kinda
up
interesting.
DC's, not that fan voting they had, because there was a lot of mismatches. And
I guess like one you could say, Mario, like kind of what I was just talking about with like, you know, their big three. Like, who do you match up against Superman from Marvel? Is there someone that stands out to you in particular? I actually didn't mind when it was the Hulk because I felt like he had the history.
Yeah.
He had the, you know, he's
a big gun.
He's pretty much iconic. He used to be one of their big three. Would you say in the 70s, Mario? Because it was like him, Spider-Man, and
Wolverine became.
Well,
Was
the
it
Hulk
Wolverine
had his
later?
resurgence later
Mhm.
because in the beginning nobody liked him. It was too Frankensteinish. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean?
I
So
just,
that's why it only went a few issues, and then it was like scrap this for now,
Yeah.
and then brought him back a little bit later in a different form.
Tales to Astonish.
And
right?
yes, exactly. The Tales to Astonish run actually didn't do that well either. And until the very end of it, they said maybe we need to give him his own title. And 102 came out, and Incredible Hulk never looked back since then. So that was when the matchups started even being better and stuff. That's the question. They were the best matchups.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be Superman and Hulk, which happens
Right.
in one of the Treasury editions.
Yeah.
Like I showed you guys, there's a matchup in there, and there's the matchup of Spidey and Superman, which is no matchup.
Right, right.
But you know,
I would even
does happen.
I would even
Thor's
say,
in there.
you know, yeah, could put Spider-Man and Batman against each other, despite that, you know, because you know Parker's a brain too. You know what I mean? There's that aspect of him. I think that's
a good, you know,
it's definitely
thinking
there.
man's fight,
right?
You
And,
know,
but if
that
it
kind
comes
of
down to
thing.
physicality, I mean,
Strength.
you know, Spider-Man is going to be vastly stronger, I think. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
you know, yeah. But see, now when it comes to Wonder Woman, I don't know that Marvel really has somebody that can. You could throw She-Hulk out there. Now they're building up Captain Marvel.
they're
They've made
building
her,
up She-Hulk,
you know.
so we'll see what the strength level is on that. But you know, but Wanda is the strongest character,
right. Now,
period.
yeah,
You know, and they
pretty
brought
much.
that to the front. You know,
Would you say that over Franklin?
I'm sorry.
Would you say that over Franklin?
Uh,
Because I always think Franklin still has to be the number one.
well,
When it comes to most powerful.
Probably, you know what I mean. But I think as for, you know, Franklin, not a lot of people even know who
Oh,
he is.
I was going to
really.
say that's
You know
another
what I mean?
thing.
We've
So
had
it's
that
another thing that they will
conversation.
bring to the forefront.
Right.
We've
if
had
it
that
need be.
conversation. They built that
You
guy
know?
up so much that it's really just hard to even do an issue about
Yeah.
Franklin.
And that's
You're the one
Sue
that-
Richards' baby, right?
Yeah,
That's Sue
they're
Richards'
rich.
baby.
You're the
know
one
what
that
I mean?
had told me about kind of like how Mixoplex is like, you know,
Yeah,
somebody,
Mr. Mixoplex
yeah,
is a great character.
somebody from DC, a DC guy could say, "Oh, well, I'll just put Mixoplex against Franklin," and you know, like that's what I mean. They write in these little like it was a 4-issue series, and then they say he's a god level. It's like, okay, well now I'm in this whole other, you know what I mean? But interesting stuff, Rich. You could debate all day on that. So great stuff there. Michelle says, "Thank you, Charles and Adam, for having my hubby on Just Another Friday Night. Y'all are always supportive." Well, he has supported us for many years,
big
Michelle,
time.
as have you. Again, as I said, we cannot thank you enough. So thank you so much, Michelle, for letting us.
Oh, this is a
borrow.
hard one for you, Mario.
Raymond says, last question. What is Michelle's favorite Walking Dead character? And he's got the little eye emoji there.
And Michelle says, let's see if he gets it right. I
Ooh,
believe he
we're
will.
on the spot, Mario. We can't help you here.
You said it earlier. You have the sword.
Ah,
My wife has the sword.
Ah,
So you know what I mean.
All right.
Michonne is one of her top characters, but she is a big Carol fan too.
Carol's
So
a
you
true
know what I mean,
badass,
and she patterns herself in self-defense after Carol.
So very nice, very nice.
So I'm gonna be safe and
Look at the
saying
flowers.
those two are the ones I hope, babe. But I mean, to me, she rocks Carol all the way.
Right on.
As for personality and everything, that's one of her favorites.
Great choices, also, by the way, Michelle. Those are two underrated, strong female characters in comics that have done extremely well, I think. So
So I don't get in trouble You know, I mean, as for substance characters, those were great. But Daryl, Daryl is her favorite too. You know what I mean? They're right.
Just responded.
Right.
Says,
Negative.
Oh,
see, I'm bad. I'm in trouble now.
Get the bat out.
I forgot. You know, it was Daryl for a long time. It was Carol, and then Negan came out and stole the show.
I think it's because she sees a little Negan in you, Mario. Y'all are kind of rocking the same color beard.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it there.
Sorry, babe. I love you. I'll be home shortly.
Yep. Guys, this is it. And she would also say, and then she says, Carol is awesome, and Veronica, LOLs to that. So you get a little bit roasted there on your way out. And
my wife is badass in her own right. Okay, let's put it that way.
I want to ask
Michonne, Carol, all wrapped into one.
There you go.
I want to ask Mario something because it kind of a lot of people have been asking us.
Sure.
You know, our opinions, and a lot of people, like, they've been hearing the show. They're like, man, you know, all these comics you guys talk about, they sound really cool. How do I go about it? What character do I get into? And I'm kind of like, I don't like answering that question because I can't tell you who to like.
Right.
I always try to say,
I get it all the time.
I always try to say, just kind of look at the characters and maybe who do you like visually?
I'll ask that question. I'll say, you know, when you go to the movie, who's your favorite on the screen?
Yeah.
You know, they got to know. And they're,
right.
Oh, of course, it's Captain America,
sure.
or it's this. And I said, that's where you start.
Yeah.
You got to start with something that you have a little bit of passion about. You know what I mean? That character is the perfect place to start. Whether you're a dude that just say, hey, Tony Stark's my guy, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, that's where you start.
Yeah.
You know, like it's an easy question. It's really not that hard. You look at everything that there is, but there's got to be something you connect with.
Exactly.
Because John asked me, he was like, you know what? I picked Namor. But is there anything you could recommend? I was like, ooh, Namor. I was like, that's kind of hard because a lot of those classic issues are in Fantastic Four issues.
Yeah, it's not an easy book to just pick up and find a good starting place for Namor.
And so when I was at your store, you know, I was going through everything, and every Namor fight I saw, I was like, hey, John, check this one out. If I was me, I'd be buying this one. Mm-hmm. And he was doing that. He was buying it. I was like, kind of just depends on the cover, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I like trade so much too, because somebody asked me that, you know, and they find someone, like for me, when I just look at Spider-Man, it's very visually striking. You know what I mean? I think about him in that blue and red costume and the way it looks, and if he's got the webs, I'm just like, the eyes are like kind of spooky. I'm like, I want to know more about that. Plus, I like the fully covered face. Mm-hmm. The mask just covers the full face. The whole idea of anybody can be underneath the mask, and it's just great because you can actually just type in like best Spider-Man actors, and they probably collected the way that they collected with Superman. They collected like greatest Superman stories. I mean, there's somebody's going to have a collected version you can grab, and you can start there if you just want to read the stories, and you're going to get the best stories right.
And then there's people that say, oh, I want a comic book, you know, I want that kind of thing.
Right.
Perfect example. You know, you got your Submariner #1 up there. I can't just reach anywhere and pull you out of Submariner #1 at a good price and say, here, start here. Yeah. But I might be able to pull out what's called a fantasy masterpiece.
Okay.
That's that same cover, same book. It just has fantasy masterpiece up it. You know, it's probably $10, $15. Here, you can start here and get the same effect as you would in that book. But, you know, I mean, if some guys come in there and they I don't care what it costs. I got the bucks. You know what I mean? Well, then this is where you start. Here you go. Here's the big book. It's $500.
And you're doing two things there, because you're not only are you becoming a collector at that point, I mean, now you're going to read the issue.
I had a husband and wife come in just the other day, and this is what gives me joy. You know what I mean? A husband and wife. And they had the baby. Brand new baby. Congratulations, guys. You know what I mean? You got a beautiful baby. Thanks for coming in. They're looking around and say, we want a Spider-Man book. We want to buy the baby his first Spider-Man book. Cool. The mom was looking around, and the mom goes, what is that? And I had a Spider-Man 92, which is a very early Iceman crossover with Spider-Man. Nice. Gwen Stacy cover 2. So it has a lot on the cover. Nice. This is a 9.2. It was a couple $100 or more. Yeah. You know, and they're looking at other things, and the back of you can pick up a Spider-Man book for $5. Sure. When people come in like that, I usually give them a Spider-Man book or something for their first book for the kid. This is for him. You know, cool. I love to do that. And but she was adamant. She said, I want something special. She was like that. And she said, I like the way that looks. I brought it down. It was a couple of $100. I cut him a little deal, and she says, I want this to be the baby's first book.
That's awesome.
And that, you know, I mean, that kind of experience, you don't see that often. So when that happens, you know, when they left, I made a couple $100, but I got so much joy that they were buying a book for the baby. So right away, you know, I reach in and I grab some buttons and some other Spider-Man stuff and say, put this with that. That's on the house. That's for the baby.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? His first collection started right here.
I would never even think that. Yeah. And then that's such a great way because like if I tried to remember my first book, I couldn't even remember. So your story's cool too with Mario and the Spawn because I can't remember what my first comic book was.
The other thing too, I was like, you know, like look at a character, like look into his history, see what you think of it, you know, because like I became like a Captain Marvel fan. And then I read a little subplot about the UK's version about how, you know, they had to stop after DC canceled out Fawcett. And it was Marvel Man.
Right.
And then I read about Alan Moore taking Marvel Man, becoming Miracle Man. And I was like, and Miracle Man became one of my favorite characters. I always tell people that's like probably the best 16 run issue I've ever read.
Yeah.
Just that short issue. And, you know, I was like, and it led me to Miracle Man.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Gabriel Flores has a great comment here where he says, you just got to buy a character you like most. He goes, I have a bunch of faves. That's kind of how I felt too.
Like I said, when I saw Ghost Rider, I was like, I liked the way he looked. I wanted to read more about him. Daredevil, what struck me was like he was blind.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see how Stan Lee writes him. You know?
How those things work.
Gabe Flores is a huge Spawn fan. I've mentioned him before.
That's right.
And I mean, his collection is Spawn. You know, I mean, yes, he collects other things, but his favorite thing is Spawn. So if he doesn't have it, he's going after it. You know what I mean? And that's what you got to latch yourself onto.
Yeah. Like
my wife, you know, it's Walking Dead.
Right.
You know, that she collects nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm lying. You know, she does get into like Stranger Things and stuff like that.
That's
so
cool.
Now I have that thing that when my wife latches on the TV show, if there's a comic book of it, I'm getting it for her. You know what I mean?
Feel the same way. Is that my nephew was like, you know, wanted him so much to be into what I'm into, but you know, some things a little bit, but then same thing. Like he got into Stranger Things, the show. So when he found out there were comics, he liked that he could read more stories. So then I picked him up some of those comics, and you know, they put the Predator on one of the video games he plays. And so then he was asking me Predator questions. And I was looking for Predator stuff from you. And I got him a couple of Predator things. So I was like, okay, I just had to find the right way to get in there with that stuff. And then we'll like learn more, you know.
Predator number 1. We've seen it so many times, right?
It's crazy.
Dark Horse Comics. You know what I mean? A graded copy in 9.8 is over $500 now for the first appearance of Predator in comics. So it's amazing how these things just out of nowhere, like I said,
and blow up. You just never know.
And you'll be going to the Del Ekman show years ago and seeing Predators and Alien comics for $1 and everything, and it's like, what do? You're ruffling through them and they're getting damaged. So now finding a nice copy, you gotta pay for it.
Yeah, totally.
I'd say that's cool. That's why I said that's why you know, Mask. I like the movie. I found out it was a comic, and you know, I want to get his first appearance if I can.
Yeah.
You know, the Crow. I love the Crow. You know, I wish I could find that Excalibur presents. You know, Lady Death. I loved her whole story. You know,
I feel like that was a time when I was seeing that a lot back in the Culture Authority days, and it's like now I
you
never
know
see
that
it
Al
now.
Simmons story. You know,
the
about
Batgirl days were huge with Vampirella and Lady Death and Dawn and all that stuff. You know, and you still get collectors that come in to say, "I know it's a funny question, but do you have any?" Sure do, man. Walk this way.
Yeah,
you know, it's all good, man. Hey, did we break the record, guys?
I don't know. We're not there yet, but let's see.
Earl was there.
Last comment here. Rich says, awesome show again tonight. Again, Mario, good luck with your new journey.
Thank you very much.
And I can't further that sentiment more myself, Mario. I'm going to miss you, man. I know we'll see you the rest of this month, but, you know, still sucks that you'll be gone, you know what I mean? But looking forward to the new shop that's going to be there and hearing and seeing what you're going to be up to, man. Always stay in contact with us, especially with the show. Post stuff, you know, we'll be your, you know, unofficial, official, you know, place to post stuff through our page. We're always happy to share your links to our Facebook group. Again, if nobody's a member, you can join the Friday Night Faithful Facebook group and then like our page, and we're happy to share and reshare your stuff too.
I hate the saying out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But, you know, but that can happen with life, period. And I want to do my darndest to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, I might be out of sight, but I'm going to do my darndest to not be out of your mind. And hopefully you'll stay in contact with me. Contact me for anything you might need. If I don't have it, I'm going to send you in the right direction. You know that.
Awesome.
So I'll be around, guys. And thanks for allowing me to share that with everybody and share the news and stuff. So the countdown is on.
And Mario says he's going to be busting out a whole bunch of stuff these last 2 weekends.
Yes,
so
sir.
come on, 15th Street, Traders Village, Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
That'd be
And
great.
it's been really awesome to hear from Mario too. Not that it's not even about this, but the support that he's been getting over there at the.
We're gonna end the show with a bang.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna go out on a bang here, guys, with this one here. So you got to check this out from Mario's personal collection here. I'll move the mic back a little bit there. Here we go. Look at that, guys. Can y'all see this right here?
I know you guys have been wanting to do this. This is your chance.
This is the real deal right here.
It's Marvel and DC.
All right, here we go.
Hold it down.
And Mario's gonna hold it down there. All right, guys. Who y'all
You
rooting
can
on?
pull them back so you don't get knocked out right away.
Does it
Okay,
go,
now
does it go back
and
Am I
forth.
back?
That's-
Oh, there we go.
Come on,
Oh, okay.
come on,
See, it's my
Josh.
first time,
No
right?
punching right now. No punching right now. Hold on, I'm gonna explain the rules.
Here we go.
Okay,
Here we
no
go.
kicking, no biting, no scratching, any of that.
All
First
right.
one to get his block knocked off loses.
All right.
So ready? Ding, ding.
Hey, here we go. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. You don't got nothing, Double A. Come on.
Come on,
Look
get
at
in
those
there.
jabs, man. Look at this. Come on. I'm trying to get to the left here. Look at this left.
Gotta get the chin. Gotta get the chin.
Oh, man.
The chin.
This guy's got a beard on him right here. There's a beard on this
Gotta
guy.
get underneath him.
Oh, man, I'm
You
getting
guys don't
nothing.
knock a block
I'm
off.
getting nothing. I'm trying to mash it here.
Move, don't be one-dimensional.
I was going to say, man.
Use the right. Get around
You
him.
got to cut off the ring. Got to cut off the ring, though. Oh, see, there we go. Now I'm all tangled in here.
The chin. Come on.
Oh, but I'm mashing it.
Oh!
There it is.
Yeah.
CM Chuck takes the only victory I probably ever get over Double A.
That's the way to end the
Oh,
show.
man, I'm all sweaty now, too, man. I'm telling you. Mario, man, it has been the ultimate pleasure, sir, to have you on.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank
Guys.
you so much.
Oh, and real quick,
You know.
Mario
Oh,
had bought this too.
oh, there we go. Look at this thing right here.
That'll be out of the
AC/DC.
shop. That's an ACDC
Electronic
pinball
pinball,
machine.
the high voltage game of skill.
Boy will probably be out there for
Believe
this.
it or not, that puppy goes for around $3 bills.
Holy.
That's how
moly.
rare it is.
And this
Nice.
is in great
But you
condition.
will get it for a lot less than that.
There you go. You're hearing it here first, guys.
ACDC
I
pinball.
also have a Kiss pinball and a
Oh,
Spider-Man pinball.
This
That's
is clean.
Spider-Man.
This is
We're bringing
not.
out the cool stuff.
Yeah.
That is in great shape too. It looks like brand new.
So
Like,
for you, any of your rockers,
That's from
this is a
2010.
really great piece.
Mhm.
guys, there it is right there. Guys, we hope you enjoyed Rock'em Sock'em Finish. We hope that you enjoyed having. I thank you, Mario, so much for letting me play with. That was the best. Letting us, have you on the show and talk with you, man. And again, for your friendship and your knowledge for over 25 years, man.
Thank you, Charles.
Really great.
Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Like you
so
said,
much,
you
guys.
want a brief Vampirella teaser?
There it is.
Creepy 28. Thanks to Mario, I know about it.
There you go. I got Creepy 1 on the wall, so come and get it.
Come and get it. Guys,
Come
there's
and get
something I like to say at the end of this show that comes from all three of us here. Guys, if you have a dream that you want to pursue, a hope, like we talked about young David, going to try and fill the very, very large boots of Mario, but like Mario himself years ago did and started his own story. You had to seize the day, man. You got to say, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take over and I'm going to,
Carpe diem.
exactly. Carpe diem, seize the day and do that thing it is you want to do to make yourself a success and be happy in your life. Like Mario is doing the next chapter of his life. We say that, seize the day. And the other thing is that, like Mario said earlier, maybe I wasn't quite ready. And, you got to do whatever it takes. David's taking that big leap. He's going to do whatever it takes.
It's going to be
Mario.
awesome. Rad Comics.
Yeah, Mario is going to do whatever it takes. Also, following his lovely wife, Michelle, wherever their journeys may take them, we wish them nothing but success from Just Another Friday Night and all the Friday Night faithful. Guys, thanks so much for joining us on a super long one. It'll all be out later tonight. We love you guys.
Come out
and,
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Come out tomorrow.
come out and see Mario tomorrow. And for me, CM Chuck, that's it for me. Good night.
Yeah, double A. Good night.
And
And
folks, thank you very much.
Mario Delgado himself. All right, guys, we're out of here. Good night.
Good night.